the bustling city's wealthy district at the Xiao family villa. Let me introduce our female lead. I'm Xiao Nian. Today's the day I leave the opulent Xiao family home in this bustling city to meet my birth parents. I'm the Xiao family's adopted daughter. She recounts that a month ago, I discovered my younger sister and my boyfriend having a secret affair. I told my parents, but they kicked me out of the Xiao house. It was then that I learned I was actually adopted. My luggage is packed. Everything I own from 18 years in this house fits into a medium-sized backpack. As I open my bedroom door to leave, I overheard a conversation between the Xiao father and daughter. My adopted sister's voice dripped with disdain. I heard Xiao Nian's birth parents are both teachers in some poor county. She's not going to bring a bunch of poor relatives to bother us, is she? Xiao Chen had barely finished her sentence when Xiao Weishe replied without hesitation, "Don't worry, I'll get rid of her." Hearing this, Xiao Nian's face darkened with resentment. Her eyes drifted aimlessly. She thought he never really saw me as his daughter. "Now, I'll leave this house." Ending her train of thought, she resolutely pushed the door open and stepped out. Outside, the Xiao father and daughter were still whispering. Xiao Chun seemed to be losing her patience. She impatiently asked her father, "Isn't she supposed to leave today? Why isn't she out yet?" She's probably reluctant to give up the luxurious life here and wants to stay. Just then, Xiao Nian happened to walk past them. Seeing her, the two quickly approached. Before Xiao Nian could turn around, Xiao Chun sneered, "Your parents really are teachers in a poor county, aren't they?" Seeing her dear younger sister seeing her off with such insulting words, Xiao Nian indifferently turned around. She responded with a detached, "So what if they are?" Xiao Chun knew Xiao Nian didn't take her seriously, but she didn't care. Instead, she continued nonchalantly, "It's been days, and they still haven't come pick you up. They couldn't afford a plane ticket, could they?" Perhaps feeling she hadn't sufficiently humiliated Xiao Nian, or perhaps out of a twisted sense of pity, Xiao Weishe pulled a wad of cash from his pocket. He held it out to her and said, "We were once like father and daughter. Take these 10,000 yuan. Seeing his gesture, Xiao Nian's expression remained unchanged. She didn't even glance at the money. Calmly, she replied, "I don't need it." Xiao Chun, still with her condescending attitude, interjected, "Don't be shy. Your family is so poor. Take this money to live on for a while. Your home can't compare to mine. You'll definitely feel out of place when you go back." Xiao Chun's attitude was truly infuriating. Anyone with a temper would have likely punched her by now. But our female lead was composed and didn't hold grudges. So, not only was she not angry, but she calmly waved away the substantial sum of 10,000 yuan. She said, "I don't need this money." Without another word to the Xiao father and daughter, she walked straight out. Outside, the weather was beautiful. The sky was blue, the clouds were white, and the sun was gentle. Though she wore simple clothes, her beauty shone through. The world seemed to welcome her. Suddenly, her phone rang. She quickly pulled it out to see who was calling. It turned out to be a text message notification from a stranger. Checking the contents inside, it was a message from a relative coming to pick her up. "Nian, it's your second brother. Dad asked me to come get you. The car's right at the gate." After reading the message, Xiao Nian thought about her brother. A car immediately came to mind. She imagined a middle-aged man with a kind face, riding a bicycle, and sporting a beer belly. Based on this image, she looked around to find her second brother. After observing for a long time, she couldn't find anyone with a bicycle. She wondered why the car hadn't arrived yet. Not far from where she was standing, a handsome young man with a car had been enthusiastically waving at her. Stepping out a bit further, Xiao Nian became even more confused. She wondered where he was. Perhaps because she was so focused on finding a bicycle, she hadn't noticed that she had just walked past the handsome young man. As Xiao Nian walked by, the young man's expression and waving stopped abruptly. But just a second later, his face brightened. The young man spoke up, Nian, right? Don't go." Finally, these words successfully caught Xiao Nian's attention. Curious, she turned around to face the person. Knowing she still hadn't recognized him, the young man explained, "I'm your cousin, Jiang Li. You can call me second brother. I'm the one who sent you the message." Only then did Xiao Nian suddenly adjust her thinking. It turned out her imagined brother with a bicycle was completely wrong. In reality, her second brother was this young man with a luxury car. Finally finished processing the erroneous information, Xiao Nian happily accepted the reality. She quickly replied to Jiang Li's introduction. "Second brother, hello, I'm Xiao Nian. This car is yours. Hearing her question about the car, Jiang Li, afraid she might misunderstand, immediately explained, "This is my most modest car. It's not that I don't value you, but Grandpa was afraid of scaring you." Without responding to Jiang Li's explanation, Xiaoyan looked directly at his face. She had a feeling she knew him. "You look familiar. I think I've seen you somewhere before." Seeing that his cousin seemed to recognize him, Jiang Li tried to smile brightly to help her remember. After all, he was a famous celebrity in the entertainment industry. But even after he'd smiled until his mouth was stiff, Xiaoyan still didn't recognize him. Finally, she calmly said, "Forget it. I can't remember. I'm face blind." Her words were like a 1,000-meter-long knife, piercing Jiang Li's heart. He put his hand to his chest, feigning a broken heart. With a dejected expression, he lamented inwardly, "There's actually someone who doesn't recognize a top celebrity like me." After their conversation, Jiang Li opened the car door for her. "Come on, get in the car first. It's hot outside." Just as she sat down in the car, Xiaoyan saw a man sitting in the seat next to her. Before she could ask, Jiang Li introduced him. "Nian Nian, this is Yi Wangchuan, my friend. You can call him Brother Yi." The two met each other's gaze, each taking note of the other. Xiaoyan obediently called out Brother Yi. Yi Wangchuan also responded with a simple mm. He asked, "You're the Jiang family's eldest miss that Grandpa Jiang found." Knowing this was just small talk, Xiaoyan didn't pay much attention. She just casually replied, and then asked Jiang Li, "Aren't my parents teachers in a poor county?" He immediately answered, "That's just your parents doing charity work to support rural education. They're professors at Tsinghua University." Hearing Tsinghua University professors, Xiaoyan asked in surprise. The Tsinghua University professor smiled brightly. Jiang Li said cheerfully, "Our Jiang family has been searching for you for many years. We finally found you. Grandfather will be overjoyed if you return." He paused briefly, then added, "We've organized a welcome banquet for you at the city's largest hotel, Shui Tating." Feeling the warmth of the Jiang family, Xiaoyan smiled sweetly. "Thank you," she said. Looking at everything before her and comparing it to her previous imaginings, Xiaoyan felt a surge of happiness. Her face softened into a rare, gentle expression. "My real family," she thought, "seems quite different from what I imagined." The car arrived at the Shui Ta Ting entrance. Xiaoyan and Yi Wangchuan got out. Jiang Li said to Yi Wangchuan, "Wangchuan, I've booked the Shui Z private room. Why don't you take Nian Nian inside? I'll park the car and join you shortly." With that, he hurried off to find a parking space. Entrusted by Jiang Li, Yi Wangchuan quickly stepped forward to lead Xiaoyan inside. "Let's go," he said. "The room is just ahead." "Okay," Xiaoyan replied obediently from behind. As they walked, she suddenly noticed something in the distance and turned her head. Sure enough, it was the despicable father and daughter duo from the Qiao family, slowly walking towards them. Seeing Xiaoyan, Qiao Weishu and Qiao Chunchun were taken aback. Qiao Weishu asked condescendingly, "Why are you here? Did you regret not taking the 10,000 yuan earlier?" Qiao Chunchun, standing beside him, remained silent, but her expression was strange, as if she feared Xiaoyan's presence would ruin something for her. But perhaps she was simply being paranoid. Xiaoyan paid them no mind. Ignoring the condescending questions from her adoptive father and sister, she walked past them indifferently. Seeing Xiaoyan's nonchalance, Qiao Weishu's temper flared. "Xiaoyan," he shouted after her, "I'm talking to you. Can't you hear me?" She continued to ignore him. Even after they had some distance between them, Qiao Weishu continued to spew insults. "I'm warning you." But his vulgar words were drowned out by Yi Wangchuan's voice. This way, Yi Wangchuan said to her, "Grandfather Jiang is waiting for you." As he spoke, he reached out and took her hand. Xiaoyan, led by his hand, looked bewildered, her head filled with question marks. But after a moment, she realized he was concerned for her and allowed him to hold her hand. Once they were far enough away that the Qiao family was out of sight, Xiaoyan looked at their joined hands, then up at Yi Wangchuan. "You can let go now," she said. He looked back at her, smiled, and replied, "Stay close. What if someone bad snatches you away?" Hearing his reluctance to let go, Xiaoyan retorted with a hint of annoyance, "I'm not a 3-year-old." Despite her words, her expression was endearing. Yi Wangchuan, seeing this, couldn't help but reach out and gently pat her head. "You've been missing for 18 years. Your father and grandfather miss you very much." Finally persuaded, Xiaoyan thought, "Oh well, I won't argue with him." Looking up at the man before her, she felt a jolt of electricity. Her clear eyes, slightly dazed, focused on his large hand. How strange, she thought in wonder. Before, just being around someone of the opposite sex would make me break out in a rash. But now, the two continued walking forward, soon arriving at the door of the restaurant's VIP room. Yu Wangchuan reached out and pushed the door open. A luxurious and clean room greeted them. Inside were three people, an elderly man, a middle-aged man, and a young woman. They were undoubtedly Xiao Nian's relatives. Not wanting her to wait outside any longer, he took her hand and led her inside as soon as the door was fully open. Upon seeing Yu Wangchuan, the young woman in the room cried out joyfully, "Brother Wangchuan." This was Jiang Tiannu, Jiang Li's younger sister and Xiao Nian's cousin. Suddenly, Jiang Tiannu's cheerful expression darkened. She stared in disbelief at Yu Wangchuan holding Xiao Nian's hand. Jealousy welled up inside her. He's holding her hand. That's Xiao Nian. Xiao Nian, noticing the change in Jiang Tiannu's expression, quickly pulled her hand away from Yu Wangchuan's. Just then, the often-mentioned grandfather Jiang spoke, his voice trembling with emotion. "Nian Nian, is that really you, Nian Nian?" The elderly man, sitting in a wheelchair, looked as if he might burst into tears. He raised a frail hand, beckoning Xiao Nian closer. My good child, after all these years, I finally found you." This was Grandfather Jiang, Xiao Nian's grandfather. Upon seeing Xiao Nian, he couldn't stop berating himself. "I was so afraid I wouldn't live to see you. If I hadn't found you, I wouldn't have been able to face your mother in the afterlife." Seeing her grandfather's despair, Xiao Nian quickly stepped forward, took his hand, and softly called out, "Grandpa." Feeling his granddaughter's affection, Grandfather Jiang was overjoyed. He then introduced her to the others. "My dear granddaughter, Nian Nian, let me introduce you." Gesturing to the man behind him, Grandfather Jiang said, "This is your father, Jiang Zongjin. He's currently a teacher." This was Jiang Zongjin, Xiao Nian's father. The man who had been introduced smiled warmly. He looked to be middle-aged, but his eyes, face, and demeanor exuded a refined charm. Despite this, a closer look revealed the marks of hardship etched upon his face. His expression, however, was kind and benevolent. After Grandfather Jiang's introduction, Xiao Nian softly called out, "Dad." Yu Wangchuan, standing behind her, watched their family reunion with a shared sense of happiness. However, Grandfather Jiang's introduction gave him pause. A professor at Qing University, and the old man just says he's a teacher. Jiang Zongjin, visibly moved, nodded in response to his daughter's greeting. "Good girl, Nian Nian," he replied. He may not have noticed it himself, but the moment Xiao Nian called him dad, his eyes reddened. No matter how strong a man might be, in the presence of loved ones, he becomes as fragile as glass. Overcome with emotion, Jiang Zongjin turned away to wipe his tears. Grandfather Jiang, noticing this, broke the silence. "Nian Nian, your second uncle and aunt are still working out of town. They couldn't make it back today." Then, he gestured towards Jiang Tiannu, who was sitting on a chair. "That's Jiang Tiannu, their daughter. Your older cousin. You've already met her brother, Jiang Li." Out of politeness, Xiao Nian greeted Jiang Tiannu. However, it seemed this older cousin wasn't particularly fond of her, as she simply ignored Xiao Nian's greeting. After the introductions, Grandfather Jiang turned to Xiao Nian's father. "Zongjin, have his servants bring the food. Don't let Nian Nian go hungry." Finishing his sentence, the old man smiled warmly and took Xiao Nian's hand. "Nian Nian, sit next to me today. Let me get a good look at you." Knowing Grandfather Jiang's affection was genuine, Xiao Nian returned a natural smile. Her eyes softened, and her voice took on a slightly childlike tone. "Yes, thank you, Grandfather." She thought to herself, "This grandfather makes me feel so close. Compared to that awful, uncaring family I had before, perhaps my life is truly just beginning now." The dishes were brought to the table. Jiang Li arrived just as the food was served. The whole family gathered around and began the celebratory meal. Grandfather Jiang thoughtfully served Xiao Nian some food and asked, "Nian Nian, I heard you took a year off school. You must be in 12th grade now, right?" Before she could answer the first question, he continued, "Where do you want to go to high school? Do you have any schools in mind?" Xiao Nian found it difficult to answer all of Grandfather Jiang's questions at once, so she simply replied, "I haven't thought about it yet." As she spoke, she put some food in her mouth, her expression unchanged. She thought to herself, high school and university are just pieces of paper. I don't need them anymore. Hearing about Xiao Nian's schooling, Jiang Tiannu, as if seizing on her weakness, propped her chin in her hand and sneered. "Why did you stop going to school, Nian Nian? Could it be you were too dumb to keep up? I could tutor you. My grades are quite good. Teaching a dropout like you wouldn't be a problem." Xiao Nian knew her cousin was deliberately trying to belittle her. She simply glanced at her and casually asked, "Are you really that excellent, cousin?" As soon as Xiao Nian finished speaking, Jiang Tiannu launched into a boastful monologue, using both words and gestures to flaunt her accomplishments to Xiao Nian. She didn't forget to add a few insults as well. Of course, after all, we've inherited the Jiang family genes. We're all top students. I've never seen anyone with grades so bad they had to drop out. She was the only one at the table talking incessantly, while everyone else focused on eating. Xiao Nian didn't really pay attention to her cousin's pronouncements. Just to save face, she waited for Jiang Tiannu to finish and then nodded in response. You're absolutely right, cousin. I can barely afford food and clothing, so how could I possibly have the opportunity to study? Her words are the last straw for grandfather Jiang. He slammed his hand on the table and scolded Jiang Tiannu loudly. Realizing she had gone too far, Jiang Tiannu looked apologetic. She waved her hands and stammered, I didn't mean it. Watching Jiang Tiannu being scolded, Xiao Nian remained indifferent, calmly continuing her meal. Yi Wangchuan glanced at her and, seeing she was unaffected, felt somewhat relieved. He took a sip of water, but it seemed to be a cover for his real purpose. Actually, Yizhong and Niqing is quite a good school, Yi Wangchuan commented, as if casually offering a suggestion. Hearing Yi Wangchuan speak up for Xiao Nian, Jiang Tiannu's jealousy flared. She thought to herself, that hateful girl is stealing brother Ye's attention again. And of course, she couldn't let any joyful moment pass without her input. Jiang Tiannu quickly interjected, Yizhong and Niqing is indeed a good school, but it depends on whether Xiao Nian has the ability to attend. She paused, then intentionally glanced at Xiao Nian appraisingly. If the Jiang family uses their connections to get her in, and she can't keep up, losing face will be a small matter. Dragging the Jiang family down with her would be the real problem. Tiannu, how can you belittle your cousin like that? Grandfather Jiang slammed the table again. This time, Jiang Tiannu seemed to snap. Slamming the table in return, she argued, face is earned. Just look at her. She glared at Xiao Nian as she picked up some food. The family worked hard to find her a school, and all she does is keep her head down and eat. You'd think she was a starving ghost. Amidst the commotion, Xiao Nian remained calm. She serenely tasted each dish her grandfather had given her, completely ignoring her cousin's words. After insulting Xiao Nian, Jiang Tiannu turned to Yi Wangchuan, putting on a show. Brother Yi, I'm so sorry. This family gathering has become such a spectacle. Yi Wangchuan didn't respond to her. Instead, he picked up some food for Xiao Nian and said, this is quite good. Eat more. Jiang Li, sensing the uncomfortable atmosphere his sister had created, reached out and grabbed her wrist. His expression turned serious. Tiannu, he scolded. How could you speak to Nian Nian like that? She suffered enough outside all these years. Refusing to give her brother any face, she retorted, I don't acknowledge this shameless girl as my sister. Bang! A loud noise suddenly echoed. Grandfather Jiang, truly angered, slammed his hand on the table. His voice deepened as he roared, enough. Wrinkles creased his aged face with anger. His eyebrows furrowed as he glared at his eldest granddaughter. You meet her for the first time and insult her like this. Is this how you were raised? Even now, Jiang Tiannu remained unrepentant. She opened her mouth to argue, but grandfather, Jiang Li, quickly pulled her back, stopping her. Don't say another word. Perhaps it was at this moment, seeing her grandfather's anger on her behalf, that Xiao Nian truly felt loved. A little surprised, she thought, grandfather is really protecting me. This family seems pretty good. As for grandfather Jiang, although Jiang Tiannu had fallen silent, he continued his reprimand. Your parents are busy with their business and don't have time to teach you manners, so this old man will do it. He pointed at her. Go home and reflect on your behavior today. Grandfather's anger level is currently at 100%. Xiao Nian, wanting to appease him, smiled and offered him some food. Grandfather, this is quite delicious. Try some. Sensing his granddaughter's concern, the old man's anger quickly melted into a contented smile. His anger level instantly returned to 0. All right, he replied. If Nian Nian likes it, then I like it too. Immediately afterward, he turned to his son. Zongjin, tell the servants to make another serving of this dish. After speaking, he suddenly remembered something and asked Xiao Nian about her studies. Nian Nian, what are your thoughts on your schooling? Without rushing, she softly replied, whatever you think is best, Grandpa. I'll follow your arrangements. Seeing his granddaughter had no objections, Grandfather Jiang stroked his chin, lost in thought. All right, then we'll choose number 1 high school in Niqing. It's just a pity my health isn't good. I need to return to Jingshi for treatment. Your father also works in Jingshi. As if understanding Grandfather Jiang's concerns, Jiang Li proactively raised his hand. Grandpa, I have a house in Niching. He stood up straight and rubbed his head, smiling brightly as he accepted the responsibility. I promised to arrange her enrollment properly. Nian Yin can stay with me temporarily. Feeling like his words weren't weighty enough, he added, in terms of academics, I can also help her. Just as Jiangli finished speaking, another voice rang out. I'll also be staying in Niching for a while. Xiaoyan was very surprised. She quickly turned toward the source of the voice, and the owner of that voice was none other than Yi Wangchuan. Seeing her looking at him, he smiled back and finished his sentence. I can help take care of her. Hearing this, Xiaoyan didn't know what else to say. She could only look at him silently with a puzzled expression. The meal was almost over. Grandfather Zhang looked over and kindly said to Xiaoyan, Yin Yin, if you want anything else to eat, just tell Grandpa. Xiaoyan, happy to see his concern, smiled and replied, Thank you, Grandpa. I'm full. As the two were talking, Xiaoyan's phone vibrated. Ting ting, following her natural reflex. She looked down at the phone on the table and reached out to pick it up. Seeing the caller ID, Xiaoyan quietly stood up and turned to tell her grandfather, Grandpa, I'm going outside to answer the phone. Grandfather Jiang nodded. She had only taken a few steps when, from behind, Grandfather Jiang spoke to his son, Zongjin, Nian Yin is full. Go and pay the bill. At this moment, unnoticed by anyone, Yi Wangchuan's eyes were following Xiao Yin's retreating figure. Before Grandfather Jiang could let Nian Yin go too far, he quickly stood up and offered to pay. His eyes never left her as he said, Grandpa, let me go. Only after she was completely outside did Xiao Yin answer the call. With an indifferent expression and a light tone, she asked the person on the other end, What's up? From the phone speaker, a boy's voice, sounding like he was whining, replied, Xiao Yin, when are you going to send me the medicine? Hearing this intimate way of addressing her, this must be someone very close to her. The door of the room, next to where Xiao Yin was standing, suddenly opened, revealing a couple. What a small world. The lovey-dovey couple was none other than her two-faced adopted sister and her ex-boyfriend. The ex-boyfriend, feigning thoughtfulness, said to Xiao Chun, let's go outside for some fresh air. Before Xiao Chun could reply, her attention was caught by the person standing there on the phone. On her side, Xiao Yin hadn't seen them yet. She calmly stood still, listening to the person on the other end of the phone rambling, Don't mind those idiots from the Qiao family. When you have time, prepare some medicine. Your stuff sold for a sky-high price on the black market. Xiao Yin listened without reacting, then slowly replied, I'll send it over when I have time. Just as that dog couple approached, she finally noticed them. The person on the other end of the line, unaware of the situation, heard Xiao Yin's brief reply and the subsequent silence. Seemingly accustomed to her quiet spells, the guy continued without missing a beat. Oh, and also, your ex-boyfriend wants to buy your medicine. For a high price, too. As for her adopted sister, Xiao Chun, who knows what ailment she was feigning, but as she neared Xiao Yin, she suddenly became weak and listless, as if her bones had turned to jelly. She pretended to be on the verge of collapse, dramatically falling into Fu Ji's arms. Fu Gu, ever the chivalrous one, caught her immediately. He anxiously asked, Chun, what's wrong? Xiao Chun, playing the innocent and frail damsel, replied, Fu Gu, I feel so dizzy and my chest is tight. I think my old illness is acting up again. Fu Gu gently touched her shoulder, reassuring her, Don't worry. I found a renowned miracle doctor for you. As he spoke, he held Xiao Chun close. Once I get the medicine from that miracle doctor, I'm sure it will cure your illness. Nestled in her older sister's ex-boyfriend's arms, Xiao Chun said contentedly, Fu Gu, you're so good to me. Xiao Yin, standing right behind them, correctly guessed that Xiao Chun was putting on an act. Unfazed, she turned away and continued her phone conversation, still on the topic of her ex-boyfriend wanting to buy her medicine. The guy on the other end curiously asked, So, are you going to sell it to him? Hearing such a ridiculous question, Xiao Yin's expression turned scornful, as if afraid something dirty would contaminate her precious medicine. She smirked and uttered a single, questioning word, sell. Though phrased as a question, it was clearly a definitive no. After his little embrace with Xiao Chun, Fu Gu finally noticed Xiao Yin's presence. Furrowing his brows, he asked, Why are you here? Xiao Yin, having just hung up the phone, hadn't even turned to face them when Xiao Chun deliberately spoke up. Xiao Yin, you wouldn't be following Fu Gu around, hoping he'll take you back, would you? Only then did Xiao Yin turn around. She glanced indifferently at Xiao Chun and said, I smelled the scent of green tea while eating and came to investigate. At the mere mention of green tea, Fu Ge bristled and snapped, Xiao Nian, I won't allow you to belittle Chun like that. Without any hesitation, Xiao Nian openly mocked him. Young Master Fu, you're quite clear about your girlfriend's position, aren't you? Xiao Nian, you. Fu Ge seemed genuinely furious, speechless with rage. Or perhaps he was simply unable to argue against her accurate observation. Xiao Chun, unable to drop her saccharine act, chimed in, Sister, I know you're still upset that Fu Ge left you, but clinging to him like this is just pathetic. Every word dripped with false concern, disguised as well-meaning advice, but clearly intended to paint Xiao Nian in a bad light while maintaining her own innocent facade. Looking at the two underdeveloped humans before her, Xiao Nian could only sigh inwardly in exasperation. Aqua, Chun's health is delicate. If you take her out for some fresh air, you should at least make sure she's dressed warmly. Madame Fu emerged from the room, holding a jacket and scolding Fu Ge. Upon seeing Xiao Nian, her face darkened and she snapped, Xiao Nian, what are you doing here? Just like before, Xiao Chun quickly spoke up. Auntie, I'm so sorry, she said, tears welling up in her eyes. I don't know how she knew I was meeting Fu Ge today and even came here to bother us. Mrs. Fu didn't say anything to Xiao Chun, but suddenly stepped forward and pointed at Xiao Nian, scolding, Xiao Nian, have you no shame? How dare you pester my son? Out of respect for the Qiao family, I'll save you some face, but don't push it. Despite being a respected lady in such a luxurious restaurant, she continued to raise her voice. Feeling that her scolding wasn't enough, she continued to point and humiliate Xiao Nian. A ditch rat, like you shouldn't actually think you're a wealthy heiress. Despite being spoken to like this, Xiao Nian remained silent. It wasn't that she didn't know how to argue back, but she respected her elders, regardless of the situation. As she stood there, a large, warm hand was placed on her shoulder. She instinctively turned her head to see Yi Wangchuan behind her. His deep voice rang out, for your first family gathering, ditching everyone to watch a monkey show isn't very appropriate, is it? The three people opposite them understood the implication of Yi Wangchuan's words and became angry. Mrs. Fu, relying on her seniority, retorted, Hey brat, what did you say? Xiao Nian, however, chuckled at his words, her mood gradually recovering. Someone inwardly thought, monkey show. That's a pretty accurate description. Xiao Nian slowly covered her mouth, feigning a laugh. After teasing them, she played along with Yi Wangchuan. He's right. I'll go back now. Just as they were about to turn away, Fu Ji's mother rushed forward and tried to grab Xiao Nian's arm. You little brat, do you have any manners? Did I say you could leave? Just as her hand was about to reach Xiao Nian, Yi Wangchuan swiftly swatted it away. His expression turned serious as he grabbed Xiao Nian's hand and pulled her behind it protectively. Yi Wangchuan frowned and said sternly, What do you think you're doing? Is assaulting someone in public your idea of manners? Humiliated and enraged at being lectured by a younger man, Mrs. Fu clutched her hand and shouted, You little brat, where did you come from? I'm warning you, you have no right to speak here. At that moment, Grandfather Jiang was wheeled out of the room by Jiang Zongjin. Hearing the commotion, he asked, What's all this noise? What's going on? Mrs. Fu's eyes widened in surprise when she saw Grandfather Jiang. Grandfather Jiang. Her expression immediately softened as she rushed over to greet him. Oh my Grandfather Jiang, what are you doing in Nuqing? Xiao Nian paid no attention to Mrs. Fu's swift change of face. The only thought in her mind was, he's holding my hand again. Ever since Yi Wangchuan appeared and took her hand, her entire attention had been focused on their joined hands. Perhaps, Nian, our family is about to have a new addition. Taking advantage of the moment, Xiao Nian slipped her hand out of Yi Wangchuan's. Meanwhile, Grandfather Jiang indifferently asked Xiao Nian, So, seeing Grandfather Jiang's attention on her, Mrs. Fu immediately put on an ingratiating expression and said enthusiastically, Haha, Grandfather Jiang, you must have forgotten. I met you at the traditional painting exhibition you held in Jing City. I'm the daughter-in-law of the Fu family. Do you remember now? But in response to her enthusiasm, Grandfather Jiang's face remained cold, and he directly said 3 words, no impression. Hearing this, Mrs. Fu could only force a smile and reply, It's all right if you don't remember. Meeting in Nyocheng is also fate. Why don't you come to my house for a visit? Jiang Zongjin immediately interrupted. I'm so sorry, Mrs. Fu. Is it? My father came to Nyocheng this time to pick up his granddaughter. He doesn't have time to visit anyone. Grandfather Jiang agreed, saying that's right. I don't have time for any visits. After hearing these words, Mrs. Fu naturally couldn't say anything more and could only smile awkwardly. Xiao Nian, observing the exchange from the side, couldn't help but be stunned, thinking to herself to be able to make her lower herself like this. It seems this grandfather of mine is no ordinary person. At this moment, Grandfather Jiang and Jiang Zongjin turned to Qiao Nian. Grandfather Jiang smiled affectionately and said, "Nian Nian, let's go home with Grandpa." Qiao Nian immediately replied, "Yes, Grandpa." This simple exchange left Mrs. Fu, Fu Ge, and Xiao Chun Chun stunned. Mrs. Fu couldn't believe it. She immediately exclaimed, "Nian Nian, Xiao Nian, your Grandfather Jiang's granddaughter." Hearing this, Grandfather Jiang asked, "Does Nian Nian know this Mrs. Fu?" Seeing this, Mrs. Fu quickly changed her surprised expression to one of flattery. Yes, I like Nian Nian very much." Qiao Nian, of course, wouldn't let her get away with it and directly exposed her lie. "We're not close. We don't know each other." Yi Wangchuan, standing beside her, added fuel to the fire. This Mrs. Fu just wanted to hit Nian Nian. Hearing this, Grandfather Jiang immediately flew into a rage. He roared, "What? You dared to hit my granddaughter?" Seeing Grandfather Jiang's fury, Mrs. Fu was terrified and tried to explain, "That's not what happened. I just, that's right." Qiao Nian interrupted, stepping closer to Grandfather Jiang and taking his hand. "Grandpa, we just reunited. There's no need to waste time on other people." Qiao Nian's few words immediately brought a smile back to Grandfather Jiang's face. He said cheerfully, "Nian Nian is right. I still need to take you to Nyocheng No. 1 High School." Qiao Nian smiled and replied, "That's right. Let's go." Xiao Chun Chun, standing behind Mrs. Fu, thought in astonishment, Nyocheng No. 1 High School. Xiao Nian wants to study there. When I was in middle school, my family had to pull a lot of strings just to get me a spot at No. 1 High. Thinking of this, Xiao Shan Shan's face clearly showed envy as she thought to herself. She only said a few simple words and was allowed to study there. Unbelievable. When Grandfather Jiang and the other two left, Fu Ge noticed the sudden change in Xiao Shan Shan's expression. He worriedly asked, Shan Shan, "Are you all right?" Xiao Shan Shan's face was pale with fear. Leaning on Fu Ge, she replied, "I am fine. I'm just surprised that she's staying in Newcheng. Also, my dad clearly said her birth parents were from a poor county. How could any know such a poor family?" Fu Ge embraced Xiao Shan Shan and then turned to ask Mrs. Fu, "Mother, what's going on? Who was that old man just now?" By this point, Mrs. Fu was gnashing her teeth in anger. "To some old Chinese painting artist," she retorted. "I was only being polite because of his age." Under her breath, she fumed. Just because they have a little more money than us, they think they're so high and mighty. Seething with anger, she snapped, "Birds of a feather flock together. Just like that Xiao Nian brat. That whole family has no manners." Seeing this, Xiao Chun Chun immediately rushed to her side and said with concern, "Auntie, please calm down. There's no need to get upset over people like them." Xiao Shan Shan pretended to be unaffected, but inwardly, she was already gleeful. "So, they're just some poor artists from the countryside. Nothing special," she thought to herself. Meanwhile, in the parking lot outside Shui Ta Xian, the Jiang family was walking back to their car. Grandfather Jiang suddenly spoke, "Nian Nian, where did you say you needed to go just now? I'll have your brother take you." Hearing this, Jiang Tiannu immediately said, "Grandpa, I have a press conference later. Second brother already promised to take me." Grandfather Jiang's face fell. "Another press conference?" He grumbled. "I didn't agree with you and your brother joining the entertainment industry in the first place. Look, there's trouble every day. Can't your driver take you?" Jiang Tiannu put her arm around Grandfather Jiang's shoulder and said coquettishly, "Grandpa, second brother, and I already made plans. Let the driver take Nian Nian." Xiao Nian, who was walking behind them, spoke up, "There's no need to trouble yourselves. I can take a taxi." But before she could finish, Grandfather Jiang exclaimed, "Absolutely not." He then looked at Yi Wangchuan, making Xiao Nian's heart skip a beat. "Wangchuan," he said, "do you have some time? Could you give Nian Nian a ride?" Xiao Nian thought helplessly, just as I suspected. Jiang Tiannu, naturally, wasn't going to let this go. She immediately interrupted, "Grandpa, Wangchuan is so busy. He definitely doesn't have time. Let second brother take her." Before Jiang Tiannu could finish, Yi Wangchuan cut in. He looked at Xiao Nian and said, "I'll take her." Seeing Yi Wangchuan's unhesitating agreement as he took the car keys from Jiang Li, Jiang Tiannu still wouldn't give up. "Wangchuan," she persisted, "you just got back from Lin City. You must be tired. Let second brother take Xiao Nian." Yi Wangchuan replied indifferently, "No need." He looked at Xiao Nian again and said pointedly, "I'll take care of my own people." Xiao Nian could only think in exasperation, "He's going to be the death of me. Since when did I become his person?" Sudendi. Yi Wangchuan walked towards him. Ignoring the fuming Jiang Tiannu, he said gently to Xiao Nian, where do you want to go? A while later, the car stopped in front of a luxurious building. Sitting in the car, Qiao Nian looked at Yi Wangchuan and thanked him. But a still worried Yi Wangchuan said, "How about I go in with you?" While opening the car door, Qiao Nian replied, "No need. I can go in by myself." Hearing this, Yi Wangchuan simply remained silent, unsure of how to respond. Finally, Qiao Nian closed the car door and leaned down to say, "I'll go in first then, Mr. Yi." Yi Wangchuan gave a soft in response. After she left, Yi Wangchuan took out his phone and snapped a picture of her retreating figure. He then texted a friend, asking, "What is this place?" His friend replied, "That's a psychology clinic. It's really hard to get an appointment there. Do you have mental health issues?" Yi Wangchuan bluntly replied, "Get lost." Staring at his phone, he pondered, a psychology clinic. Just then his phone rang. Yi Wangchuan picked up indifferently and asked, "What is it?" The voice on the other end was urgent, reporting Mr. Yi. "It's bad. The young master is missing." Hearing this, Yi Wangchuan's face was shocked. Immediately, the car started. The car quickly sped away from the psychology clinic. At the same time, Yi Wangchuan's hurried voice rang out, "Where are you?" Having just stepped inside the psychology clinic, Qiao Nian heard a familiar voice call out, "Qiao Nian, you finally came. I missed you so much." Then a pink-haired young man wearing a headband, his face beaming, ran towards her excitedly. He tried to get close, but Qiao Nian gave him no such opportunity. She directly put her hand out, blocking his face from touching her, and softly but firmly warned, "Don't come any closer. I'm afraid my hand might get itchy, and I'll have to punch you." Hearing this, the young man feigned a hurt expression. "Geez, I'm your #1 pursuer, you know. You don't have to be so heartless. Be honest, you've already broken up with that Fuga guy. Don't you want to consider giving me a chance to be the official one?" But Qiao Nian didn't give him any face and flatly refused, not considering at all. "You're too weak. Weak." Hearing this, he couldn't help but exclaim in mock outrage, "Ah, what do you mean I'm weak? Qiao Nian, clearly you're the weak one. As soon as someone of the opposite sex touches you, you get allergies and have a breakdown. I've seen this condition of yours somewhere before." Hearing him say this, she asked in surprise where. He excitedly explained, "The innocent CEO falls in love with me." Qiao Nian, after hearing this, just stared blankly, speechless. Her friend, however, continued enthusiastically, "It's an online novel. The plot is really dramatic, and the content is exaggerated." "I've never heard of that," she said. "Well, that's normal," he replied. "But the male lead in the story has the same condition as you. He can't be touched by anyone of the opposite sex. Whoever touches him, he immediately freaks out. Ignoring him, she opened her backpack, took out a medicine bottle, and poured some pills into her hand. "All right, here's this month's medicine." Listen. Seeing the amount of medicine, he couldn't help but look disappointed and dejected. "Only 3 pills." She simply replied, "I'm busy. I don't have time to make more." He chuckled and quickly pocketed the pills she gave him, then teased, "Busy my foot." Qiao Nian didn't want to waste words, keeping her response brief. "I'm really busy." Seeing her reluctance to elaborate, he dropped the subject, but offered a warning. "Suit yourself, but there's someone making inquiries about you. Someone from Beijing. Seems to be a patient, someone important, who wants you to treat them. They've already reached the outskirts of the city and dug up quite a bit of information about you. Do you want?" Before he could finish, Qiao Nian flatly refused. "No, same as always. Please arrange it for me. I'm leaving. Call me if anything comes up." She waved goodbye and quickly left, hailing a taxi. Mid-journey, the driver spoke. "Miss, there's a checkpoint ahead. I can't go through. It's just across the bridge to the shopping center. You can walk from there. Shouldn't be a problem, right?" She politely replied, "No problem." As soon as she got out of the taxi, she heard murmurs and commotion. "Oh no, someone fell in the water." Approaching the bridge, she saw people whispering. "I saw it. It's a little boy. He seemed to be reaching for something and slipped. Call the police. Doesn't anyone know how to swim?" From a distance, Xiao Chun, her pretentious younger sister, and Xiao Nian's ex-boyfriend were also present. Xiao Chun put on her usual act of compassionate concern. "Fuga, look at that poor boy." Xiao Nian pushed her way to the front, assessing the situation. "The current is strong," she thought. "If no one jumps in, that boy is in serious trouble." Xiao Chun continued her performance for Fuga. "Even though I can swim, the doctor told me not to get cold. Otherwise, I would have oof." "Who's pushing?" Her ex-boyfriend rushed to steady her, solicitously reminding her, Chun, be careful." Turning, he saw Qiao Nian approaching with her backpack and exclaimed in surprise, "Qiao Nian." But Qiao Nian paid no attention to the couple. Tossing her backpack aside, she climbed over the bridge railing, ignoring the danger and shocking the onlookers. So many people stood there, afraid of the strong current, unwilling to help. Yet this small young woman dared to do what they wouldn't. Chun watched, thinking, the water's so dirty and the current is so strong. Is she crazy? Does she have a death wish? In the water, the boy cried out, struggling and pleading for help. Help! Help! Cough! Cough! Help me! Water filled his mouth and lungs, making him choke and cough. Xiaoyan tried to reassure him. Stop struggling. You'll only sink faster. But the terrified child clung to her, thrashing and crying. Help! 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 Seeing he wouldn't listen, she threatened. If you keep struggling, I'll let you go. But he continued to panic and flail, driven by fear. This isn't good, Xiaoyan thought. He's panicking too much. Finally, she knocked him unconscious. If this continued, they were both in danger. With the boy still in her arms, she breathed a sigh of relief. Finally, he's calm. Suddenly, a strong wave surged, splashing water over them both. Xiaoyan couldn't help but cry out as water filled her mouth and lungs. Ugh! Cough! Cough! Her green tea sister stood smugly on the bank. Was Xiaoyan about to reach her limit? However, with all her effort, Xiaoyan successfully brought the boy ashore. At this point, the crowd above started murmuring again. She saved him. Girl is so brave. Don't just stand there. Someone help her. While everyone on the shore rejoiced at the boy's rescue, Xiaoyan's green tea sister harbored ugly thoughts. Why didn't she just drown with him while trying to play the hero? If there had been a few more waves, I wouldn't have to see Xiaoyan's face at school anymore. The lovey-dovey couple, Fugu and Xiao Chun exchanged glances. Fugu suddenly asked, do you want to go over there and see how things are? Xiao Chun feigned concern and began her White Lotus act. Of course I do. I don't know how my sister is. I'm so worried. Let's go over there quickly. Maybe I can help with something. Seeing the boy's current state, everyone kept chattering. The boy's face is turning blue. I'm afraid he can't be saved. So pitiful. He looks like he's only about 6 years old. So young to drown. His family must be heartbroken. Has the ambulance not arrived yet? There's a traffic checkpoint up ahead. It'll be at least half an hour before it gets here. As Xiaoyan anxiously tried to revive the boy, her green tea sister asked her boyfriend, Fugu, what is my sister doing? He explained to her, she's performing CPR. It's a life-saving technique. Xiao Chun, consumed by jealousy, retorted, Xiaoyan doesn't know how to do that. Maybe she saw it on TV and is just messing around. The boy is so small. Wouldn't it be better to wait for the doctor? Her ex-boyfriend agreed. You're right. I know some people at the city hospital. I'll call them to get here faster. Then she turned to boast to the surrounding people. Yes. Don't worry, everyone. We've made a call, and a specialist from the 3rd City Hospital will be here soon. This display from the scheming couple annoyed Xiaoyan. She thought to herself, these two are really something else. Being submerged for too long, regular CPR wouldn't be enough to save the boy. But right now, she couldn't worry about that. She didn't want to have jumped into the water and exhausted herself only to pull out a corpse. She then took out a bag of silver needles for acupuncture. Xiao Chun widened her eyes and feigned shock and cried out, ah, why does she have so many silver needles? Don't just randomly try acupuncture techniques you learned from TV. Xiaoyan, are you crazy? Even if you want to show off, you can't disregard human life. Stop. This successfully aroused the curiosity of the surrounding people. They started murmuring, what is that girl doing? The green tea sister continued her act of the kind and understanding younger sister. The ambulance is almost here. Stop her. What if she kills him? But Xiaoyan paid no attention to the noisy crowd and continued her work. Just as she was about to begin, Fugu suddenly yelled, Xiaoyan, stop messing around. Move aside and wait for the doctor. At this point, the simmering anger within Xiaoyan finally erupted. She snapped, can you stop being so noisy? Aren't you annoyed? He looked at Xiaoyan in astonishment. She had never spoken to him like this before. Why was she acting like this now? Xiao Chun pretended to be kind and advised her to stop. Xiaoyan, listen to Fugu and stop. The child is already very uncomfortable. Xiao Chun, who wasn't helping at all, continued to rant. You clearly don't know acupuncture, yet you're messing around. Xiaoyan, are you crazy to show off like this? Do you know you can go to jail for manslaughter? I think you're truly evil to the bone. The people around believed Xiao Chun. They all told Xiaoyan, girl, stop being so enthusiastically ignorant. You're making things worse. What should we do? This boy looks like he's about to die. The boy's father also scolded her. Xiaoyan, if you don't know acupuncture, don't mess around. Time rewinds 5 minutes to when Yi Wanchuan's car was still speeding down the road. When he received the call, he immediately put on his headset and asked, hello, have you found Shun's exact location? The other end replied, hello, Wanchuan, I'll be honest with you, but don't get agitated, okay? Hearing this, he said, tell me. The other side said, the GPS shows it's near the Wangjiang River on Nanlu. Just a few minutes ago, Shun Shun fell into the river while trying to pick up something he dropped. The specific situation is still unclear, but I've already notified the rescue team. They're on their way. Suddenly, the sound of screeching brakes startled Jiang Li on the other end of the line. He fearfully tried to persuade Yi Wangchuan. Wangchuan, calm down. Shun will be all right. On Yi Wangchuan's side, he had indeed slammed on the brakes. At this moment, he was filled with self-reproach. He had promised Miss Tang. He remembered when her health was failing, she had tearfully pleaded with him, Wangchuan, Shun is a pitiful child. After I'm gone, please take good care of him for me. Yi Wangchuan had agreed. Yes, Miss Tang, I will definitely take good care of Shun. Yet now this had happened. After a moment, he spoke to Jiang Li. I'm near the Wangjiang River on Nanlu. I'll be right there. Help me arrange things with the city hospital. Jiang Li replied, no problem. Back with Xiao Nian, Shun gradually regained consciousness. The boy coughed continuously, cough. This immediately caused a stir among the onlookers. Hey, everyone be quiet. Look at the child. The child is actually responding. The river water he had swallowed came out with his coughs. Cough. Now everyone's attitude did a complete 180. It actually worked. This girl is amazing. Sorry, miss, we were just panicking earlier, so we spoke out of turn. The boy's father praised her, so Nian really knows medicine. She's so skilled. But Xiao Chun didn't acknowledge her talent. Xiao Nian, that good-for-nothing doesn't know medicine. It was just a fluke, a lucky guess. Seeing the boy's father praising Xiao Nian, when did she learn all this? She's truly amazing. Made Xiao Chun even more jealous. She's definitely trying to seduce Fu Ge. I have to divert his attention away from that country bumpkin. Then, Xiao Chun dramatically fainted into Fi's arms. The boy, I'm so glad he's okay. Fujie. Suddenly, my heart hurts so much. He quickly picked her up and said, it must be because you were too worried earlier. It hurts. Chun, don't be afraid. I'll take you to the hospital. Xiao Nian ignored the two chattering men. She gently lifted Shun and patted his back until he coughed up the water. He was finally out of danger. At this moment, a sharp-eyed person noticed the scratch on her neck and advised, Miss, your neck is scratched and the stream water is dirty. You might get infection. She covered it, saying I'm fine. But seeing the blood on her hand made her pause. This small wound. Back then, she had to give Xiao Chun 3. No, for blood transfusions every month. They still had the heart to remind Xiao Nian. Remember to see it to disinfect it. Be careful, or the wound might become necrotic. Suddenly, a voice called her name. Looking back, Xiao Nian saw it was Yi Wangchuan. She wondered, why is it Jiang Li's friend? A man approached her, gently picked up Shun and reported Mr. Wang, the young master is all right. He probably just fainted from being submerged. This made her even more puzzled. So he knew this boy. Yi Wangchuan then instructed the man, Gu San, take the boy away first. Be careful on the road. The man replied, yes, Mr. Wang. Xiao Nian felt her presence was no longer needed, so she quickly grabbed her backpack and turned to leave. Just as she turned, he called her back, Xiao Nian. He draped his jacket over her and asked, was a scratch on your neck from Shun? I'll take you to the hospital. But she coldly refused. The boy fell into the water and was scared. It's not that serious. There's no need to go to the hospital. But at this moment, she felt a sharp pain in her lower abdomen. She wondered, was it because I was in the water for too long? Why does my lower abdomen hurt? Yi Wangchuan, standing beside her, didn't say much. Go to the hospital, he said, taking her hand. Flustered, she said, it's just a small scratch. I'll just buy some antiseptic. But he insisted on going to the hospital, or I'll call your grandfather. This made her head spin with questions. I'm this old, and I still have to. They'll be told what to do. Despite her reluctance, he still made her choose, leaving her feeling helpless. Is he crazy? Forget it. I can't let Grandpa worry. She sighed and agreed. Fine, I'll go to the hospital. Suddenly, the pain in her abdomen intensified, making her very uncomfortable. My lower abdomen hurts even more. This is bad. Don't tell me it's my period. Ye Wangchuan notiget had discomfort, but he still didn't say anything. A moment later, they arrived at the hospital. Upon seeing the doctor, he quickly said, Chief Physician Tan, please help me examine the wound on her neck. The doctor pulled up a chair for Xiao Nian and replied, Mr. Yi, you're too polite. Miss Qiao, please have a seat. After the doctor examined her, Yi Wangchuan asked, Chief Physician Tan, how is the wound? He grimaced and said, fortunately, you came early. If you had come a little later, the wound would have healed. He trailed off, leaving Yi Wangchuan thinking it was serious. Do I need to? Before he could finish, the door to the doctor's office slammed open. Jiang Li, bundled up and worried about her, rushed in. Nian, are you all right? He carefully examined Xiao Nian. I heard Wang Chuan say you fell into the water, so I rushed over. Let me see. He turned to the doctor. Doctor, what happened to my sister? Seeing Jiangli fussing over her made Xiao Nian feel awkward. She wondered why he was so dressed up. The doctor said, I've had the nurse disinfect and apply some anti-inflammatory cream to the wound. It should be fine. But Jiangli anxiously asked, just swelling. Shouldn't we do a full examination? Maybe a CT scan to be sure. I'll go get an order for a CT scan for her. The doctor chuckled and waved his hand. No need, no need. I assure you she's fine. He continued to look concerned, but Xiao Nian stopped him. CT scans aren't good for you. It's just a minor injury. I don't need one. The doctor agreed. Right. Miss Chow is correct. No need for a CT scan. The three of them left the hospital together. Jiangli seemed relieved. All right, good. It's fortunate it wasn't anything serious. Otherwise, grandfather would have scolded me to death. Xiao Nian was more worried about Shinshan. It's just a small injury. I wonder how he's doing. Yi Wangchuan replied, I've arranged for him to be hospitalized. He handed his bank card to Jiangli. It looks like I won't be able to go. Take her to buy some clothes. Jiangli immediately refused. No need. Do you think I, as her brother, can't afford to buy Nian Yin a few outfits? He was actually thinking that such a small favor wouldn't be enough to win Xiao Nian over. He pushed the card back towards Yi Wangchuan. You should hurry to the hospital and check on Shan. He then turned to Xiao Nian enthusiastically. Come on, Yin, let's go. I'll take you. She subtly avoided his outstretched arm. Seeing this, he retracted his arm knowingly. Come on, let's go buy you some clothes. Xiao Nian happily agreed. The two of them had a pleasant shopping trip. 2 hours later, the car stopped in front of Xiao Nian's villa. Looking at the villa, she remembered that Xiao Weiming used to really like this place. She recalled the time she had to donate blood to Qiao Shan, leaving her so weak she could only lie in bed. She was completely forgotten by her family and even left without food for a whole day. She could only helplessly watch her 3 family members happily leave together from the window. While she was busy on her phone, Qiao Chun opened the door, feigning innocence. Oh, I forgot you were still here. But Mom, Dad, and I already ate out. But I also heard that when you're weak, you shouldn't eat anything. It's best if you fast. She remembered that her whole family had dreamed of moving into this villa, but later, due to lack of money, they couldn't even afford to buy a house. Jiangli gallantly opened the car door for her outside, explaining, We're here. This is the house we invested in the suburbs. We bought it a while ago, but haven't been here much. Although she didn't say anything, she couldn't help but wonder what her brother did to have the money to invest in a house like this. Carrying the shopping bags, Jiangli told her, You can stay here with me for a while. I'll have them reduce my workload this year, so I can spend more time with you. Come on, Yin, let's go inside. As she walked up the stairs, she noticed Yi Wangchuan. This guy is really relentless. I just finished showering and came downstairs while still dripping wet, and I see him. Jiangli asked, surprised, Wangchuan, why are you here? I replied, my house is under renovation, so I'm staying with you for a while. Jiangli looked annoyed. I thought your house was just renovated. I quickly changed the subject. Before moving in, I had someone buy some women's necessities. They're upstairs. Xiao Nian heard this and looked away, seemingly indifferent. I ruffled my hair and told her, just go upstairs and settle in. You don't need to buy anything else. Actually, Jiangli knew my real intention. The renovation was just an excuse. He thought, he's really here for Nian. He must have remembered the engagement Grandpa and Mr. Yi discussed before. Jiangli reminded me, buying clothes for my little sister is my responsibility. You don't need to bother. I simply replied, it's not enough. Jiangli thought to himself, it's a good thing Nian doesn't know about the engagement. Xiao Nian felt the tension in the air. She thought, why do I feel like they're about to fight? She softly said, second brother, my room is upstairs, right? I want to take a shower. Hearing this, Jiangli stopped arguing with Yi Wangchuan and instead helped her carry the new clothes upstairs. At the door, he reminded her, Nian, go in and see if you need anything else. Tell me, remember to lock the door when you shower. Get dressed before coming downstairs. When she stepped inside, she reached out. There were indeed a few sets of clothes prepared for her. She just looked at them silently. When Xiao Nian picked up her phone, Jiangli had sent her a long message. Don't you dare follow the example of that guy downstairs. He's just showing off. She looked at the closet, suspicious. Did Yi Wangchuan also prepare these towels for me? Then she remembered, right, ever since I saved him from the water and had a stomachache, I discreetly pressed the acupuncture point on my hand. He noticed even such a small action. She blushed. Elsewhere, Qiao Weidong, upon learning that Xiao Nian was transferring to his daughter's school, went to complain about her. Yes, Miss Chun. That child, Xiao Nian, is the one transferring to our class tomorrow. She's a delinquent. She even took a leave of absence. Ms. Chun, see if you can talk to the administration. Can you prevent her from transferring here? Ms. Chun, please think of a way. Her academic performance is truly terrible. Ms. Chun could only tell him, Mr. Chiao, student transfers are decided by the principal. A lowly teacher like me doesn't have the authority to refuse her enrollment. He made up an excuse. I'm really afraid she'll be assigned to Class B, your class, and affect San. She reassured him, yes, Mr. Chiao, I understand your concern. I definitely won't let her poor academic performance affect San. Ms. Chun hadn't realized that the transfer student was Mr. Chiao's former adopted daughter. Now, she could only offer a solution. How about this? For tomorrow's placement test, I'll try my best to put her in the lowest class. This is the only thing I can do. I can't do anything more than that. Yes, hearing that, he agreed. So, I'll rely on Ms. Chun then. When she saw him hang up, Xiao Chun, who was next to him, smiled and asked, Dad, how did it go? What did our homeroom teacher say? He recounted to Xiao Chun. Ms. Chun just agreed to help put her in the lowest class. This made her very happy. Number 1 high school, such a good environment. Letting her study in the lowest class is already good enough for her. Truly, the poorer they are, the more they cling to others. It's like applying expensive medicine to a dog. No one causes more trouble than her. But unfortunately for her, in the entrance exam, looking at the test questions, Xiaoyan was surprised. She had to pause to look carefully. It wasn't because it was difficult. On the contrary, it was very easy for her abilities. The entrance exam is this easy, and they give you 90 minutes to do it. So long. When she spoke up, Teacher, I'm finished. All 3 teachers there turned to look at her. So fast. One of them approached and advised her, you still have an hour left. There's no need to rush. Do you want to check your answers again? This test is related to which class you'll be placed in. You should be very careful. She simply replied, no need. Seeing that, he had to accept her paper. All right then, I'll grade it for you. Initially, he thought, it seems like the homeroom teacher of Class B wasn't wrong. It turned out that an hour earlier, when his colleague asked Chief Physician Tan, I heard there's a young lady transferring here today. Do you know how her academic performance is? He had quickly told him about Xiaoyan. That girl is the former adopted daughter of the Chiao family. Our class. Not only are her academics poor, but she also has social integration issues. To put it bluntly, Class B won't accept this kind of relationship. With Chief Physician Tan saying that and Xiaoyan submitting her tests so quickly, he thought to himself, only half an hour and she's already submitted without even checking her answers. This seems to be the attitude of someone with improper connections. I wonder which unlucky homeroom teacher will get her. It wasn't until he started grading that he was stunned. Am I seeing things? And then, 10 minutes later, he was even more incredulous. He slammed the table, stood up, and called his 2 colleagues over. No way. Wait a minute. I'm going to check the surveillance cameras. What's wrong with the homeroom teacher? This made the people around them think Xiaoyan had made many mistakes, and they curiously came closer. Yeah, why is he suddenly checking the cameras? Could it be that the questions were so absurd that the homeroom teacher got angry and wants to leave? Perfect score. All the math answers are correct. English, all correct. How can it be all correct? The 3 of them were dumbfounded. They looked at Xiao Nian in disbelief. The new transfer student got everything right. Not a single mistake. Meanwhile, she was still engrossed in reading her messages. Jiangli messaged her, Nian, second brother, has something to do. I won't be home tonight. Don't wander around after school. I'll ask Wanchuan to pick you up. Very quickly, Yi Wanchuan messaged, asking, how was the test? He added confidently, with a hint of arrogance, do you want to be in Class A? I could put in a word with the school. But she didn't think so. As far as I know, number 1 high school has strict regulations. Being able to transfer to this high school midterm is already an exception. Recalling his image, she wondered, what is his background that he can get me into any class I want? At this moment, the teacher called out to Xiaoyan, student Xiaoyan, come here. We've reviewed your final results. Come here, down to the schoolyard now. A student showed Xiao Chun her phone, continuously praising her. Chun, look, your talent show post is already the top trending post on the school forum. You truly deserve to be the belle of number 1 high school. You have so many followers. Xiao Chun feigned modesty, saying it's nothing special. Everyone's following probably just because of the talent show. But inwardly, she gloated, you ordinary people just keep envying me. Hearing this, the other student's expression turned unpleasant as she didn't hold Xiao Chun in high regard. Look at her smugness. If it weren't for her rich parents, based on her poor academic performance. Suddenly, she noticed something. Wait, what's this? Below the top trending post about Xiao Chun's talent show, climbing to the number 2 spot, was a post about a transfer student achieving a perfect score and being placed in Class A. Quickly, it overtook Xiao Chun's post, taking the top spot, much to the other students' astonishment. A transfer student got a perfect score. In the comments, Everyone expressed their disbelief. No way is the original poster kidding. Our school's entrance exam is brutal. How can anyone get a perfect score? If someone gets a perfect score on our school's entrance exam, I'll live stream myself eating sh*t. Hey, upstairs, if a miracle happens, there won't be enough. Oh, some. The transfer student really did get a perfect score. I just went to the administration office to get my class materials and saw the transfer student's score with my own eyes. The department head and some teachers there were amazed. They're all fighting over the student. The transfer student is also very pretty. So very pretty. Suddenly, the student realized something. Wait a minute. Isn't the student who transferred to number 1 high school today that fake heiress of the Chow family? The friend, reading the news, was utterly shocked. She looked at Xiao Chun with bewilderment. Chun, she began, there's a post on Tieba saying a new transfer student got a perfect score on the entrance exam. This made Xiao Chun frown. She suddenly remembered something and exclaimed, your sister also came to school to register today, right? Could it be her? Unable to believe her eyes, Xiao Chun snatched the phone from her friend. Let me see. Looking at the content on the phone, her hands trembled and she gritted her teeth in anger. Xiao Chun recalled, that's right. I remember always being top of the class in elementary school. She couldn't contain her fury. The image of Xiao Nian appeared in her mind. If I remember correctly, her grades only became average in middle school. But every time at the end of the semester, when I asked her to predict the test questions, she was always spot on. The friend standing behind her, seeing Xiao Chun's anger, became a little apprehensive. She tried to comfort her, saying, Chun, don't worry. I don't fear. If her grades were that good, she would have gotten into number 1 high school years ago. Why would she need to transfer now? Maybe our school recruited some academic prodigy from somewhere else. Just then, Xiaonian walked past them. Seeing her, the friend exclaimed, ah, Chun, it's Xiaonian. Xiao Chun aggressively stepped in front of Xiaonian, hands on her hips, ready for a confrontation. Her friend timidly stood behind her. Seeing this, Xiaonian didn't even glance at them and turned to leave. This stunned Xiao Chun. Oh my god, she exclaimed. Xiao Chun, irritated at being sidelined, glared coldly at Xiaonian. Her friend, standing beside her, also felt a pang of fear for Xiaonian. Seeing a chance to ingratiate herself, she quickly said, crazy. Don't bother with this uncultured country bumpkin. I bet someone with such a nasty personality won't fit in at our school. After that, they left. The three of them walked into the classroom. Xiaonian unlocked the door. A buzz of excitement filled the air. As Xiaonian stood at the classroom door with her backpack, she was bombarded with questions from her classmates, taking her somewhat by surprise. Are you the new transfer student? Hey, someone on Tieba said you got a perfect score on the entrance exam. Is that true? Whoa, she's so pretty. Top student goddess. Please accept my humble bow. Shun Qingqing, standing further away, couldn't stand it anymore. All right, everyone quiet down. Don't scare the new student, she called out. Taking advantage of a situation, Shun Qingqing took Xiaonian's hand. Smiling at her, she said softly, top student, come over here. There's an empty seat next to me. The other students nearby started protesting. Hey, Shun Qingqing, how dare you steal our top student? There's an empty seat next to me too. The clamor to sit next to the top student grew louder. Xiaonian released Shun Qingqing's hand, her face still impassive, afraid of losing the opportunity. Shun Qingqing quickly held on again. Hey, don't listen to them. Come sit down. You're Xiaonian, right? I saw your post on Tieba. You're amazing. Xiaonian looked at her hand in Shun Qingqing's grasp and suddenly smiled. Yes, hello. I'm Xiaonian, she replied. Being so close to Xiaonian, combined with a warm handshake and her voice, was a triple threat that made Shun Qingqing blush and her heart pound. Oh my god, it's love at first sight. I've been struck by the top student's lightning bolt. She screamed internally. But why are her hands so cold? Did she get caught in the wind? Shun Qingqing turned and kicked Xiaohan's chair. Xiaohan, I'm cold. Close window. Annoyed at having her chair kicked, Xiaohan turned around and retorted, it's August. How can you be cold? Ignoring her, Shun Qingqing yelled, hurry up. Xiaohan grumbled, fine. It's the bottom of the food chain for me. Witnessing Shun Qingqing's actions, Xiaonian was a little surprised. She hadn't expected her to be so kind. Such a thoughtful girl, she thought to herself. To reciprocate, Xiaonian placed a gift in Shun Qingqing's hand. Here, this is for you, she said. Shun Qingqing was startled. Huh, it was a blue necklace. Shun Qingqing adjusted her glasses to get a better look. Wow, Xiaonian, is this really for me? She asked excitedly. Xiaonian smiled and said yes. Holding the necklace, Shun Qingqing couldn't stop admiring it. It's so beautiful. Shen Qingqing looked at Xiao Nian, curious. The crystal inside looks like a diamond. Where did you get it? Xiao Nian was a little evasive. A friend gave it to me. Shen Qingqing, unable to hide her surprise, covered her mouth with her hand. Thank you. I'll treasure it. The other students were green with envy. Shen Qingqing quickly sat down at her desk. Just then, a message popped up on her phone. Boss, the item you've been waiting for is here. The auction starts in an hour. Get over here. Without hesitation, Xiao Nian typed a reply. Okay, she sent. Standing up with her backpack, she asked Shen Qingqing for a favor. I have to go somewhere later. Could you please tell the teacher I'm leaving? Shen Qingqing was taken aback. You're leaving now. Seeing Xiao Nian hurriedly leave, Shen Qingqing spoke up, but the teacher said to wait. There's still the opening ceremony. Outside the school, a black car appeared, parked beside the building. Inside the car sat Yuan Yongqin, the owner of Chung Feng Group. Suddenly, someone knocked on the window. Knock, knock, knock. Xiao Weidong stood outside, waving. Mrs. Yuan, what a coincidence. I didn't expect to see you here. Looking at him standing outside, Yuan Yongqin returned the greeting. Xiao Weidong smiled, his eyes looking somewhat troubled. He began, Mrs. Yuan, about the previous discussion regarding Chung Feng Group investing in Xiao Enterprise. That have you given any thought? All right. Yuan Yongqin lowered the window to speak more easily. This matter depends on our CEO's decision. Xiao Weidong quickly replied, Yes, I understand. It's just that for the past few years, Chung Feng Group and Xiao Enterprise have had such a pleasant and close partnership. I understand. Yuan Yongqin interrupted, glancing at her watch. As she spoke, she feigned regret. Looking at him, she said, Mr. Qiao, I have other matters to attend to. You may leave now. Xiao Weidong forced a smile and had no choice but to leave. Yes, I'll be going then. If you happen to see your CEO, could you please inquire about the investment for me? A moment later, Xiao Nian walked out of the school gates. Sitting in the car, Yuan Yongqin looked out and smiled upon seeing her. She quickly opened the door and got out of the car. Nian, over here. Yuan Yongqin called out. The two of them linked arms and walked together. Xiao Nian asked cheerfully, Aunt Yuan, why are you here? Yuan Yongqin laughed and replied, My dear girl, you keep avoiding the company, so I had no choice but to come find you myself. Xiao Nian replied, Are the design and marketing departments still tearing their hair out? Do they have any new drafts yet? They quickly got into the car. Yuan Yongqin opened the door and Xiao Nian sat inside. Hearing her talk about the company's situation, she looked a little worried. I've been busy with school lately and haven't had much time, Xiao Nian said. In the next few days, I'll try to draw a few designs. Let them see if they can use any of them. Seeing her dedication to work, Yuan Yongqin chuckled. Your designs are always excellent, of course. By the way, I just ran into Xiao Weidong. What do you plan to do about the investment you were considering for him? After Xiao Nian fastened her seatbelt, she casually replied, Send it to the auction center. Cash it out. Yuan Yongqin turned to look at her in surprise. 4 special identities of Xiao Nian, the boss behind Chung Feng Group. Xiao Nian, beautiful on the outside, wealthy on the inside, the epitome of a young heiress. The auction had begun. Wealthy individuals gathered in the venue. Bids echoed through the hall. B01, 1.2 million. C24, 1.4 million. F31, 1.5 million. The prices continued to climb. The auctioneer prepared to award the item to the highest bidder. The bidding continued. B01, 2 million. B02, for million. The atmosphere grew tense. In private room B01, Yuan Yongqin turned to Xiao Nian anxiously. What should we do? B02 jumped to 4 million. Should we continue? Xiao Nian pondered for a moment. Xiao Nian sighed. We really need this Ganoderma. Raise it to 5 million. Yuan Yongqin replied, all right. She looked at the Ganoderma on display, finding it hard to give up. With the air of a wealthy woman, she raised her bidding paddle. B01, 5 million. The moment the words left her mouth, she was countered. B02, 7 million. Yuan Yongqin was stunned. She looked annoyed and turned to Xiao Nian. What do we do now? It's like we've provoked a ghost. They seem determined to outbid us. Xiao Nian, still focused on her phone, replied calmly, it's fine. Xiao Nian reminded her of something. I have the money. I'll see how far the next bidder can go. Hearing this, Yuan Yongqin seemed to gain confidence and continued to bid. She replied, I understand. Yuan Yongqin raised her sign and continued the bidding. Bidder 01, 7.3 million. Bidder 02, 7.8 million. Bidder 01, 8 million. The bidding between the two sides was very tense. Inside room B02 were Yi Wangchuan and his assistant. The assistant was sweating nervously. He looked at Yi Wangchuan with suspicion. Wangchuan, the assistant began, I know you want that Lingji to treat the young master's illness, but no one knows if it's actually effective. The assistant continued to question, and the other room has already raised the bid to 8 million. Yi Wangchuan glanced at his assistant, his hand gripping his wooden bracelet. Increase the ordered. Also, find out who's in the other room. Yes, the assistant replied, still tense. The auctioneer's voice rang out, bidder 02, 8.9 million. Yuan Yongqin was startled, momentarily stunned. The situation was becoming increasingly tense. She started to panic. Little ancestor, she exclaimed. The other room has bid 8.9 million. Do we really have to keep going? Hearing this, Xiao Yin stopped typing on her phone and looked at Yuan Yongqin. Xiao Yin calmly set her phone aside. She looked up at Yuan Yongqin and said calmly, yes. Raise it to 10 million. If they want it, let them keep bidding. Yuan Yongqin's voice then rang out, bidder 01, 10 million. Back in room B02, the assistant hurriedly reported, Wangchuan, I found out. The person in the other room is Yuan Yongqin, CEO of Chengfeng Group. Yi Wangchuan was surprised. Chengfeng Group. Yi Wangchuan fell in a deep thought, fingering his wooden bracelet. Her company specializes in jewelry, he said. They've never dealt with medicine. Why would she buy the Lingji? The assistant stammered, I don't know. The auctioneer's voice boomed, 10 million, going once. This is your last chance. Are there bids? If not, the hammer will fall. The gavel slammed down. Game over. The auctioneer announced 10 million, going 3 times. Congratulations to bidder 01 for winning the Lingji. The bidding war between Xiao Yin and Yi Wangchuan had ended. 2 contrasting reactions. It was truly dramatic. Knowing he had lost the auction, Yi Wangchuan was frustrated. He sat there, fuming. Damn it, Yuan Yongqin of Chengfeng Group, trying to outbid the Yi family. His assistant sat beside him, bewildered, looking at Yi Wangchuan with an expression of utter disbelief. The assistant suddenly had an idea. Wangchuan, he suggested, why don't we contact Chengfeng Group privately and see if they're willing to give us the Lingji? It sounded reasonable. Yi Wangchuan agreed. All right, he stood up to leave. The thought of Xiao Yin made him unconsciously smile. He guessed she would be out of school by now. He would go see her. He quickly brushed off his jacket. I have something to do. I'll be going now. Yes. At the same time, in room B01, Xiao Yin was also leaving. She turned to Yuan Yongqin. School's almost out, she said. I'm going back. I'll leave the rest to you. Yuan Yongqin waved goodbye. All right, don't worry. I'll take it to the clinic. A while later, Xiao Yin arrived at school. She was engrossed at her phone. Xiao Yin, Yi Wangchuan called out. She instinctively turned her head. He was standing close to her. He took her small wrist, making her slightly uncomfortable. Why are you here? He asked. Shouldn't you be in class? Seeing him, Xiao Yin was suspicious. Why is he here? And I run into him again. He's like a bad penny. Xiao Yin coldly replied, it's the first day of school. There's only the opening ceremony. No need for classes. I heard there's a good milk tea shop nearby. I was planning to go buy some. He didn't quite believe her. As he recalled, Yi Wangchuan muttered to himself, I remember there are only bars around here. Not wanting to expose her, Yi Wangchuan said, so, where's the milk tea? Her eyes held a hint of guilt. She didn't dare meet his gaze. Xiao Yin said, I bought it. It was SOSO. I drank half and threw the rest away. She had dug her own grave. Xiao Yin, he said, releasing her hand and watching her reaction. Yi Wangchuan speculated, why does this girl look so panicked? Her face is all red. He asked, just milk tea. Aren't you hungry? What do you want to eat? I'll treat you. Without much thought, Xiao Yin said, anything is fine. She was setting him up, but he didn't seem to mind what she was planning. Hearing this, he smiled. Yi Wangchuan said, really? Anything. Seeing that he had taken the bait, she suppressed her excitement. Xiao Yin said triumphantly, yes, you said so. A moment later, they arrived at a food market. There were many students there. Xiao Yin and Yi Wangchuan stood in front of a food stall. Yi Wangchuan, who preferred cleanliness, sighed as he looked at the food. He said, you really want to eat here? Seeing his reluctance, she turned to leave. Xiao Yin challenged, but didn't you say anything was fine? Fine. He felt a little guilty and didn't want to give up this opportunity to spend time with her. Wait, Yi Wangchuan said. Xiao Yin turned back, her expression full of playful anticipation. She teased, Mr. Yi, you're not going back on your word, are you? She then returned to the food stall while he stood further back. While ordering, she glanced back at him. Hey, Xiao Yin called out, do you want chili in your malatang? Just a little, Yi Wangchuan replied. He then looked at the other customers, his expression slightly disdainful. Xiao Yin called out again, okay, what about congealed pig's blood? Do you want some of that too? The unfamiliar food, combined with the surrounding atmosphere, gave him a headache. Yi Wangchuan sighed, no thanks. Just give me a bowl of plain noodles. As plain as possible. After questioning him for a while, she adopted a knowing look. Xiaoyan asked, "Oh, so you can't eat congealed pig's blood?" She had seen through his facade. Yu Wanchuan, on the other hand, tried to deny it. He attempted to explain, "It's not that I can't eat it. It's just that I'll get an allergic reaction." Understanding his predicament, she waved her hand dismissively, accepting his excuse. "Okay, no awful, less chilly, right?" Xiaoyan confirmed. "I got it." A while later, Yu Wangchuan sat awkwardly, waiting for the food. Xiaoyan arrived with 2 large bowls. She set them down on the table. "This one's yours," Xiaoyan said, indicating the bowl with less chili. "This one's mine." Worried he wouldn't dare to eat it, she began to praise the stall owner's skills to reassure him. "The owner's cooking is amazing," Xiaoyan said. "You should try it. Mala Tang is best eaten hot." Put in this difficult position, he couldn't just walk away. With a resigned expression, Yu Wanchuan replied, He then picked up his chopsticks. He stared at the Mala Tang. It looked delicious and was still steaming hot. He hesitated, unsure whether to take a bite. Xiaoyan, on the other hand, was hungry, and this was one of her favorite dishes. With a loud slurp, she quickly began to enjoy her meal. She ate with gusto, the sounds of her enjoyment filling the air. Chewy noodles, fragrant and rich flavor. That's what she felt. Xiaoyan excitedly exclaimed, "This is the taste." Exactly. Watching her enjoy and savor the food, Yu Wanchuan thought to himself, "She looks so happy eating." Anxiously picking up his first bite with his chopsticks, Yu Wanchuan pondered, "Is this street food really that good? Guess I'll be the guinea pig today." He started to try it. The flavor surprised him. His eyes widened more than usual. Yu Wanchuan remarked, "No wonder she likes it so much. This taste is actually not bad." Yu Wanchuan raised his head. His mood had improved. Yu Wanchuan looked at her and said, "I see you're very close to the owner. Do you often come here to eat Mala Tang?" Hearing him ask, she stopped eating and looked up. Xiaoyan replied, "Not very often. Aunt Chun is the owner here. She used to work at the Chiao family's house. After she quit, she set up this stall here." Her face lit up when she mentioned Aunt Chun. Xiaoyan didn't forget to give the place a review. Xiaoyan said, "Her vegetables and meat are all the freshest from the market, earlier than the stuff at the nearby stalls." Aunt Chen's voice caught her attention. Aunt Chun said, "Didn't your mother just give you 200 yuan the other day? How has it all gone already?" Sensing something was wrong, she worriedly went over. Xiaoyan told him, "You eat first, I'll be right back." In the distance, Chen Yuan was being held by a group of thugs. Aunt Chun was being harassed by them. Chen Yuan said, "I spent all that money a long time ago, Mom. Give me some more money." Xiaoyan was walking over while he sat watching the drama unfold. Aunt Chen fearfully clutched her money bag, tears welling up in her eyes. Aunt Chen said, "No, this is money for your bills." The bully standing next to them overheard and taunted Chen Yuan. He said, "Yo, Chen Yuan, how old are you and still haven't been weaned off your mother's milk? Too scared to take the money if your mom doesn't give it to you. Just snatch it." He continued, "My dad's been in the hospital for a year. What's the point of spending money on that? He might as well just die." Hearing his parents insulted, Chen Yuan was furious. He gritted his teeth. Chen Yuan yelled, "Shut up." Overcome with anger, Chen Yuan retaliated, grabbing the bully by the collar. The guy in a red shirt standing behind him mocked, "Wow, Chen Yuan's getting brave now, daring to lay a hand on us." Seeing that he had crossed the line, the bully yelled, "Hey, guys, teach him a lesson." Seeing Chen Yuan being ganged up on, Aunt Chun, weak and helpless, burst into tears. Aunt Chen pleaded, "No, don't hit him. Don't fight." The buzz-cut guy appeared. He aggressively threatened, "Don't make me angry, you old hag. Get out of here." The buzz-cut guy was about to throw a punch when Xiaoyan arrived just in time to stop him. She caught his hand with a sharp cry. Xiaoyan stood beside Aunt Chun, her eyes filled with anger as she glared at them. Xiaoyan spoke up, "Trash should stay in the dump. What are you doing here, trying to become a demon?" Seeing her intervene, Aunt Chun, fearing for Xiaoyan's safety, grabbed her shoulder and tearfully pleaded, "Nian Nian. Nian Nian, don't worry about me, just go. They're all thugs and hooligans. Don't provoke them." The bully's harsh words echoed, "Damn girl, where'd you come from? Get out of here. Scram before we beat you up too." This only fueled Xiao Nian's anger. Dishes and bowls crashed to the floor. Pointing at the mess, Xiao Nian yelled, "Pay up." Buzzcut guy, unaware he was provoking a sleeping tiger, continued to taunt her. He reached out towards her, saying, "Sure, little girl. See that hotel over there? Come play some fun games with me. Just make me happy, and I'll give you all the money you want. All the money you want." Before he could lay a hand on her, she grabbed his wrist and twisted it upwards. Buzzcut guy cried out in pain. With a single, swift motion, she forced him to his knees, her foot pressing down on his back as she gripped his head. "How's the fun? Enjoying yourself yet?" she asked, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Her counterattack left him stunned and sweating. Seeing his companion being subdued, guy in red shirt wouldn't stand idly by. He grabbed a chair and charged towards Xiao Nian, roaring, "Where the hell did this bitch come from? How dare you touch my buddy?" Xiao Nian glared at him with cold disgust. Just then, a pair of long legs slammed in a guy in red shirt, sending him sprawling to the ground, blood trickling from his mouth. He let out a single, pained cry. Yi Wanchuan arrived just in time, stepping in to protect Xiao Nian. He gestured for her to step back. "Girls shouldn't fight," he said. Xiao Nian complied, moving aside. Yi Wanchuan glanced at her. "Go sit over there." Xiao Nian simply replied, Okay. A brawl ensued. Yi Wanchuan single-handedly took on the remaining thugs. He kicked Guy in red shirt, sending him flying. Watching Yi Wanchuan fight, Xiao Nian muttered to herself, "He looks like a pampered rich kid. Didn't expect him to know how to fight." Suddenly, the sound of approaching police sirens caught everyone's attention. Onlookers exclaimed, "Look, the police are coming." The police arrived quickly, surrounding the scene. "Make way. Please make way." An officer called out, "Everyone disperse. Don't crowd around here. Move along." Xiao Nian sat on a chair, watching the scene unfold. The thugs, now kneeling on the ground, feigned injuries, hoping to play the victim. "My arm hurts so bad. Wah, my stomach. I am dying." They wailed dramatically. Xiao Nian, unimpressed by their theatrics, called out, "Ambulance. Someone's hurt here. Over here." She grabbed her backpack. As she turned to leave, a police officer stopped her. "Miss, you can't leave. Please come with us to the station to assist with the investigation." Xiao Nian was taken aback. The crowd had dispersed. Aunt Shun, seeing Xiao Nian being implicated because of her, reached out and took her hand, guilt evident in her voice. "Nian, I'm so sorry." Xiao Nian smiled reassuringly. "It's okay, Aunt Shun. Don't worry. I'll visit Uncle Chun in a few days and bring this over for everyone. Xiao Nian and Yi Wanchuan were then taken away by the police. Aunt Shun watched them go, her eyes filled with fear and sadness. She blamed herself. "They got taken to the police station because they were helping me," she lamented. She reached for her phone, her hands trembling. "That's right. Call CEO Chiao," she exclaimed. "After all, Nian is his daughter. He'll definitely help her." Back at the police station, the sound of a door opening echoed through the interrogation room. Xiao Nian calmly walked out of the interrogation room after a lengthy questioning. Just then, Xiao Weisher yelled, startling her. He stood before her, pointing a finger at her face and scolding. Xiao Weisher said, "Did you get into a fight with someone again? Why are you always fighting? You've completely embarrassed me." Xiao Nian retorted bluntly, "I fought, so what? Do I need to pick an auspicious day for it?" Provoked by her, he flew into a rage. Xiao Weisher said, "Cause less trouble outside. If you were half as good as San, you would have been recommended to Beida." Hearing this, Xiao Nian challenged him. "Are you sure Xiao San's recommendation wasn't bought with your money?" Infuriated, he raised his hand to slap her. Xiao Weisher roared, "What's with this attitude?" Just as his hand neared her face, a police officer appeared and stopped him. The officer spoke up, Hey, what are you doing? Put your hand down. Who are you to hit someone at the police station?" Embarrassed, he fumbled and scratched his head. Xiao Weisher forced a smile and explained, I'm Xiao Nian's father. I heard about the trouble she caused. I haven't disciplined her well." Xiao Weisher thought to himself, "If I wasn't afraid Xiao Nian would implicate San, I wouldn't have come to see her." The police officer frowned, puzzled by this father. The officer said, "Is there some misunderstanding?" Xiao Nian stood by with her arms crossed, sighing. Suddenly, the police officer's eyes widened in recognition. The officer quickly straightened up and saluted. "Hello, Chief." Xiao Weisher, seeing an opportunity, greeted the chief familiarly. Xiao Weisher said, "Chief Tai, fancy meeting you here." Tai Kwang looked at him for a moment. "You are?" Afraid Tai Kwang wouldn't recognize him, he clasped his hands together in a respectful gesture. With a grateful expression, Xiao Weisher said, "I'm Xiao Weisher. I had the honor of dining with you a few times." Tai Kung et Klim, Oha, you're here for Xiao Nian. She watched his performance, his face doing a complete 180. Xiao Weisher looked at her coldly. "It's embarrassing to admit, but yes, I'm here for Xiao Nian." Tai Kwang laughed heartily, looking pleased. "So, CEO Xiao is Xiao Nian's father. You have a good daughter." Yes, Xiao Weisher replied. "It's a shame she's always been so disobedient." Ignoring him, Tai Kwang walked over and patted Xiao Nian's shoulder. "I heard you tested into Class A at Nyojing High School. We have another talent in Nyojing City." Xiao Nian smiled and replied, "Thank you." Xiao Weisher was stunned by this information. He thought incredulously, is there a misunderstanding? Since it only got into Class B, how could she? Seeing his bewildered expression, Tai Kwang turned to look at him. "What misunderstanding?" Xiao Weisher stammered that. "Chief Tai, about Xiao Nian's fight." Tai Kwang was taken aback by his words and demeanor. "Oh, you're talking about that?" He angrily pointed at Xiao Nian. Xiao Weisher yelled. Later, you'll apologize with me. Do you hear me? Yao Nian stubbornly replied. No. Tai Kuang stood in front of him. Didn't you ask what happened before coming here? Xiao Weisher said, Chief Tai, I know she caused you a lot of trouble in a public place like this. Hearing his account, Tai Kuang was surprised. How can CEO Xiao know more about the details of this incident than I, the chief of police, do? Realizing he had gone too far, Xiao Weisher broke out in a cold sweat. He stammered, I only came because I heard Xiao Nian had caused trouble. Chief Tai turned to Xiao Nian with a kind smile. Hello, Xiao Nian. I'm Chief Tai, in charge of this area. He continued gratefully. Thank you for your bravery today. We'll be sure to publicly acknowledge your heroic actions at school. Xiao Nian replied, I didn't do much. I just didn't want to cause a scene at school. Xiao Weisher stood behind them like a lamppost. His image in front of Chief Tai completely shattered. As if his mind had gone blank, Xiao Weisher suddenly burst out, what heroic actions? Xiao Nian was the one fighting, wasn't she? His outburst caused Chief Tai's expression to sour. Chief Tai pointedly ignored him, turning his attention back to Xiao Nian. It's getting late. Why don't we take you home? Just then, Yi Wangchuan spoke up, startling all three of them. What took so long? The tall and handsome Yi Wangchuan stood waiting. The car's out front. Xiao Nian turned to leave, taking her backpack from Chief Tai. I was talking to Chief Tai, so it took a little longer, she explained. Seeing that Xiao Nian had someone to pick her up, Chief Tai smiled. All right, hurry home. Thank you, Xiao Nian replied. Xiao Weisher, seemingly talking to himself, pointed at her. Isn't that Xiao Nian, my daughter? How can she? But no one paid him any attention. As Xiao Nian hurried away, Xiao Weisher muttered, How can you just leave like that? Chief Tai looked at him with suspicion. He had observed Xiao Weisher's behavior and words carefully. On his way to the station, he had received calls from his own superior, the Jiang family of Nuzheng, the Cheng Phone Corporation, the Wei family, and even someone from Beijing. All of them had called to ensure Xiao Nian's well-being. Chief Tai, Xiao Weisher began, so about Xiao Nian's fighting. Chief Tai sighed in exasperation and turned away. He still hasn't grasped the situation. How dense can he be? He thought. He walked off, leaving Xiao Weisher to stew in his confusion. Xiao Nian and Yi Wangchuan got into the car. Back to Zhang Li's villa, Yi Wangchuan instructed. Yes, sir, the assistant replied. Observing the two of them, the assistant's inner thought screamed. He actually followed her to a street food stall and got into a fight. Unbelievable. But he quickly deleted the draft of his social media post. As Mr. Yi regressed back to his rebellious 18-year-old self, he wondered, glancing at them curiously. The atmosphere in the back of the car remained quiet. Perhaps they had exhausted their energy for the day. Both wore thoughtful, somewhat troubled expressions. Night had fallen, and the city lights twinkled. The car carrying Yi Wangchuan and Xiao Nian sped through the bustling streets. Xiao Nian rested her chin on her hand, gazing out the window. Suddenly, her phone buzzed. She checked the messages. Wei Lu had messaged, How are you? Are you out yet? Yuan Yong had also sent a message. I went to the city office to say hello. Did the police release you yet? Xiao Nian stared at the message thread for a long time. The message she drafted was sent. The message read, Yeah, I'm okay now. Xiao Nian pondered. I sent messages to Wei Lu and Yuan Yongqin. Not long after, the chief of police arrived. They couldn't have gotten here so fast. Could it be Yi Wangchuan? He saw her spacing out, her hand glued to her phone. Yi Wangchuan spoke. Are you scared? His voice startled her. Yao Nian retorted. No. Yi Wangchuan said softly, Get some rest. You'll be home when you wake up. Xiao Nian replied, Okay. The Zhangli estate appeared before her eyes. Yi Wangchuan waited for her to get out of the car. Xiao Nian said, Thank you, Mr. Yi. Suddenly, Yi Wangchuan said, Wait a minute. Xiao Nian replied in surprise. She turned around, and he pressed her against the car. His hand rested on the car door. Their eyes met at a very close distance. The situation was a bit hazy. Yi Wangchuan carefully examined her from head to toe. He mused, to be injured. Xiao Nian stood obediently. Meanwhile, she still didn't understand what was going on. Xiao Nian stiffened. Her face flushed red, and she didn't dare look him in the eye. She murmured to herself, He's so close. Yi Wangchuan said, Go inside and get some sleep. No more skipping school. After hearing that, she hurried away, her heart pounding. Seeing her like that, he couldn't help but freeze, giving his assistant beside him a moment of amusement. Big dog dominance. The assistant observed Yi Wangchuan, surprised. Young master hasn't smiled in a long time. Seeing that she had entered the house, Yi Wangchuan turned around. He asked his assistant, Any news on the divine doctor I asked you to investigate? The assistant reported the situation. I found some information, but someone hacked my computer. Yes, the situation is a bit difficult, but I want results. Yi Wangchuan said, Keep investigating. Also, look into other famous doctors. If anyone can examine Shin-shun, find them and bring them to me. The assistant's face was worried. He replied, yes, sir. But young Master Shun wants to be discharged from the hospital. Perhaps you should go see him. Yedangchuan sudenli remembered. Jiangli isn't home tonight either. I can't leave her alone. Leave her alone. Today has been stressful. Yuan Chuan said, we'll deal with it tomorrow. The assistant replied, yes, sir. After returning home, Xiao Yin changed her clothes and sat neatly on the bed. She nervously looked at her phone. Wei Lu sent her a message. Xiao Yin, you're something else. You managed to get the Hongming people involved. You got the person tracking the divine doctor's information hacked. You're making me furious. Note, Hongming is an alliance of hackers who buy and sell information and Xiao minerals. Xiao Yin was startled by the content that appeared on her phone. Filthy divine doctor. Xiao Yin cursed under her breath. Speechless. Who the hell keeps investigating me like a dog with a bone? Such a rag operation. The next morning, Raoqing High School was bustling again. As soon as she saw Xiao Yin enter the classroom, Shun Qingqing rushed over, startling her. Shun Qingqing was flustered. Sorry, you asked me to excuse you from class, but I messed it up. What? The teacher asked where you were, and I blurted out that you were in the restroom. I was wrong. Shun Qingqing looked at her tearfully, her hands clasped together in a pitiful gesture. She whispered, if only I could have thought of a better excuse. Shun Qingqing had been talking, and Xiao Yin smiled gently. It's okay, Xiao Yin said. I'm the one who's troubling you. Xiao Yin asked with concern, were you implicated? Are you okay? Shun Qingqing looked worried. The teacher didn't give me a hard time, but he wants you to go to the homeroom teacher's office. Then, Liang Bowen, holding a handkerchief, came to stand beside Shun Qingqing. It was Liang Bowen, a classmate from Class A, who had appeared. Liang Bowen hurriedly wiped Shun Qingqing's tears. Then, turning his head curiously, he asked, this isn't really related, but are you and Xiao Shan in class beyond bad terms? Xiao Yin replied, we're not on good terms at all. Hearing this, Liang Bowen looked alarmed and told her, then you're probably in trouble. Xiao Shan's mother also came and asked for you. It's probably not just because you left early. Xiao Yin calmly said, thank you for letting me know. No. Noise came from the homeroom teacher's office. Homeroom teacher Yang's voice rang out. Everyone looked at Xiao Yin's test paper and corrected it. There's no way everyone could have made a mistake. Shin Tui objected. However, I've never seen a student get a perfect score. She must have cheated. Besides, how could she skip school without a reason just one day after enrolling? This really can't go unaddressed. Xiao Yin stood in front of the homeroom teacher's office and knocked. Excuse me, she announced. Homeroom teacher Yang's voice replied, come in. Xiao Shan and her mother looked aggressive. Xiao Yin opened the door and walked in. Standing before the teacher, she asked, homeroom teacher, did you want to see me? Homeroom teacher Yang went straight to the point. Did you skip class yesterday? Xiao Yin admitted something came up, so Xiao Shan, standing beside them, was furious. She yelled, Xiao Yin, just tell the truth. Xiao Yin retorted, oh, why don't you tell them for me? What should I tell the teachers? Provoked by Xiao Yin, Xiao Shan angrily pointed at her and shouted, tell them that everyone knows you got into a fight yesterday and went to the police station. Homeroom teacher Yang looked stressed. You're saying that yesterday afternoon, Xiao Yin got into a fight outside of school and went to the police station. Shun Ti, the homeroom teacher of Class A, stood beside homeroom teacher Yang, adding fuel to the fire. Looking at Xiao Yin judgmentally, Shun Tui declared, homeroom teacher, we might be able to overlook her skipping class, but fighting is absolutely unacceptable. We definitely don't want a student like her in Class A. Homeroom teacher Yang was under further pressure from Xiao Shan's mother. She said, homeroom teacher Yang, I hope you can expel Chen Yin. Homeroom teacher Yang stammered expulsion. Isn't that a bit too? Afraid that the teacher wouldn't agree, Xiao Shan's mother brought up past contributions to the school to pressure him. Our family donated a building to this school because we wanted a good learning environment. Xiao Yin fights, skips class, and incites her friends to lie. Shouldn't the school punish her? Homeroom teacher Yang glanced at Xiao Yin, looking worried. He hesitated, but Xiao Shan's mother wanted to escalate the situation. Expelling her is also our family's opinion, she insisted. Xiao Yin looked at her coldly, remaining silent. Xiao Shan put on a sisterly act, taking Xiao Yin's hand and advising her, Dad just bailed you out of the police station yesterday. Everyone can find out about the fight. Just admit your mistake and don't disappoint everyone anymore. Xiao Nian's expression turned disgusted. She flung Xiao Shan's hand away and looked at her skeptically. Who told you Xiao Weisher bailed me out? Xiao Weisher. But Xiao Nian couldn't let the three of them get away with their lies. She addressed Headmaster Yang directly. I did go to the police station yesterday. Xiao Shan's mother interrupted. See, Headmaster Yang, I'm not making this up. She admitted to fighting and being taken to the station. Xiao Shan's mother glared at Xiao Nian, still fuming from the previous night. She thought to herself, last night made Mr. Qiao so angry he went silent. Xiao Nian turned to face her and retorted, who said I was taken to the station for fighting. Couldn't I have been there doing a good deed? Xiao Shan's mother snapped. You fought with someone and you're making excuses. What good deeds could you possibly do? Her angry face creased with wrinkles. The police station still has your record for fighting. Enshin knows about you too. Do you want me to call her here to make you admit it? Unafraid, Xiao Nian challenged her. Go ahead and call Aunt Shin here. But Xiao Shan wasn't going to stay quiet. She added fuel to the fire. Xiao Nian, one of the people you fought yesterday was Brother Bai's cousin. That cousin said there was a man with you. You skipped school to fight and you're involved with gangsters. Xiao Shan's mother questioned Headmaster Yang. Are you going to protect her? Headmaster Yang remained silent, finding it difficult to defend Xiao Nian. He finally spoke. Xiao Nian, do you have anything else to say? This time, Xiao Nian had to take a different approach. She opened her phone and dialed the police. When the call connected, she said, hello, police station. About what you said yesterday. I agree. Please come over here now. Inside the headmaster's office, Xiao Shan and her mother watched Xiao Nian calmly using her phone. They seethed with anger. Xiao Shan's mother, fueled by contempt, thought, that country bumpkin, what right does she have to act like this in front of me? She then brandished her own phone. I'll just call the police and have them bring your criminal record here. The teachers prepared themselves for the police's arrival. A while later, a police officer knocked and entered, introducing himself. We're from the Shaoshan police station. Everyone in the room turned to look. Xiao Xuanchuan's mother, delighted to see the police, greeted them eagerly. Guomin, was there a gang fight in your area yesterday? The officers confirmed, yes, but it wasn't exactly a gang fight. Xiao Shan rushed over to Xiao Nian, putting on a concerned act. Just apologize to brother and cousin Fu. I'll plead for you. You still have a chance to make things right. Xiao Nian couldn't help but retort sarcastically. The police haven't even told me to apologize, and you're already accepting it from me. Are you a police officer? Director Tai Gang, standing behind her, finally noticed Xiao Nian. Surprised and delighted, he said, Xiao Nian, I thought you were in class. Saves me a trip. You finally agreed to let me commend you for your act of bravery. Xiao Nian smiled politely. It was no trouble, Chief. Thank you for coming. It was clear they had called the police to confirm Xiao Nian's involvement in the fight, but now it had become a commendation for her bravery. Headmaster Yang and Xiao Shan's younger sister, Tao Mai, were stunned. Incredulous, Tao Mai blurted out what? Her mother stepped forward to confirm with the police. Officer, are you mistaken? Last night, Xiao Nian was fighting someone on the street and was taken away by the police. My husband had to bail her out. The chief asked, and your husband is? She introduced herself arrogantly. Well, let me tell you. My husband is Qiao Weisher, CEO of the Qiao Corporation. Hearing this, Director Tai angrily retorted, your husband tell you. Your family is always confused right and wrong, slandering such a good child. She was speechless, stammering incoherently. This surprised even Xiao Nian, who was standing to the side. Then, the director approached her, patted her shoulder warmly with a proud expression, and explained, last night, a group of delinquents were harassing people on the street. Xiao Nian happened to be passing by and bravely intervened, even cooperating with us to document the incident. I must commend her properly. Xiao Nian humbly replied, it was my duty. Xiao Shan's mother, previously always biased against Xiao Nian, was wide-eyed with shock. This was clearly a huge surprise, something she couldn't believe. However, Director Tai continued to praise Xiao Nian. Furthermore, some time ago, a child fell into the water. The person commended by the public was also Xiao Nian. There was another student from number 1 high school present, but only Xiao Nian disregarded her own safety, jumped in to save the child. Headmaster Yang smiled and patted Xiao Nian's shoulder. I knew Xiao Nian was an outstanding student. I will definitely commend her in front of the whole school. The chief said with satisfaction, good. Everything is clear now. Xiao Nian then returned to her class. However, Xiao Shan persistently followed her, calling out sister. Xiao Nian turned around coldly and and asked, "What is it?" Xiao Shan started to cry and complain. "Sister, just assume we misunderstood you. You could have explained it to us. The person you hit is a relative, a leader in the Department of Education. Aren't you afraid of being expelled? What will you do if you can't study anymore?" She started to lose her patience. After finishing her tirade, Xiao Shan sniffled and said, "I'm done." Hearing this, Xiao Yin turned and walked away, not forgetting to mock her done. "Then shut up. You're such a gossip." Her cold and indifferent attitude made Xiao Shan cry even harder. She gritted her teeth, thinking, she dares to ignore me. What's she so smug about? She doesn't know who she's offended. Lost in thought, Xiao Shan's best friend suddenly approached and comforted her. "Dian Dian, why are you crying? Did Xiao Nian bully you?" Xiao Shan pretended to sob. "It's just a misunderstanding." Zhao Jing Wei started to flatter her. "She wants to bully you. She'll have to ask our class B if we agree. We'll definitely make her apologize to you and get her kicked out of #1 high school." The bell suddenly rang. Shen Qingqing was diligently taking notes, while Xiao Nian was playing with her phone. Suddenly, Xiao Nian received a text message from Yuan Chuan. "How was your first day of school?" She replied indifferently, didn't check the almanac. Afterward, she received another notification. "Profit is 1 bowl, for no, 665.82. Profit ratio is 500%. She thought to herself with satisfaction, 2 small goals achieved. Not bad. Later, in the classroom, everyone started talking animatedly. Xiaoyan could transfer to #1 high school. "We totally got in based on our connections. She got full marks on the placement test. The teachers must have pulled some strings to get her into Class A. So our Class Bell's grades aren't real. I saw on the forum that she bullied the school bell of Class B, making her cry. Xiaoyan is too ruthless." Xiaoyan overheard all of this. Hearing this, Shun Qingqing yelled furiously, "What are you guys saying? Xiaoyan isn't the kind of person you're making her out to be." The boys, scolded by Qingqing, replied flustered, "We saw it on the school forum." That's what it said. But Qingqing wouldn't let it go. "Even if it's on the forum, you can't just spout nonsense. Xiaoyan, tell them you got in on your own merit. You're excellent, not a cheater." But Xiaoyan wasn't bothered by these trivial matters. Their mouths are on their faces. Let them say what they want. Shun Qingqing, feeling wronged on her behalf, teared up. But the people online will just keep saying more and more ridiculous things. The comments will just keep piling up. Seeing her friend so upset, Xiaoyan started to say something, but stopped. She just quietly watched her friend. The bell rang, signaling the end of class. Ring, ring, ring. Xiao Nian walked while reading the news on the forum, getting full marks and entering Class A. Xiao Nian clearly cheated. She used connections. Here are her grades from her old school. English 60, Math 60, Literature 60, Physics 60, Biology 60, Chemistry 60. Somehow, she found the account that posted it and deleted the post, then completely removed it. Suddenly, Zhao Jing Wei rushed over. She yelled aggressively, "Xiao Nian, you deleted the post, didn't you?" But Xiao Nian paid her no mind. She just said sarcastically, "Out of the way, dog. Don't block the path." Zhao Jingwei was furious. "Don't pretend. One day, I and everyone else will expose your true colors and make you get out of #1 high school." However, Xiaoyan didn't even bother listening and just walked away, leaving Zhao Jingwei fuming. Scoring 60 in every subject is your true skill. You won't be so lucky in the next exam. The scene changed to Xiao Yin carrying a bag and walking to the hospital. At that moment, Yi Wangchuan and his assistant, Gu, saw her. Assistant Gu looked and then said to him, "Isn't that Miss Qiao? It looks like she's carrying Lingji mushrooms." Xiao Yin continued walking forward with the bag. Then she met someone. Leaning against the wall, Xiao Yin reminded him, "You said you wanted to wander around for a year to start your own business. It's been 3 months and you haven't accomplished anything. As agreed, you should obediently go back to school and study hard." Hearing this, Qin Yuan couldn't help but sigh. "Do you think I can just go back to school whenever I want?" Xiao Yin unwrapped the lollipop. She tucked her hair behind her ear and replied indifferently, "Your previous school. I'll help you get back in." He pondered, Class A of #1 high school in Nuching. The homeroom teacher is very firm. She won't let me back in and drag down the class average. She crossed her arms and said, "What a coincidence. I'm also in Class A at #1 high school." The boy seemed surprised. "You go there too." The elevator doors dinged open. Assistant Gu wondered, "Who's that boy with Miss Qiao?" He glanced at Yi Wangchuan behind them, thinking he looks like he wants to eat the guy alive. As Xiao Yin stepped out, he waved enthusiastically. "Miss Qiao, what a coincidence." She returned the greeting. "Hello, Mr. Yi." He chuckled. "Just call me Gu-san. Everyone at home calls me Third Young Master." Wang Chuan finally spoke. "Are you here to visit Chen Shun?" Xiao Yin answered casually, something like that. But she thought, and to teach a certain brat a lesson. Gu-san continued, "Nian Nian, I saw you talking to a boy your age in the hallway. Who is that? He thought. Please explain quickly, or Jiao will be furious. However, Wang Chuan answered for her. The boy we saw the other night. Chen Yuan, Chun Shin's son. The assistant's jaw dropped. This is unbelievable. And Jia is actually explaining his rival's identity. Xiao Nian didn't deny it. That's him. Wang Chuan took her bag. Why don't you come visit my godson with me? He's been wanting to see you again after your last lesson. We can head back together afterward. Inside the VIP ward. Hearing the door open, the boy yelled, I'm not eating. I'm not hungry. I don't want to play. I don't need you pretending to be nice. Get out. Yi Wangchuan asked softly. Qi Shun, are you awake? Seeing the boy's stubbornness, he roared, Yi Qi Shun. Gu San quickly intervened. And Jia, Yin is here. Don't get angry. He rushed to the bedside to coax the boy. Young master, don't you want to see who's here? The boy retorted, do you think I'm 3? Gu San turned to Wang Chuan. Well, and Jia, young master refuses to get up. You should just take Miss Qiao back. Hearing that the kind sister from before was visiting, Shun's eyes lit up. He bolted upright. I'm up. He was afraid she'd leave. As he sat up, Xiao Nian noticed something seemed wrong with his legs. She approached the now obedient boy. Shun shyly said, HLO. Xiao Nian pulled a candy from her pocket and offered it to him. My name is Xiao Nian. Shun happily enjoyed the candy. Wang Chuan asked, is it good? The boy grinned. Xiao Nian gently ruffled his hair. Suddenly, she and Wang Chuan exchanged a long look. She winked at him. That was the last one. The homeroom teacher of class, slammed her hand on the desk in frustration. Then yelled angrily, Chen Yuan has been out of school for 3 months. How can you let him back into Class A? The principal tried to reassure Ms. Shun, don't worry so much. Chen Yuan's previous grades weren't bad, but Ms. Shun refused to back down, exclaiming, the exams are coming up. We already have one student, Xiao Nian, who's been out for 3 years. Now we have Chen Yuan who's been out for 3 months. How do you expect us to perform in the exams? At this point, the principal stopped hiding anything. Ms. Shun, Chen Yuan will definitely be returning to your class. I can't control this situation, I'm telling you. Ms. Shin returned to the teacher's office, feeling heavy-hearted. She sighed as she reached the door. Just as she was about to enter, she overheard some gossip inside. I heard that Class A's absent student, Chen Yuan, is coming back to school. One Xiao Nian is enough. Now we have Chen Yuan returning. I think Class A is becoming a dumping ground. Shouldn't Ms. Chun be congratulated on her comeback soon? Then they burst out laughing. Ms. Shin couldn't stand hearing any more and pushed the door open. Ms. Chen remained arrogant and mocking. What's so admirable about a class full of garbage? Just keep performing as usual. Ms. Shun, furious, pointed at Ms. Chun and demanded she apologize. But Ms. Chun showed no remorse, instead sneering, did I say anything wrong? Xiao Nian only scored 60 on each subject before. She cheated her way into your class. Chen Yuan hasn't even finished the 11th grade curriculum, and now he's in 12th grade. If your class isn't a dumping ground, then what is it? Ms. Shin couldn't hold back any longer. You say Class A is a dumping ground. Well, your Class B loses to this dumping ground every time. So what is your Class B? Not even good enough to be garbage. Ms. Chun stood up to argue. The exams are almost here. My class will surpass Class A. Just be prepared to transfer your excellent students to my class then. Ms. Shin wasn't intimidated. We'll see. Inside the Class A classroom, the students were all preoccupied and not focused on their studies. Shun Qingqing couldn't stand it. None of you are studying. Do you want to lose to Class B next week? The other students denied it. Who wants to lose? Isn't it because someone in our class is holding us back? Seeing their indirect remarks, Shun Qingqing asked, who are you talking about? Be specific. A student spoke up. Who else could it be? It's Xiao Nian. Shun Qingqing jumped up, threw a book at the student, and yelled, is Class B targeting Xiao Nian? Clearly, they're targeting our entire Class A. One by intervened. What's with the arguing? Don't forget, we're all members of Class A. If we win together. If we lose, we all lose face. Xiao Nian, you just transferred here, so it's normal that everyone doesn't know your academic level. What rank do you think you can achieve? Shun Qingqing added, we're all classmates. Give us a number, and we'll figure out how to help you and Chen Yuan improve your scores. Xiao Nian thought to herself, if this were the old me, it wouldn't matter if I did poorly. But now her classmates were saying, it's okay if you don't do well. We'll work hard to pull your scores up. Shun Qingqing and the other students reassured her. She was truly astonished and touched. Then, she picked up the paper and replied indifferently, first place. The unexpected number darkened the faces of her classmates. They thought she was joking. Wumbai carefully confirmed it again. Xiao Nian, I'm seriously asking you. He turned to look directly into her eyes. My friend is also serious. First place. He thought to himself, bro, are you still asleep? The entrance exam is right around the corner. Shun Qingqing asked Xiao Nian, which room are you in? While looking at her phone, she replied, 1.102, number 1. Her friend was surprised. What a coincidence. So you're the first person in the first seat of Class B. Then she handed her a piece of paper. Take a look at this. These are common formulas. She took the paper. With these familiar formulas, Qiaoyan exclaimed, I remember. Suddenly, Zhao Jingwei jumped out, blocking her way, and mocked her. Oh, who is this? Isn't this Qiaoyan, who dared to declare she be first? What, are you busy writing cheat notes? However, Qiaoyan didn't bother to care and threw the paper directly into the trash. Shun Qingqing, beside her, pointed at Zhao Jingwei's face. Watch your mouth, Zhao Jingwei. But Zhao Jingwei continued to speak defiantly. I'm telling the truth. What's so dirty about that? There's a proctor for this exam, and you still want to cheat. Then she sneered. Qiaoyan stepped forward, coldly provoking her. Then keep your eyes peeled and watch how I get first place. Someone stepped forward to intervene. All right, Jingwei, the exam is about to start. Stop making noise. Hearing this, Zhao Jingwei said, just consider yourself lucky. Then she turned to Qiaoyan and said falsely, Sister, I'll wait for your results. But Qiaoyan didn't pay any attention and continued talking to her friend. Shun Qingqing patted Qiaoyan's shoulder reassuringly. Don't feel pressured. Just do your best. Qiaoyan looked at her friend. I'll try my best. During the exam, she placed her pencil on the table. In her mind, she thought this exam is too easy. There's still an hour left before I have to submit. I'll sleep for a bit. Then she put her head down on the desk and slept. Miss Chen passed by and saw this. Thinking smugly, you don't dare to cheat in front of me. You know better. A blank scratch paper and no questions answered. A while later, in the exam room, Qiaoyan sat up and finished the exam. Because the questions were too easy and she had a lot of time left, she lay down on the table and slept again. As soon as she left the exam room, everyone was whispering. I heard she slept through all 4 subjects. Class B will definitely win this time. Qiaoyan is so beautiful, but she's just a pretty face. A true beauty with both talent and look should be like Qiaoyan. But Qiaoyan didn't pay any attention and continued playing on her phone. Suddenly, Shun Qingqing ran out and asked Qiaoyan, how was the exam? She replied, I performed as usual. Hearing this, Shun Qingqing was relieved and laughed. That's good then. Suddenly, Qiaoyan saw a notification, frowned, and panicked. While running, she said, I have something urgent to attend to, so I'll go first. Then she quickly turned and left. At this time, in the homeroom teacher's office, the teachers were busy grading papers. Mr. Yang carefully reminded Ms. Chun, this entrance exam is very difficult. You shouldn't have too high expectations for the average score. But she mocked him. This time, you should be comforting Ms. Shun. Suddenly, a teacher shouted in surprise, my goodness. This student's paper is outstanding. There's only one mistake in the last question. They solved the problem and even provided 2 solutions. Our school has a genius. Mr. Yang asked in surprise which student. The teacher replied, Qiaoyan. Ms. Chun was in disbelief. How is this possible? She must have cheated. Hearing this, Ms. Shin stepped forward to caution Ms. Chun. You need proof to make such accusations. Wasn't at your exam room, to proctor. The teachers in the room were stunned. Qiaoyan had near-perfect scores in almost every subject. She was only 40 points away from a perfect score in literature. One evening, as the sun had set and night was falling upon the hospital, the despicable couple, Fu Qua and Xiao Chun Chun, stood outside a patient's room. It seemed they had brought fruit to visit the patient, but had it thrown back at them. Shun angrily yelled, Do you think I'm a 3-year-old? Get out! Xiao Chun Chun still tried to defend her younger brother. Did you misunderstand something? Hearing her denial, Shun became furious. He put his hands on his hips and directly exposed their lies. Last time I fell into the lake, you two were standing on the bank watching. Don't think I didn't know. You're both bad people. If you don't leave, I'll call security to kick you out. Seeing that they couldn't convince Xiao Chun put on a wronged expression and looked apologetically at Fu Qua. Fu Qua, I didn't know. He's the young master of a wealthy family. If I had known earlier. Seeing her self-reproach, Fu Qua patted her head comfortingly. Silly, it's okay. Given the current situation, they had no choice but to leave. While waiting for the elevator, they saw a man and a woman walk by, causing Fu Qua to quickly turn his head. He exclaimed in surprise, Qiaoyan, what's she doing here? His sister, standing beside him, gritted her teeth, thinking, could it be that she also knows the boy's identity and came here to cozy up to him? Then, feigning understanding, she suggested to Fu Qua, I remember now, my grandmother and the Chengfeng group have a partnership selling Lingji mushrooms. We can offer her more money to sell them to us. If we can cure the young master, his family will surely be very grateful. Fu Qua wrapped his arm around her waist and said excitedly, really? That's great. Meanwhile, Yi Wanchuan was briefly explaining Uncle Chen's situation. This afternoon, Uncle Chen's condition took a turn for the worse. After examination, they discovered a tumor in his brain. He needs surgery immediately. Hearing this, Xiao Yin turned and asked who will perform the surgery. Ahead of them, Mrs. Chun was being informed about her husband's condition by the doctor. Turning and seeing Xiao Yin, Mrs. Chen's eyes welled up with tears. She rushed over and grabbed Xiao Yin's hand, trembling. Yin, what should we do? Seeing her panic, Xiao Yin gently comforted her. Uncle Chun will be all right. Yi Wanchuan also stepped forward to reassure her. My grandmother has already contacted the specialists at the Beijing People's Hospital. They're on their way. Don't worry. Suddenly, a doctor rushed out with bad news. The patient has fallen into a coma. We can't wait any longer. He needs to be transferred immediately. Who is the patient's family? His condition is worsening. We can only do our best in surgery. Worried, Mrs. Chun immediately agreed. Yes, please operate quickly. The female doctor then turned and asked, but who will perform the surgery? After speaking, the two doctors looked at each other in confusion and advised Mrs. Chun, to be honest, given our hospital's surgical staff, it's best to transfer him to another hospital. Hearing this, Xiao Yin, without hesitation, threw her backpack aside. She stepped forward, rubbed her wrist, and firmly replied, I will. Mrs. was astonished. Gusen was dumbfounded and scratched his head, asking, what can Miss Xiao do? Yi Wanchuan smiled with interest, thinking to himself, I thought Xiao Yin was an ordinary girl. It turns out I was wrong. She's quite mysterious. She approached the doctor, picked up the medical chart, and said, I understand the patient's condition. Prepare sterilized clothing for me. We'll operate immediately. Dr. Liu, the neurosurgeon, pulled down his mask and scoffed coldly. You operate. Even we doctors don't fully understand it. You're just a student. What if you kill the patient? Can you take responsibility? If Dr. Liu thought his words could intimidate Xiao Yin into backing down, he was mistaken. She firmly retorted, yes, I'll take responsibility. Dr. Liu crossed his arms and challenged, haha, are you joking? What will you take responsibility with? Saving lives isn't a game. Can you really take responsibility? Xiao Yin seriously replied, what if I stake my life on it? If the surgery fails, I'll give my life for Mr. Chun. Then she walked over to Mrs. Chun, who was tearing up. Don't say such things, Mrs. Chun pleaded. Don't talk life and death. Xiao Yin gently comforted her. Don't worry, Annie. I won't let Mr. Chen die. After that, she walked directly into the operating room. One doctor decided to let her try. Dr. Liu panicked. Chief, are you crazy? The chief remained firm. Do as she says. There might still be a chance. He then approached Xiao Yin, who was putting on a sterilized gown, and asked, do you need my assistance? She replied, I need you to hand me the instruments, Chief. The chief agreed. I'll assist you. Tell me anything you need. During the procedure, the two cooperated seamlessly. He quickly handed her the requested items. Hemostat, surgical glue, tissue scissors, scalpel. Her surgical technique was truly professional, leaving the other two doctors stunned. The two doctors thought to themselves, what kind of surgical technique is this? I've never seen it before. Is she really a high school student? Their chief was thinking, the last time I saw her perform first aid, I knew she wasn't an ordinary child. Good heavens, I'm still so inexperienced. I wonder if she'd take on any apprentices. Suddenly, she said, wipe the sweat. He snapped back to attention and replied, right? Outside the operating room, Gu Sin anxiously suggested to Yi Wanchuan, it's been 4 hours, and Miss Xiao Yin still hasn't come out. Should I call Miss Jiang? She's a top student at the medical university. But Yi Wanchuan firmly replied, I trust her. Gu San continued to try and persuade him. I'm not wishing Miss Xiao Yin ill, but what if something unexpected happens? It's good to have someone else on standby. Yi Wanchuan countered, are you saying Jiang Xianro is more skilled than the veteran doctors at this hospital? Gu San paused, then crossed his arms, fiddling with his bracelet as he casually said, she's breaking the rules. Isn't there still me? Gu San was sweating, thinking to himself, damn, isn't Yi Wanchuan putting Miss Xiao Yin under his protection? Just then, the operating room doors opened. The sign above it turned green, signifying the successful completion of the surgery. Chun Yuan anxiously rushed forward and asked the doctor, how's my father? Gu San said to Yi Wanchuan, the doctor's out. We don't know if the surgery was successful yet. Yi Wanchuan replied, let's go. Over there. The doctor removed his mask and joyfully announced, success. A complete success. Even the top surgeons in Beijing couldn't have done it better. Xiao and Yin walked wearily out of the operating room. The surgery was successful. Mr. Chen pulled through. She smiled and replied, I know. After several hours of continuous surgery on Mr. Chun, Xiaoyan was exhausted. She sat on a bench in the hallway, leaning her head against the wall, lost in thought. Mr. Chun was no longer in critical condition, but he still needed rare metals for bone setting to walk normally again. She could only ask Hong Ming for help finding them. Rubbing her aching head, she looked weary. Seeing this, Yi Wanchuan approached her and asked if she needed to rest. Xiaoyan was truly exhausted and didn't refuse. However, she was startled when he suddenly placed his hand on her shoulder and then lifted her into his arms, taking her completely by surprise. Flustered, Xiaoyan struggled and said, "What are you doing? Put me down." She suddenly remembered the time with Wei Lu while preparing medicine. He had asked her, "Qi Xiaoyan, did you touch something? Your hands are covered in a rash." Wary, she warned him, "Stay away from me. I'm allergic to you." Back in the present, carried by Yi Wanchuan, she thought to herself, just being in contact with the opposite sex gives me a rash. How can he not know? She thought of Jiang Li, her father and grandfather. Noticing her resistance, he said, "Don't struggle. I'm taking you to Qi Shun's room to rest. His room is big, and the bed was custom-made by his grandfather in Beijing. You can lie down there and rest." Hearing this, Gu San thought to himself, young master never lets anyone sleep in his bed. If he doesn't give it up, it'll be awkward. The people around them, seeing Yi Wanchuan carrying Xiaoyan, whispered and gossiped. Wow, carrying her like a princess. So romantic. It's like a scene from a drama. That guy is so handsome. Did we stumble onto a film set? It was already late at night inside the VIP ward. Shun Shun was lying on his bed, pensively rolling a small bottle back and forth. When will Sister Xiaoyan come? Suddenly, as if struck by an idea, he sat up excitedly. I wonder if Uncle will take me to see Sister Xiaoyan. Just then, the door to his room creaked open. Hearing the sound, he turned to look. It was Uncle Gu, and his uncle was carrying the Sister Xiaoyan he had been longing to see. Shun Shun's eyes lit up. He cried out joyfully, "Sister." Afraid of waking Xiaoyan, Yi Wanchuan whispered, "Quiet down. She's tired. Shun Shun, can you give up your bed so she can sleep for a bit?" Hearing this, Xiaoyan woke up. "No need. I don't need to sleep. I can just rest on the sofa." Worried that Shun Shun wouldn't agree, Yi Wanchuan said, "She just finished surgery and has been standing 4 hours." Gu San, standing nearby, was sweating, thinking young master is quite particular. There's no way he'll give up his bed. But Shun Shun just smiled brightly and obediently said, "Okay," before climbing down from the bed, making Gu San's worries completely unnecessary. Yi Wanchuan gently placed Xiaoyan on the bed. The adorable boy looked at her, blinking his bright eyes. He shyly said, "Sister, I didn't know you were coming. Here, this is for you. It's very well behaved. It can protect you here." He handed her a stuffed rabbit. Xiaoyan happily accepted it. "Thank you, Shun Shun." Seeing the little boy still wanting to stay and play, and worried he might bother Xiaoyan, Yi Wanchuan led him away, saying, "Come on, let's go outside so she can rest." Shun Shun, though a little reluctant and kept looking back at her, obediently agreed. "Okay, sister, get some rest." Yi Wanchuan suddenly remembered something he hadn't asked her. "Oh, why didn't you tell me you knew medicine?" She replied frankly, "You didn't ask." Yi Wanchuan was at a loss for words, as she was right. He chuckled and wished her good night, then took Shun Shun and left. At first, Xiaoyan tossed and turned, unable to sleep in the unfamiliar bed. But about 30 minutes later, hugging the stuffed rabbit, she drifted off into a sound sleep. The next morning, when she opened the classroom door, an unusual silence greeted her. All eyes were on her. The strange situation puzzled her. What are you doing? She wondered as she continued to her seat, under the watchful gaze of her classmates. Xiaoyan felt a strange sense of unease. Suddenly, her classmates rushed towards her enthusiastically. "Xiaoyan's here. Sister Nian's here." "Oh, Sister Nian, the light of Class A." She was bewildered, unsure what was happening. Shun Qingqing excitedly grabbed her hand and asked, "Do you know how well you did on the exam?" Xiaoyan mentally calculated, minus the essay I skipped, it should be 710. And just as she calculated, Shun Qingqing excitedly announced, 710 points. 710. You're first in the whole school, Xiaoyan. Another classmate, Wen Bai, chimed in gleefully. Qinyuan also ranked 12th in the whole school. I heard the teacher from Class B next door went pale when they saw the rankings. The class's attention was completely focused on her. Someone, starstruck, even declared, "Xiaoyan, you're my idol." Xiaoyan just sighed inwardly, thinking, so childish. It was lunchtime in Class A. Xiaoyan was alone in the classroom, one hand resting on the desk behind her, the other holding her phone, seemingly checking something. She was logging into an account with the nickname S.S on Hong Ming, a platform for hackers, information trading, and a mineral alliance. Just seconds after logging in, a flurry of messages popped up, causing Xiao Yin to sit up straight, bringing the phone closer to her face. An account named Dodgy expressed astonishment. I'm not seeing things, am I? The boss is online. Another, Ji Yukong, typed in apparent fear. It's raining blood. This can't be real. Others chimed in. Guanyi, check if the software crashed. The boss's account got hacked. Worried things would get out of hand. Xiaoyan quickly explained, it's me. Help me look this up. After confirming what Xiaoyan was searching for, Ji Yukong exclaimed in surprise. Ji Yukong, this is a rare material. It's strictly controlled in every country. What do you need it for, boss? Reading the message, Xiaoyan calmly replied, chin in hand, I need it. Help me find it domestically. Price is no object. Make it quick. Ending the conversation, she fell into deep thought. That little Yi Qixin is also limping. If I get this, maybe he can use it too. He and Mr. Chun can get treatment. While she was still pondering, Shun Qingqing walked in with 2 ice cream cones, looking towards Xiaoyan. Immediately, Xiaoyan put her phone down, avoiding suspicion. Shun Qingqing, with a bright smile, ran towards her, holding out an ice cream cone. I brought this especially for you. She watched the adorable girl in front of her happily say thank you. Then the two of them sat enjoying the cold ice cream, eating it with gusto. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Yi Wanchuan brought Yi Qixin to find Xiaoyan. Opening the door, they found the hospital room empty with no one inside. Yi Qixin's face darkened, and he asked, is she gone? Yi Wanchuan replied in a coaxing tone, she's gone back to school. If you're a good boy, I'll take you to pick her up after school. Knowing he was about to see Xiaoyan, the boy's eyes lit up brighter than car headlights. His previously sad face now became cheerful. After dealing with the troublesome child, Yi Wanchuan turned to Gu San to discuss business. Gu San began to report the current situation to him. Wang Rahongming is looking for expensive rare materials on the black market. Hearing this, Yi Wanchuan immediately ordered him, leak some more information. Let them raise the price. Gu San didn't say anything more, only replying with a yes. Although he outwardly agreed with Yi Wanchuan's decision, he wondered inwardly, you're not short of money, are you? At this moment, Yi Qixin, who had somehow gotten an apple, ran over and offered it to Yi Wanchuan to curry favor. Uncle, have some fruit. Yi Wanchuan took the apple from his nephew, but asked Gu San, the doctor I told you to find, haven't you found him yet? Gu San, standing behind him, calmly explained, that divine doctor hasn't been found from the beginning. I'm wondering if this person even exists. Hearing this, Yi Wanchuan turned around, looked at him, and said, the medicine I made is still being sold on the black market. He can't not exist. Keep looking. Seeing the anger on his face, Gu San, fearing something might happen, stammered nervously. Isn't Miss Xiao skilled in medicine? Maybe we could have Miss Xiao examine the young master. By then, Yi Wanchuan had turned back around, saying nothing. The anger on his face was gone, replaced by silence and a hint of sadness in his eyes. This frightened San even more. Not knowing what to do, he scratched his head and quickly corrected himself. Never mind. I'll keep looking. The scene quickly shifted to the school. Xiaoyan had just finished school. Walking on campus, she looked at her phone and muttered to herself, I've already reached 9 digits. They still want more money. How greedy. But she hadn't gone far when she had to stop because of a rather familiar black car. It was Yi Wanchuan's car. He had brought Yi Qixin to pick her up. The car window slowly rolled down, revealing Yi Qixin inside, his face beaming as he called out, Sister. Sister, get in. We're here to pick you up. After Xiaoyan got into the car, the boy couldn't hide his joy, constantly looking at her. Seeing this, Yi Wanchuan said, Shunshin insists on treating you to dinner. Not wanting to disappoint the boy, she simply hummed in agreement. Afterward, Yi Qixin took Xiaoyan's hand and chattered, Sister, do you like the food at Shui Taxian? I didn't know what you liked, so I brought you here. Xiaoyan replied easily, Shui Taxian. I love it there. Thank you for arranging this. Yi Wanchuan, sitting beside them, suddenly asked, You seemed unhappy by the roadside earlier. Did something happen? Thinking about the news she had just received on her phone, she replied, It's nothing. Just encountered a big swindler online. The person she referred to as a big swindler was sitting right there in the car with her. He even dared to talk about eating. Learn your lesson. Don't get scammed again. Xiaoyan grew angrier with each passing thought and couldn't help but huff. Shun, sitting between them, remained clueless, not understanding what was going on. Soon, they arrived at Shui Taxian. As soon as she stepped out of the car, a call came through. She heard Yi Wanchuan's ringtone and glanced at the screen. Xiao Qin's number flashed. She immediately declined the call and spoke to Yi Wanchuan. It's a scam call, but they don't know that. Behind her, Chen Yuan and Xiao Chun were talking. Chen Yuan angrily questioned Xiao Chun. Xiao Nian still isn't answering. Xiao Chen's face paled, and she stammered. Maybe she doesn't have her phone with her. She hasn't answered at all. Chen Yuan sighed wearily. I'm a teacher. There's no way a teacher apologizes to a student. If I apologize to those students in Class A this time, how will I have any standing left in Rao City? Hearing this, Xiao Chun turned to comfort her. It's okay, Ms. Chun. I texted her. She'll definitely reply to me. Just as she finished speaking, Chen Yuan saw Yi Wangchuan and Xiao Nian standing in front of them. Xiao Nian was holding her phone. Chen Yuan walked over, crossed her arms, and said haughtily, Xiao Nian, you're here. Just in time, I have something to say to you. Knowing Chen Yuan's intentions, Xiao Nian replied calmly, I heard everything you just said, Miss Chun. Chen Yuan continued stubbornly, it's best that you did. Tomorrow, tell your class they don't need me to apologize anymore. Xiao Chun, standing to the side, hypocritically took Xiao Nian's hand and pleaded, Sister, Miss Chen didn't mean to look down on you. It's just that your previous grades were so poor. She misunderstood. You've already won. There's no need to force her to bow her head to you. But Xiao Nian didn't bother to explain. She simply replied with a cryptic, Did Notre Dame burn down and leave you homeless? Seeing that Xiao Nian wouldn't budge, Chen Yuan resorted to threats. I have connections in the education department. Do you believe I can get you expelled? Xiao Nian gave a contemptuous look and retorted with a cold laugh. If you're so capable, why are you yelling at me? Just then, Yi Wangchuan stepped forward, holding his phone in one hand and shielding Xiao Nian with the other. Looking at Chen Yuan, he said, Ms. Chen Hai, right? The principal of number 1 high school in Rao City would like to speak with you. Hearing the word principal, Chen Yuan's face paled and she stammered, unable to speak. Principal, stop playing games. Chen Yuan quickly snatched the phone from Yi Wangchuan's hand to see if he was lying. But the moment she held the phone to her ear, the principal's voice boomed from the other end. Chen Yuan Hai, you're fired. I'll be reporting this to the higher-ups and revoking your teaching license. Regret flooded Chen Yuan's face as she pleaded, Principal you'll ruin my entire career. Can't I just apologize to Xiao Nian? Yi Wangchuan stepped forward, took the phone back, and replied coldly, too late. He then turned and walked away, leaving Chen Yuan sobbing uncontrollably. Xiao Chun, standing behind, was bewildered. How could this happen? Dinner finally ended. Xiao Nian returned to Jiang Li's villa. She sat cross-legged on the sofa, intently focused on her phone. At this moment, her phone screen displayed a message from Tai Yukong. Boss, the other party replied. The money is too little. Xiao Nian had just finished reading this line when she sat up abruptly, her face etched with anger, eyes flashing. She cursed inwardly. They still want more money. This despicable profiteer. Thinking about her dwindling funds, Xiao Nian gritted her teeth and furiously typed, Why doesn't he just rob a bank? Tai Yukong jokingly replied, Boss, are you kidding? Robbing a bank isn't as fast as robbing you. Venting her frustration through typing, Xiao Nian calmed down and thought it over. She then seriously messaged Tai Yukong, add more money this one last time. If the other party still doesn't budge, change tactics. Don't mention money and let them set the conditions. Xiao Nian left the room, wanting a drink to quell her anger. A glass of milk sat conveniently on the table. She took a sip and grumbled, What a despicable profiteer, taking all my money. At this moment, Yi Wangchuan was leaning against the wall, talking on his phone, his voice low and urgent, very wealthy. Don't respond to them yet. Ignore them and wait for them to raise the offer. Xiao Nian didn't know what he was talking about. When she turned around, she heard him say to the other end of the line, You handle this. I'm hanging up. She approached him and called out. Yi Wangchuan turned his head, looking at her with gentle eyes, and said caringly, There's milk in the fridge. I'll warm some up for you. Realizing the milk in her hand was prepared by him, she mumbled a shy thank you and finished the glass. Seeing Yi Wangchuan about to leave, she trailed behind him like a little shadow. Suddenly, he stopped, and she bumped into his solid back. Instead of scolding her, Yi Wangchuan said softly, Be careful. Then, he turned and asked, Is someone bullying you at school? Without waiting for her reply, he went to get another glass of freshly heated milk. Xiao Nian leaned against the wall and asked, What constitutes bullying? Without pausing his task, Yi Wangchuan gently replied, Anything that makes you unhappy is bullying. You can tell your brother. Despite his offer of help, Xiao Nian simply said, It's fine. Knowing she considered it a private matter, he handed her the warm milk and said, Good. That's good then. Soon, morning arrived at number 1 high school in Newchung. Shen Qingqing walked to her desk and noticed a small piece of paper. Curious, she picked it up, saying, "What's this?" Her expression changed drastically after reading the contents. Hearing the door open, she quickly hid the paper behind her back. Noticing Shen Qingqing's strange behavior, Qiao Nian asked suspiciously, "What's wrong?" Fearful of Qiao Nian finding out, she stammered, Qiao Nian, you startled me." To avoid Qiao Nian's questioning, Shen Qingqing changed the subject. "I heard our homeroom teacher from Class B was fired." However, her mind raced. Someone actually sent Qiao Nian a threatening letter. "I'll see who it is after school." Qiao Nian simply hummed in response to Shen Qingqing's news. During class, Shen Qingqing kept glancing at the paper, which didn't escape Qiao Nian's notice. She wondered, did she take that paper from my desk? After class, Shen Qingqing hurried out. Qiao Nian watched her hasty and anxious departure in silence. Worried something had happened to her, Qiao Nian discreetly followed Shen Qingqing. She left the classroom. A younger student called out to Qiao Nian, asking if she was going to morning exercises. Qiao Nian didn't deny it, simply replying that she was going to take a look. Shen Qingqing, likely preoccupied with her worries, didn't notice anything behind her. She arrived at the location specified in the note, but found no one there. Shen Qingqing thought to herself, if no one's here, was this some kind of cruel joke? Qiao Nian, still observing from a distance, suddenly heard a clattering sound. As if realizing something, her eyes widened with worry. Qiao Nian quickly rushed towards Shen Qingqing, yelling out, "Dongji!" Hearing the shout behind her, Shen Qingqing instinctively turned around and saw Qiao Nian running toward her. She cried out, "Qiao Nian!" Qiao Nian leaped, and tackled Shen Qingqing, sending them both tumbling to the ground. Qiao Nian shielded Shen Qingqing with her body. At that moment, Shen Qingqing looked to the side in utter shock as a large steel pipe crashed down, hitting Qiao Nian's slender arm. The two girls sat up, shaken, looking at the injury on Qiao Nian's arm. A remorseful Shen Qingqing stammered, Nian. I didn't know this would happen." But Qiao Nian, ever resilient, simply replied, "It's okay." Seeing this, Shen Qingqing quickly added, "I'll take you to the infirmary." The scene changes to the infirmary. A teacher bandaged Qiao Nian's wound and instructed her to go to the hospital later for a tetanus shot, reminding her to keep the wound dry. Qiao Nian agreed. Shen Qingqing stood by, anxiously watching Qiao Nian's injury. Just then, the principal, along with homeroom teacher Yang and Shen Tuesday, entered. A worried Shen Tuesday rushed over and asked, "Are you two all right?" Qiao Nian replied, "Just a scraped arm. Nothing serious." The principal said suspiciously, the steel pipe on the roof was put very securely. How could it suddenly fall and hit someone? Homeroom teacher Yang rubbed his forehead and replied, "It rained a few days ago. The pipes stacked there shifted and almost fell on some students then." The principal crossed his arms, considering homeroom teacher Yang's explanation, which seemed reasonable. He concluded, so this was an accident. But Shen Tuesday disagreed. She turned to the principal suspiciously and said, "Principal, wouldn't you like to investigate further? This feels too coincidental." Before the principal could reply, Qiao Nian spoke up, "This wasn't an accident. Someone did this on purpose." Shen Qingqing received a note asking her to meet someone here. That's why she came. If you check the fingerprints on the note, you'll know who it was. Outside, Zhao Jingwei, realizing her scheme was about to be exposed, paled and gritted her teeth, trying to remain calm. Seeing her friend's state, Xiao Chen anxiously asked, "What's wrong? Are you sick?" But Zhao Jingwei, her mind in turmoil, could only manage, "It's nothing." Xiao Chen, observing Zhao Jingwei, realized her friend was the culprit. She thought to herself, so this is the lesson Zhao Jingwei was talking about, teaching Qiao Nian. She's truly heartless. Xiao Chen angrily turned and left. Only then did Zhao Jingwei come back to her senses and ran after Xiao Chen. "Chen, wait for me." Yi Wangchuan, after hearing the news about Qiao Nian, quickly arrived at her school. His handsome figure, attractive face, and white suit made him the center of attention, causing everyone to turn and stare. Striding down the school hall, whispers erupted. "Is that a celebrity at our school? I wonder if he has a girlfriend. I want to ask for his contact information." Seeing Yi Wangchuan arrive, the principal quickly started to explain, "Mr. Yi, this matter." But he didn't pay any attention to the principal. Before the principal could finish his sentence, Yi Wangchuan interrupted him. "Does your hand still hurt?" This question was directed at Xiao Nian. She was surprised by his appearance and didn't react immediately, thinking to herself, "Mr. Yi, why is he here?" Seeing that Xiao Nian didn't reply, Yi Wangchuan furrowed his brows in concern and asked again, Does it hurt a lot? Noticing the worry evident on his face, she finally responded softly, "It's okay." At Ijong High School in Nuching, inside the infirmary, Yi Wangchuan spoke sternly to the principal. "I don't think I need to explain how this matter should be handled, do I?" Faced with his intensity, the principal scratched his head nervously, not daring to disobey. Yes, the school will definitely give student Xiao Nian a satisfactory explanation." Then, Yi Wangchuan walked over to Xiao Nian. He reached out, put his arms around her waist, and lifted her up horizontally, causing her eyes to widen in surprise. She was momentarily too stunned to react. He then carried her away, not forgetting to tell the principal, "I'll take her home first." The principal, still intimidated by his authority, could only manage a meek, yes. The two of them walking out of the infirmary caused everyone to stare in astonishment, murmuring amongst themselves, "Dad, look at those two. That guy is so handsome." Some even wondered, is that Xiao Nian's boyfriend? Reaching the car, he placed her on the seat and said to Gu-san to City Hospital. Hearing this, Xiao Nian explained, "My hand is just injured, my leg is fine. There's no need to go to the hospital." But Yi Wangchuan was adamant, insisting on taking her to the hospital, leaving Xiao Nian speechless. Gu-san cheerfully replied, "Yes, sir." Noticing Xiao Nian turning towards the car window, resting her chin on her hand with a tired expression, Yi Wangchuan, worried she was angry, asked, "Are you mad?" Hearing this, Xiao Nian turned back. The two stared at each other for a long moment without saying anything. Finally, Xiao Nian replied with a sullen expression, "No." Yi Wangchuan continued to probe, "Or do you feel that I shouldn't have carried you like that just now?" Hitting a nerve, Xiao Nian bristled like a cat. Angrily, she scolded him, "You knew, and you still asked. My leg is clearly fine. Why did you carry me like that?" She thought to herself, he's such a nuisance. Seeing Xiao Nian's attitude, Yi Wangchuan could only endure it patiently. He reached out and patted her head, replying, "Didn't you call me brother?" He continued to explain, "If you call me brother, then when you're hurt, I have a responsibility to take you to the hospital. It's just a sign of concern from an older brother. You don't need to be so tense." At Yi Wangchuan's unreasonable explanation, Xiao Nian couldn't hide her displeasure. She thought to herself, he must think I'm an idiot, but she still tried to make him understand. "It's just a scrape on my hand. There's no need to make such a fuss." Yi Wangchuan remained firm in his stance. "It's fortunate it's only a scratch. What if it had been a serious injury? Your grandfather, your father, everyone cares about you and would worry. So, of course, I have a responsibility to look after you." It was only then that Xiao Nian realized something. So, this is what concern from an elder feels like, she thought, because back at the Qiao family villa, she had never experienced anything resembling care. The next morning at the villa, Yi Wangchuan stood by the dining table, making a phone call. "Have you identified the perpetrator yet?" he asked, seeing Xiao Nian approaching. He hung up and told her, "I've checked the school's security footage. The culprit, Zhao Jingwei, has already been taken to the police station." Xiao Nian responded with surprise that fast. She then sat down at the table to eat breakfast. Yi Wangchuan walked closer to her and said, "From now on, let your older brother handle these kinds of things for you." She simply replied with an and continued eating. The scene shifted to the Changfeng Corporation. Inside, Qiao Weiman was lost in thought when Secretary Su approached him. "Mr. Qiao, I apologize for keeping you waiting. Mr. Yuan has an important guest at the moment." Qiao Weiman quickly stood up, clasped his hands together, and put on a cheerful expression. "Secretary Su, since you're already here, why don't we go up together?" Secretary Su responded apologetically. "Mr. Yuan has an important guest today. I'm afraid he won't have time to see you. Perhaps you could come back another day." Hearing this, Qiao Weiman's expression changed, leaving him speechless. After a moment, he finally managed to speak. "Secretary Su, I really have something important to discuss with Mr. Yuan today. Could you please make an exception? Without telling Mr. Yuan, could you spare me a little of his time?" This only made Secretary Su more uncomfortable. He crossed his arms, smiled, and replied, "How about this? You can wait here. If Mr. Yuan has some free time, I'll let you know." He then turned and walked away, leaving Qiao Weiman standing there. Watching Secretary Su leave, Qiao Weiman's face hardened, and he gritted his teeth in anger. Changfeng hasn't been cooperating with Qiao Corporation recently, and our finances are in a mess, he thought. Just then, he saw Xiao Nian and Secretary Su walking together. Not only that, but Secretary Su was warmly inviting her along. "This way, please. Mr. Yuan has been waiting for you." Xiao Nian replied, "Okay." Seeing Xiao Nian and Secretary Su in an elevator, Qiao Weiman wondered, why does that person look so much like Xiao Nian? Looking closer, he confirmed it really seems to be her. By then, Qiao Yin had arrived at Yuan Yongqin's office. Seeing her, Yuan Yongqin quickly rushed over, scolding her affectionately. "Little ancestor, why are you only here now?" Noticing Qiao Yin's injured hand, she couldn't hide her worry. "Is your hand all right?" Without keeping Yuan Yongqin waiting, Qiao Yin quickly explained, "It's just a few bruises. It'll be fine in a few days. It'll heal with some care, don't worry." Hearing this, Yuan Yongqin felt somewhat relieved. She wanted to get Qiao Yin a glass of orange juice. "Here's your favorite orange juice. I added some sugar, so it won't be too sour. Drink it to get some vitamins so you can heal quickly." Seeing Yuan Yongqin's concern, Qiao Yin responded shyly, "Aunt Yuan, you don't have to go to all this trouble. I don't come here every day." But Yuan Yongqin wouldn't listen. Placing a hand on Qiao Yin's shoulder and guiding her to sit down, she said, "But you're here now." Only then did Qiao Yin ask, "How's the design department doing these days, Annie?" When asked about the sore spot, Yuan Yongqin forced a smile and replied, "My dear girl, it's a good thing you came today. Otherwise, the market design department would have been in deep trouble. So how are you? Have you come up with any new designs?" Qiao Yin took a drawing from her backpack, handed it to Yuan Yongqin, and said, "I've been busy with school lately, so I haven't had much time to draw. These are just a few doodles I did recently. Auntie, see if they're any good." Yuan Yongqin took the drawing and stared at it for a long time. Then, she smiled and praised, as expected of the famous design masteress. "Is there anyone in the country who doesn't know your name right now? S27 is Changfeng Corporation's famous brand. It's currently renowned worldwide for its unique style and has won many international awards." Yuan Yongqin asked Qiao Yin, "Are you still planning on not attending this press conference?" Qiao Yin took a sip of orange juice and calmly replied, "No." She placed her glass on the table, picked up her backpack, and prepared to leave. Qiao Yin said, "It's getting late. I'll go ahead." Yuan Yongqin affectionately placed her hand on Qiao Yin's shoulder and said, "All right, you go on then." Qiao Yin slung her backpack over her shoulder and walked out of Yuan Yongqin's office. As soon as she reached the lobby, she saw Qiao Weiman talking to the secretary. He looked closely at Qiao Yin's face and then said with certainty, "It really is Qiao Yin." As soon as Yuan Yongqin saw her, she completely ignored me, treated me like I was invisible. How does she know Yuan Yongqin? The secretary, who had heard everything he said, silently smirked. Finally, she spoke up and reminded him that young lady is a valued guest of our President Yuan. Qiao Yin walked to the entrance of the Seven store. She thought, Seven has new products. I could buy some gifts for my adorable Shunshin. With her backpack slung over one shoulder and her hand in her pocket, she slowly entered the store, thinking about the people she should buy gifts for. There was also Jiang Li, Gu San, and Yuan Chuan. At this moment, a store employee named Lu Tingting saw her and quickly approached, solicitously saying, "Hello, miss. May I ask what kind of jewelry you're looking for? I can help you." Then, she changed her form of address and warmly introduced herself. "Little sister, what are you looking for? Bracelets, necklaces, earrings, brooches. I can tell you which area they're in." Qiao Yin listened for a moment and then said she was looking for brooches. Hearing this, Lu Tingting happily extended her hand and said, "Brooches, is it? Please follow me." She led Qiao Yin to the counter, displayed a selection of brooches, and enthusiastically introduced them. This seahorse brooch is incredibly cute. Although it's not the latest design, it's a winner in terms of price-performance ratio. The price is very reasonable and suitable for young ladies. Qiao Yin looked at the brooch in front of her and said with satisfaction, "It is very cute, suitable for children." Then she pointed to a brooch displayed in the glass case and said, "Can I take a look at that one?" Looking at the item Qiao Yin requested, Lu Tingting hesitated slightly and asked that one, but she still took it out for Qiao Yin to see. Holding the product box in her hand, she said, "This one is quite expensive because it's a new design. Actually, the seahorse brooch is also very nice." Qiao Yin didn't waste any words and simply said, "I just want this one. Please wrap it up for me." Lu Tingting was surprised by Qiao Yin's words. She held out the box and said, "You want to buy this one?" Inside the luxurious box was an orange cat brooch. Around its neck was a ruby necklace. The cat was inlaid on a high-grade ruby gemstone. Qiao Yin, unconcerned with her reaction, looked at the previous brooch and continued, "Wrap up that little seahorse one too." Lu Tingting closed the box and said awkwardly to Qiao Yin, "This brooch is a bit expensive. It's not a few hundred yuan. It's not even a few thousand." At this moment, another store employee appeared beside them. She crossed her arms and sneered at Qiao Yin without any reservation. "Do you think everyone is like Miss Qiao, able to shop at 7 even in high school?" Lu Tingting frowned at her harsh words and said, "Don't say that. They're both customers." The other employee ignored her colleague's warning and continued with even harsher words. Little girl, this isn't a place where penniless people can afford to shop. Xiao Nian frowned slightly, annoyed. She thought to herself, how could Aunt Yuan hire someone so blind? How can this kind of person be a sales assistant? Seeing Xiao Nian's silence, the employee pressed on. I told you, this place isn't for poor people like you. At this moment, Xiao Chunxian happened to be escorting an elderly woman into the store. The employee, who had just been disdainful towards Xiao Nian, immediately changed her attitude. She greeted the newcomers warmly. Miss Xiao, Madam Tang. What brings you two here today? It turned out the elderly woman was Tang Wei, an old friend of the Xiao family. Xiao Chunxian said to Madam Tang, Grandma Tang, Xiao Nian is over there. Madam Tang walked over to Xiao Nian with her cane and said, Xiao Nian, what a coincidence. Are you here shopping too? Xiao Chunxian sneered and said condescendingly, I bet she can't even afford to pay. Don't let her fool you into thinking she has money. Madam Tang pulled out her card and said to the employee, whatever she picked, charge it to me. Before she could finish, Xiao Nian pulled out her own premium black card and said, I can't afford this much. She handed the black card to Lu Tingting and continued, pay. I want all of this. Seeing the black card, Lu Tingting broke out in a cold sweat. She quickly accepted it and stammered, oh okay. Madam Tang's hand froze at Xiao Nian's action. The atmosphere became somewhat awkward. Xiao Chunxian, noticing the black card in Xiao Nian's hand, exclaimed, where did you get that black card? Xiao Nian glanced at her coldly and said, never seen one before. The people in the store overheard and started whispering about the card in Xiao Nian's hand. Is that a U.S. bank black card? I heard it's only for the top 10 VIP clients in the world. I heard the limit on that black card could buy our entire city. My God, what's this girl's background? Madam Tang was sweating by now, but maintained her composure and smiled at Xiao Nian. Nian, I have something to discuss with you. The three of them went to a nearby cafe. Madam Tang spoke first. You're about to take the college entrance exam. Do you have any universities in mind? What about art school? I have a recommendation list. Xiao Nian thought to herself, she's being unusually kind. I don't remember being this close to her. She didn't want to beat around the bush, so she said directly, just say what you want. Madam Tang gave a strained smile and got to the point. About Zhao Jingwei's incident at your school. Do you think you could let it go? Xiao Nian slowly lifted her teacup and took a sip before asking, let it go how? Madam Tang said softly, Zhao Jingwei's father died, saving my husband by taking a bullet for him. Could you perhaps minimize the issue? At this point, Xiao Chunxian chimed in, if you agree, Madam Tang can guarantee your admission to an art school. Xiao Nian said indifferently, I'm not interested in studying art. Xiao Chunxian slammed the table angrily, stood up, and said in a loud voice, Xiao Nian, an elder like Madam Tang came to ask for your help, and you dare to be so arrogant. Xiao Nian didn't seem to care much. She questioned Xiao Chunxian, so even the recommendation list is also backdoor access you gave me. But Xiao Nian didn't want to waste any more time talking nonsense with these two. She picked up her backpack, stood up, and left them with a parting shot. I earned first place. I don't need this recommendation list. Zhao Jingwei's responsibility. I will pursue it to the end. Shen Qingqing is my friend. No one can harm her. Without any hesitation, Xiao Nian turned and left. Madam Tang watched her retreating figure and frowned, muttering, this Xiao Nian is so ungrateful. Xiao Chunxian, trying to flatter her, massaged Madam Tang's shoulders and said, Madam Tang, please don't be angry. Meanwhile, at the Central Hospital of Yucheng, inside a patient room, Jiang Li was trying to coax Shunshin. Shunshin, don't be like this. You haven't even looked at me. Unable to appease him, Jiang Li turned to Yi Wangchuan and asked, Wangchuan, what's wrong with our little ancestor? Wangchuan looked at the little boy sulking with his arms crossed, sitting on the bed, and replied, he's in a bad mood. Hearing this, Jiang Li said, who dared to upset our little ancestor? I can help you teach them a lesson. Shun, who had been silent until now, immediately hugged Jiang Li upon hearing these words and exclaimed, don't bully my sister. At that moment, the door to the patient room clicked open. Xiao Nian walked in. Jiang Li stared blankly, while Shunshin's eyes lit up with joy. He excitedly called out, sister, seeing the bags in her hands. Yi Wangchuan stepped forward and considerately took them from her, saying, they're heavy. Let me carry them for you. Jiang Li curiously asked, Nian, why are you here? Xiao Nian simply replied, just because, and handed a gift to Yi Wangchuan. Suddenly, Yi Qixin ran up to her and called out, sister. His eyes sparkling, he clasped his hands together in front of his chest and said adorably, I've been a good boy, listening to you and cooperating with the doctors and taking my medicine. Yi Wangchuan also spoke up for the little boy. Last time we had dinner together, he was very well behaved and cooperative with his therapy. He's recovering very well and will be discharged in a few days. Seeing Shun Shan being so obedient, Xiao Nian reached out and patted his head gently, saying, "Such a good boy." Then, handing him a 7-brand bag, she said, "This is for you." Shun Shan opened the box, his eyes widening, his face beaming with delight at receiving a gift from his sister. Seeing the boy stunned, Xiao Nian thought he didn't like it and hesitantly asked, "Do you like it? Maybe little boys don't like cute things." Yi Qixin finally reacted. He hugged the gift tightly, grinning brightly, and exclaimed, "I like cute things." Xiao Nian smiled and ruffled his hair. Watching Yi Qixin, Jiangli asked in exasperation, "Don't you like robots, tanks, and airplanes?" Then he pondered aloud, "Wait a minute, you call my cousin sister, but you call me uncle. So, what's my relationship with my cousin?" Shinshan ignored Jiang Li's silly question. Xiao Nian could only offer a helpless look. At this point, Yi Qixin handed the gift back to her and said, "Sister, can you help me put on?" "I don't know how." Looking at the adorable little boy in front of her, she couldn't refuse and agreed. As she fastened on the little boy, she praised, "So handsome, especially well-behaved." Hearing this, Shunshan excitedly asked, Really handsome?" Jiang Li, seeing that Shunshan had a gift, but he didn't, started to demand one. "Nian, Shunshan has a gift. Where's mine?" Xiao Nian's cold expression answered his excitement. "Oh, I remember now. I also bought a gift for you." Seeing that Jiang Li also had a gift, Yu Wanchuan thought to himself, "Jiang Li also has one. Where's mine?" Xiao Nian gave Jiang Li his gift and then turned to look at Yu Wanchuan. She handed him the gift in her hand and softly said, "I saw this while shopping and thought it was quite nice. One for each of you." Jiang Li, standing beside them, was surprised. He painfully picked up his phone, thinking, "I thought I was the only one. Even third young master got one. I'll take a picture and post it on Weibo right away. Then I'll be the first." Jiang Li took a picture of his hand wearing the bracelet and posted it online with the caption, "All living beings suffer. Only my little pudding is a heavenly white rabbit." The post quickly gained countless interactions. Most of the comments praised him. "Ah, is it your hand, Gidge? The universe is gentle. Hubby, this hand I can. Mommy loves you, son. All living beings suffer. Mommy's son is the white rabbit. Wait, isn't this an official announcement? Is little pudding? No, don't date. Which be asterisk TCH stole my Gidge." Jiang Li happily showed his phone to Xiao Nian and said, "Nian, a lot of people praise your taste." Xiao Nian was still rummaging through her bag. She replied, "Good that you like it." At this moment, Jiang Li came across Xiao Chunxin's post. It was a picture of her at a 7-Eleven store with the caption, "Everything is so beautiful." Seeing this, Jiang Li said scornfully and angrily, "Xiao Chunxin is riding on your coattails again." Yi Wanchuan was still intently looking at the bracelet Xiao Nian had given him. Third young master noticed this. He pointed at Yi Wanchuan's bracelet and asked in confusion, "Ah, Wanchuan, ours are all black, but yours is silver." Yi Wanchuan looked at the bracelet and smiled, saying, "Is that so? I don't think they're that different." Jiang Li said enviously, "What do you mean, not that different? Mine and third young master's are both black. Only yours is silver. The colors are different." Yi Wanchuan crossed his arms, hiding the bracelet, and said by way of explanation, "Maybe she thought black would suit you better." Hearing this, Jiang Li was so angry that his eyes flashed, as if he wanted to breathe fire at Yi Wanchuan. "I look good in silver too. Nian, you be the judge." Xiao Nian explained, "Because his hands are fair, the silver bracelet looks good on him." Yi Wanchuan smiled smugly and said, "Is that so?" Suddenly, Xiao Nian smiled and said, "Found it." Yi Wanchuan asked, "You have another gift?" Xiao Nian took out a carefully wrapped gift box, held it with both hands, and politely offered it to Yi Wanchuan. "I saw this and thought it would suit you, so I bought it. See if you like it. If not, you could just throw it away. It's mainly to thank you for taking care of me." Jiang Li stared blankly at this scene. Yi Wanchuan took the gift from her, looked at it intently, and said with a gentle smile, "I like it." Jiang Li gritted his teeth in envy. He stepped in front of Xiao Nian and questioned, "Yi Wanchuan, you haven't even looked at it. How do you know you like it? What if you don't like it?" Without saying a word, Yi Wanchuan took off his jacket. Right in front of everyone, he changed into the shirt she gave him. He rolled up his sleeves and smiled, asking well. Xiao Nian generously praised the gift, saying it looked great on him and suited his fair complexion. Meanwhile, the 2 vinegar jars beside them seethed with envy. The larger vinegar jar, Jiang Li, cried out, "What about me? What about me?" The smaller one, Shunshan, also chimed in, "Sister, I want new clothes too." Yi Wanchuan bent down and patted Shinshan's head, soothingly saying, "I'll buy you some another day." Shunshan remained unhappy, thinking to himself that he only wanted Xiao Nian to buy them for him. Seeing this, Xiao Nian walked over and ruffled Shinshan's hair, asking, "What kind of clothes do you want?" The little boy blushed shyly under her touch and mumbled a cute reply. After appeasing the smaller vinegar jar, Xiao Nian turned to Jiang Li and said, I'll buy you some next time too. Suddenly, Jiangli went over to Yi Wangchuan, grabbed his arm, and pulled him aside to a private corner. Folding his arms, Jiangli bluntly said, Wangchuan, Nian Yin still has to go to university. Don't ruin her future. Yi Wangchuan replied with a seemingly unrelated comment. She's finally grown up. Jiang Li's face darkened at his response. He angrily exclaimed, Nian Yin can't know about your engagement. What if it doesn't work out? Yi Wangchuan simply smiled faintly and replied, she might find out. The tension between them escalated. Jiang Li gritted his teeth, his face a mask of fury. He held up a hand in front of his chest, a gesture of firm opposition. I don't agree, he roared. Even if you want to date, at least wait until she's in university. Despite Jiang Li's vehemence, Yi Wangchuan remained calm. He crossed his arms and replied casually, then let's wait until after her college entrance exams. Confused, Jiang Li looked at him dumbfounded. But you took your clothes off in front of her earlier, he exclaimed. He continued his rant, don't corrupt my sister. Exasperated, Yi Wangchuan kicked Jiang Li in the rear. With a cold expression, he said in a tone of authority, all right, I've heard enough. I know what you're trying to say. I have my own plans. Suddenly, the door to the room opened. Both men turned to look. Xiao Yin stood there, a questioning look on her face. Are you two arguing? She asked. Jiang Li immediately switched in a little bear cub mode, cleaned her arm, and whining dramatically. Nian Yin, he's bullying me. He clung to her arm, sobbing like a child. Xiao Yin rubbed her temples, exasperated by her brother's antics. You're both adults, she said. Can you please stop being so childish? Suddenly, her phone rang. She glanced down and pulled out her pocket. It seemed to be a call she didn't want to take, from someone she clearly disliked. She quickly hung up. Jiang Li, seeing this, said cheerfully, block that whole family, Nian Yin. What do you want for dinner tonight? My treat. Xiao Yin looked at his smiling face and replied indifferently, anything is fine. Hearing this, he turned to Yi Wangchuan and asked, Wangchuan, what about you? Is there anything you want to eat? Yi Wangchuan, his eyes fixed on Xiao Yin, replied, hot pot. Xiao Yin, with an indulgent expression, readily agreed. Hot pot it is then. Jiang Li, stunned, gaped at them in disbelief. Wait, he sputtered. Don't you have OCD? You still eat that? Yi Wangchuan turned and walked towards the door. With an air of effortless grace and politeness, he looked every bit the dependable gentleman. He told me, I'll go down to the kitchen myself. Having said that, he instructed his subordinate, Gu-san, go tell the doctor to bring Qixin back. A cheerful yes, sir, rang out in response. The large, luxurious villa before them was Jiang Li's home. Gu-san had already picked up Yi Qixin. Inside the dining room, everyone was gathered around the table, busily preparing for dinner like a warm family. Jiang Li expressed his surprise. I didn't know you could cook. Xiao Yin looked a little hesitant and asked, is there anything I can help with? Yi Wangchuan turned to look at her, a gentle expression softening his features. He replied sweetly, you don't need to do anything. Just wait for dinner. Yi Qixin, with his adorable face, tilted his head slightly and asked obediently, little uncle, do you need any help? Xiao Yin turned to Qixin, gently stroking his head. This understanding little guy, she thought to herself. She smiled and replied, you just be a good boy and wait for dinner. Qixin beamed, his expression full of childish affection, and replied, okay. Sitting at the table laden with tempting dishes, Qixin used his small hands to offer her a bowl. Sister Qiao, here's a bowl for you. She took it, happily replying, thank you, Shinshin. Yi Wangchuan thoughtfully served her some food. He asked, I saw you order this in the Sichuan hot pot last time. Do you like it? She glanced at his hand and replied softly, it's all right. Outwardly, Xiao Yin appeared indifferent, but inwardly, her heart stirred slightly. She hadn't expected him to be so observant. Suddenly, the atmosphere at the table became a little tense. With a sullen expression, Jiang Li picked up the dish that Yi Wangchuan had just given to Xiao Yin. Everyone else at the table remained silent. 2 weeks later, at Xiao Yin's university, a crowd surrounded Xiao Chuanxin, chattering excitedly. Chuanxin, that dress you're wearing, is it the new 7 design? It costs tens of thousands. You look absolutely stunning in it. I saw you trending with the famous actor Jiang Li before. Are you too close? Xiao Chuanxin, with a fake smile plastered on her face, replied, he's my idol. I'm so honored. Another girl chimed in, I absolutely adore Seven's designs. Doesn't the Shun family have a close relationship with Chung Phone Group, Seven's parent company? Have you ever met them? As if struck a nerve, Xiao Chunxin's face stiffened, and she stammered, I've met them. Xiao Yin walked past the crowd, who were buzzing with excitement about this mysterious person. Xiao Chunxin continued to boast, I met them at a party. The girl from earlier asked eagerly, is 7 male or female? How old are they? Xiao Chuanxin placed a hand on her chin, a smug look on her face. I'm sorry, I can't reveal that information. The girl looked a little disappointed. You can't even say if they're male or female. Xiao Chuanxin extended her hand, maintaining her bright smile. It's difficult to say. They didn't want me to tell anyone, so it wouldn't be right for me to say. Xiao Nian walked past them and casually remarked, it's a woman. She stopped, turned back to the crowd, and stated clearly, the 7 you're talking about is a woman. Xiao Chuanxin whipped around, her face contorted in annoyance. You talk as if you've met her. She snapped. In the sunlit school hallway, Xiao Chuanxin thought to herself, Xiao Nian is putting on an act again. No one in the entire upper class of Nirua City has ever met 7. Interrupting her train of thought, Xiao Nian calmly asked, didn't you say you'd met her? Do you even know if 7 is male or female? Hearing this, Xiao Chuanxin angrily pointed at her and shouted, of course I do. Faced with Xiao Chuanxin's outburst, Xiao Nian just smiled faintly and replied with a smug look, then what's your problem with me? Xiao Chuanxin's face darkened at Xiao Nian's words. Fuming, she retorted, I hope you won't be so boastful in the future. If you get exposed, you'll be the one embarrassed. Not letting her off the hook, Xiao Chuanxin continued, you don't even know her. You said she's female. What if 7 is a man? Before she could finish, Xiao Nian frowned and replied firmly, if 7 is a man, I'll get a sex change. With that, Xiao Nian turned and walked into the classroom. As she passed Xiao Chuanxin, she bumped her shoulder hard, causing her to stumble. The students who witnessed the argument were bewildered. What does Xiao Nian mean? It's like she's saying she is 7, one whispered. Suddenly, a student shouted, look, 7 just updated her Weibo. On the phone screen, a blunt status update from the accountess was loading. Female likes men. Stay away. Below were sarcastic comments directed at Xiao Chuanxin. Hubby, oh wait, wifey. I knew you were a beautiful girl. Another comment popped up. My husband, Jiangli, is here. Did someone try to hit on Jiangli too? Another account explained, it's that Xiao Chuanxin girl, always trying to Rideau. What's her status? Landing on the moon. Okay, my husband and my wife know each other. I'm so young, and I've already achieved a husband and wife. My husband wants to collaborate with 7. I'm so happy. Xiao Chuanxin frantically scrolled through the comments, her face pale and sweat dripping down her forehead. A classmate asked, said she's female. Chuanxin, do you really know her? Turns out Xiao Nian actually does know 7. Xiao Nian is really good at hiding her skills. Xiao Nian calmly pushed open the classroom door and walked in. Shen Qingqing looked up in surprise, then rushed over and threw her arms around Xiao Nian, tears streaming down her face. She sobbed, Nian, you're finally here. Xiao Nian put an arm around her and gently stroked her head. Why are you crying? She asked. Shen Qingqing rubbed her eyes and explained, it's all my fault. I hurt your hand. Xiao Nian gently reassured her. It's been fine for a while now. I just didn't want to go to school, so I asked for 2 weeks off. Hearing this, Shen Qingqing was relieved. She smiled brightly, wiping away her remaining tears. So that's what happened. She exclaimed. Xiao Nian, with an angelic face and sparkling eyes, looked at her classmate and replied with certainty, of course. The two of them sat down at their desks. Shen Qingqing turned to Xiao Nian and said, Nian, have you heard? A professor from Qing University is coming to teach at our school. Xiao Nian looked curious. A professor from Qing University? She asked. Liang Bowen, from behind them, overheard their conversation. He brought his tablet over to Xiao Nian and pointed at a picture of a professor. Jiang Zongjin, he explained. The university professor was incredibly old-fashioned. Seeing her father on the screen, her expression remained unchanged. She thought to herself, Dad, you want to come to my school and teach in my classroom? Xiao Nian focused intently on Liang Bowen's tablet. She asked when he was arriving. He immediately replied, today, after we finish listening to the lecture in the main auditorium. But he's coming because of Xiao Chuanxin. Hearing this, Xiao Nian was stunned. She looked up at him and urgently asked, the Tsinghua University professor and Xiao Chuanxin, what's their connection? A sense of unease flickered in her heart. Could Dad be coming to give Xiao Chuanxin a dressing down? It couldn't be, could it? Shen Qingqing crossed her arms, her face full of annoyance. She rolled her eyes and said with a sigh, the school forum is in complete chaos. Xiao Chuanxin's boyfriend. Turns out he's the top student at Tsinghua. He has a good relationship with his advisor, so he invited that professor to our school. Xiao Nian immediately took out her phone. Jiang Li's message appeared. She read it thoughtfully. Nian, your father is worried that you're not used to studying alone at number 1 high school. So he'll come to your school every month and give 3 consecutive lectures until you graduate. Breaking the silence. Shen Qingqing held her phone towards Xiao Nian and suddenly exclaimed, Xiao Chunxin is way too smug. Look at what she posted on Weibo earlier. Wearing my custom-designed 7 dress today. Before that, she even bought a trending topic, most beautiful art examinee. Then it actually became popular. Xiao Yin turned and looked intently at the phone. Xiao Chunxin's status appeared on the phone screen, filled with sweet words expressing her affection. Thank you for your love. Having you is so wonderful. Below were thousands of comments admiring their love. I'm stuffed with this divine love. Turns out there are good men in the world. It's just that I'm not worthy. I've even found an even more outstanding man. Between being single in this life and single in the next. Shun Qingqing withdrew her hand, her face full of worry. She said, she's always looking for trouble with you. Be careful. Faced with Shun Qingqing's concern, Xiao Yin simply replied calmly, it's fine. The sky at number 1 high school was very clear today. This was outside Xiaoyan School. The lush green trees were dotted with colorful flowers below. A classmate's voice rang out. The Tsinghua University professor is almost here. Let's hurry to the main auditorium. Another classmate quickly replied, let's go, let's go. Hurry up and grab a good seat. On the way to the auditorium, students were rushing in. The 3 of them were also heading into the main auditorium, when suddenly a voice called out, isn't that the school beauty? Dressed so flamboyantly. Sensing trouble, the 2 of them looked dejected. Shun Qingqing said she didn't want to go at all. Xiao Yin rested her chin on her hand, a mysterious look on her face as she replied, things aren't as bad as you think. Bowen immediately waved his hand, a weary expression on his face, and hurriedly said, Sister Nian, even at a time like this, you can still comfort us. The bad luck has finally arrived. Xiao Chunxin and the girl from earlier angrily blocked their path. The other girl, with one hand on her hip and the other pointing, shouted, hey, you guys stop. Immediately, she stepped in front of Xiao Yin, shielding her from malicious classmates. She retorted to Xiao Chunxin, what do you want? The other girl immediately said to Xiao Yin, Chunxin says she can't find her bracelet after talking to you. Return the bracelet and apologize, and we'll consider this matter settled. Xiao Yin calmly observed, waiting to see what they were planning. Shun Qingqing, unwilling to let it go, retorted angrily, where's Xiao Chunxin's bracelet? If it's gone, ask her where she lost it herself. Why ask our Yin Yin? The other girl, still smug, stood with her arms crossed, a look of disdain on her face. She said condescendingly, do you know what brand Xiao Chunxin's lost bracelet is? Finally, Xiao Yin spoke, coldly asking what brand. Shun Qingqing, worried that Xiao Yin would get into trouble, tugged lightly on her sleeve, her face anxious. Yin Yin, she advised, don't bother reasoning with them. They're crazy. The other girl lifted a hand, her face arrogant and obnoxious. She replied, threateningly, ever heard of 7? 1 bracelet costs tens of thousands of yuan. Return it quickly or we'll call the police. Xiao Yin's expression remained unchanged. She crossed her arms and calmly asked, tens of thousands of yuan. Isn't that the price of 7's cheapest, mass-produced items? Hearing this, Xiao Chunxin showed a flicker of panic. She clenched her fists, still trying to hear pitiful. Xiao Yin, you know my family is struggling. Don't say things like that. The other girl immediately pointed at them and yelled, did you drink too much and start talking nonsense? Tens of thousands of yuan. Do you even have that kind of money? Suddenly, Xiao Chunxin froze, her eyes widening in surprise. She reached out towards Shun Qingqing, her face shocked. She stammered, that bracelet. Seeing this, Shun Qingqing quickly clutched her own bracelet. She firmly retorted, this is my bracelet. Without a word, Xiao Chunxin lunged forward and grabbed Shun Qingqing's hand, insisting it was her bracelet. Shun Qingqing, her hand gripped tightly, responded uncomfortably, what are you doing? This is the bracelet Nian Yin gave me. What do you mean it's yours? Don't talk nonsense. Behind Xiao Chunxin, the other girl sneered mockingly. Oh, so it's a bracelet Xiao Yin stole. Xiao Yin quickly pushed Xiao Chunxin's hand away from Shun Qingqing, stepping forward to protect her friend. Shun Qingqing's face was tinged with sadness. She stammered, why you're slandering us? Xiao Yin, her voice firm, warned them, stop your roughhousing. She frowned, clearly irritated. Look closely, she continued. Does this bracelet even look like yours? Shun Qingqing looked at her, a hint of worry in her eyes. It was a bracelet with a predominantly blue color, intricately adorned with sparkling stones. Xiao Chunxin thought to herself, that bracelet has an S engraved on it. Mine is just a common one. Frustration coursed through her, making her whole body tremble. Her face paled, her brow furrowed, and her teeth clenched. She retorted, "No, it's not. I was mistaken," Xiao Chuanxin admitted. Xiao Nian, with an intimidating look, stepped closer. She raised a hand and said threateningly, "Xiao Chuanxin, I'll let the slander slide, but you have to apologize to Shen Qingqing. Otherwise, I'll call the principal." Xiao Chuanxin flinched at these words, her body breaking out in a cold sweat, speechless. Seeing her cornered, the other girl stepped forward and put a hand on Xiao Chuanxin's shoulder, angrily retorting, "So she made a mistake. Do you need to threaten her like that?" Xiao Chuanxin, now trembling uncontrollably, teared up, feigning distress. "Xiao Nian, so you think so poorly of me?" Hearing those false words, she simply looked down at Xiao Chuanxin and calmly replied, "So, I'll go find the principal now. He must be with Professor Qinghua." Xiao Chuanxin's face paled at the mention of Professor Qinghua. She gritted her teeth, furious but helpless. She pleaded, "Don't. I apologize, Shen Qingqing. I misunderstood you. I didn't expect you could also wear a 7 bracelet." Liang Bowen spoke up angrily. "What do you mean?" Shen Qingqing, clutching the bracelet, retorted rather angrily, "What I wear is my business." The other girl chimed in, waving her hand dismissively, her face full of contempt. "Exactly. Wearing fakes is also your right." As if her wish had been granted, Xiao Chuanxin covered her sneer with her hand, her face a mask of feigned pity. Stung by their insults, Shen Qingqing felt a pang of pain in her chest, tears welling up. She quickly turned and walked away, her eyelashes wet with tears. Xiao Nian immediately grabbed her hand. Frowning, she asked confidently, "Who said this is fake?" Shen Qingqing looked at her, feeling somewhat comforted, and softly called out, "Nian Nian." Unpleasant murmurs arose around them. They sneered, "Haha, a penniless pauper has no right to speak." That's right, Shen Qingqing's family isn't well off. 7. Isn't Xiao Nian's family from the slums too? Coming down from the mountains, she thinks she's something. Now irritated, Xiao Nian held the sparkling bracelet up to Xiao Chuanxin's face. She snapped, "Wipe your dog eyes and look closely. This is an exclusive design by 7. Under sunlight, the letterin appears. Don't you know 7? You even dined together, so you don't know about this habit of hers." At this point, Xiao Chuanxin had no grounds left to accuse Shen Qingqing of wearing a fake. Panicked, she covered her mouth with her hand and stammered this. "This really is designed by 7 herself." The other girl was equally surprised. "Chuanxin, are you sure?" Xiao Chuanxin trembled, her face flushed with shame, a comical sight. She mumbled, I can't be wrong. I know S has this habit." Inwardly, she cursed, "How can this ugly country bumpkin have a bracelet personally designed by S?" Her name cleared. Shen Qingqing took Xiao Nian's hand, her face troubled. "Nian Nian," she said, "this bracelet is too precious. I can't accept it." Xiao Nian gently squeezed her hand and smiled warmly. "It's okay. Just wear it." Only Xiao Chuanxin would see a high-end item as a low-class trinket. Xiao Nian's sarcastic remark pierced Xiao Chuanxin like an invisible blade. Xiao Chuanxin glared at them with envy, while her friend was furious. Suddenly, Liang Bowen leaned closer and said worriedly, "Professor Qinghua from Tsinghua University is here today. You didn't give Xiao Chuanxin any face. Will she seek revenge on you?" Xiao Nian looked at him and calmly replied, "Her fault. Revenge on who? Me." Inside the main lecture hall, countless rows of seats stretched out before them. Among the rows, a female teacher waited. It was Ms. Shun Tuesday. She smiled warmly and called out, "Over here." Shen Qingqing looked at her and said cheerfully, "Professor Qinghua from Tsinghua University is giving a lecture. The school has mobilized all classes to attend." Suddenly, Liang Bowen pointed ahead excitedly. "Oh my god, is it Yi Wangchuan up ahead?" Hearing this, Xiao Nian glanced in the direction he was pointing, wondering to Yi Wangchuan. Why is he here too? Across the room, the headmaster, smiling brightly, respectfully invited Yi Wangchuan into the lecture hall. With effortless grace and striking handsomeness, he entered, his aura drawing the gazes of many female students. "So handsome," one whispered. "Even more handsome than the homecoming queen's boyfriend. Like a model." Suddenly, Wangchuan's eyes met Xiao Nian's. A faint smile touched his lips. Amidst the crowd, their gazes seemed locked on each other. Nian's heart pounded. Shen Qingqing, clutching her arm excitedly, exclaimed, "Nian Nian, Did you see? He just looked over here. Xiao Nian turned to her, feigning ignorance. I didn't notice. He was probably looking somewhere else. Lost in thought, Xiao Nian sat in the third row from the front, reserved for important figures. This lecture, given by a renowned professor from Qing University, had drawn the city's elite. The two quickly found their seats. Qing, eyes sparkling with excitement, urged Nian sit down. Xiao Nian nodded softly, her eyes glued to her phone. Further ahead, Xiao Chunxin's parents arrived, dressed impeccably. Chunxin, feigning docility, clung to her mother's arm, saying sweetly, "Mom, Dad, our seats are in the third row. Be careful." Her mother replied, "The dean's wife will be here soon. We'll find a chance to invite her to dinner." Xiao Nian paid them no mind, busy texting Yi Wangchuan. The family of three strolled past their classmates, eliciting envious glances. Nearby, Qing, hands on her hips, wore a look of annoyance. She muttered, showing off. Liang Bowen chimed in. The more insecure they are, the more they show off, like they're walking the red carpet. Unconcerned with the Qiao family's antics, Xiao Nian remained absorbed in her phone. Wang Chuan had texted, asking if she wanted to sit in the front row. She replied with a firm no. Wang Chuan, equally engrossed in his phone, smiled at her decisive yet endearing response. He stood up, pocketed his phone, glanced back at where she was sitting, then sat down again, resuming his observation of the stage, as if nothing had happened. The lecture finally began. On stage, the headmaster announced, "Next, we invite Professor Jiang Zunjin to share his insights with us." Jiang Zunjin approached the podium, adjusted the microphone, and greeted the audience. The lecture concluded quickly, and everyone began to return to their classes. Shun Qingqing, thoroughly enthralled, clasped her hands together and gushed, "Nian, that lecture was so valuable. Professor Jiang is amazing." Xiao Nian turned to her with a faint smile. Suddenly, Qingqing's eyes lit up as she pointed at Xiao Nian. "I knew I'd seen Professor Jiang somewhere before. Nian, you look a lot like that professor from Qing University." Overhearing this, some classmates behind them reacted with disdain. Where do they look alike? Social climbing much? Qingqing bristled. Another classmate sneered. "Xiao Nian, I know all about that fake heir scandal. Your father's a teacher in the countryside." Qingqing's face darkened with anger. She gritted her teeth, trying to restrain herself. Seeing this, Xiao Nian placed a hand on her shoulder, soothingly saying, "Calm down." Qingqing muttered, I'm trying. Suddenly, Xiao Nian's phone rang. She brushed off her previous annoyance and cheerfully invited Xiao Nian to go for hot pot later. Xiao Nian, while hanging up the phone, replied, "I can't, I have something to do." As soon as she finished speaking, Xiao Nian put away her phone and walked confidently towards the door, her aura radiating power. Under a clear blue sky dotted with lush trees, a voice called out near Jiang Zunjin, "Professor Jiang, thank you so much for coming to Yizhong in Nuqing to explain the problem for Shan Shan." He turned around to look at them and gently asked, "Are you Qiao Chunxin's family?" A rather elegant lady approached him, and Xiao Weidong introduced himself. "I'm Qiao Chunxin's father. Your deputy director was Minter, right?" Still confused, Jiang Zunjin simply looked at them without answering. The elegant lady politely greeted Professor Jiang. "I'm Fugua's mother. Thank you for always taking care of my son." Hearing this, he became even more perplexed by their actions. He coldly asked, "Who is Fugua?" "I usually only do research. I don't mentor students. I've never heard of this person." Professor Jiang's words were like a bolt from the blue. Their faces darkened, unable to hide their shock. From behind, Yu Wangchuan approached and called out, "Uncle Jiang, let's go. We still have to take Nian to dinner." Hearing this, he turned his head and looked back, replying, "All right, then let's hurry." The two of them quickly left, leaving the group behind to bicker amongst themselves. Qiao Chunxin's parents angrily scolded, "Didn't you say Professor Jiang came because of Qiao Chunxin? How ridiculous. He doesn't even know you. Who is this Fugua? How embarrassing." As Xiao Nian and her classmates were heading to class, a voice called out. It was none other than Xiao Nian's father. Hearing this, she turned her head to look. Shun Qingqing and Liang Bowen's faces turned pale. Their jaws dropped. Shun Qingqing pointed at Xiao Nian's father and asked in a panicked voice, "Why is Professor Jiang here? Is the professor from Qing University calling Xiao Nian?" Following behind Jiang Zunjin was Yu Wangchuan. He bombarded her with questions. "You were injured before. I was working on the final part of the project. How did you find a lecture just now?" Xiao Nian, calm as if this were an everyday occurrence, walked towards him and replied softly, "I listened to it all. You were amazing, Dad." Behind them, Shun Qingqing, overhearing this strange conversation, was shocked. She thought to herself in bewilderment, what's going on? Didn't Professor Jiang come for Qiao Chunxin? Suddenly, Jiang Zunjin waved toward the two of them. He greeted them with a warm smile. "Are you Nian's classmates?" "Hello, everyone. I'm Xiao Nian's father." Shun Qingqing jumped, so surprised that her jaw dropped. She exclaimed, "What?" He extended his hand enthusiastically and explained, "As a thank you for taking care of Nian, I'd like to invite everyone to dinner." Thrilled to receive an invitation from the renowned professor, they readily accepted. Yi Wangchuan tilted his head and looked at Xiao Nian with gentle eyes. He softly asked, "It seems everyone has been taking good care of you, huh?" She lowered her head slightly, her face brimming with happiness, and replied with a gentle, comfortable smile, "It's all right." The sky in Nuching was a clear blue, interspersed with the lush green of the trees. Outside the school, the bright sunlight streamed through the clear glass windows. Inside, the air seemed still. Shun Qingqing covered her mouth, unable to hide her astonishment. Her and Bowen's eyes, filled with disbelief, were fixed on Xiaonian. Questions raced through their minds. Is this real? Is Xiaonian's father really a professor at Qing University? Jiang Zunjin looked at her, his face gentle. Behind his glasses, his eyes glistened, as if on the verge of tears. He waited for Xiaonian's answer. "Nian, is that all right?" Xiaonian smiled brightly. She said to everyone, also responding to his lunch invitation, "Please, don't be so polite. Let's eat together later." Hearing this, Zunjin beamed, his eyes crinkling in happiness. "I'm sure everyone is hungry. Let's head out now." Xiaonian stood next to him, watching his radiant smile, her own eyes warm and a gentle smile playing on her lips. Qingqing and Bowen couldn't hide their excitement. Their eyes crinkled with uncontainable joy, looking rather silly as they continuously praised Xiao Nian and Jiang Zunjin. "Professor Jiang is so impressive. Sister Nian is so amazing. Sister Nian is not only a great student, but also so helpful. How could someone be so perfect?" Yi Wangchuan walked up to the group, his demeanor composed and elegant. He casually raised his hand, glancing down at his luxurious leather watch, and softly said to Xiao Nian, "The car is here. Let's go." Xiao Nian looked at him and replied, "All right, let's go together." Behind them, Xiao Weidong still hadn't given up. He hurried over, reaching out and calling loudly, "Professor Jiang, please wait a moment." Startled, Zunjin turned around to look back, his face surprised as he asked, "Who are you?" The Qiao family members all wore expressions of shock. Xiao Weidong's face was creased with confusion and doubt as he asked, "Professor Jiang, I just heard that you were Xiao Nian's father. Is that true?" Xiao Chuanxin quickly covered her mouth in alarm, her eyes wide with disbelief at the unfolding situation. She thought to herself, impossible. It must be fake. Jiang Zunjin looked at them and asked Xiao Nian, "Nian, do you know them?" Unlike Xiao Chuanxin's panicked expression, Xiao Nian's face was strangely calm. She replied softly, "Yes." Looking at them with an air of confidence, she gave a faint smile and continued, "They are my adoptive parents." Hearing Xiao Nian's answer, Xiao Weidong smugly extended his hand, grinning broadly and saying, Yes, that's right. We raised Xiao Nian for 18 years. Speaking of which, we've never met." In response to his enthusiastic greeting, Jiang Zunjin's expression shifted from calm to one of annoyance and displeasure. "So it's you too." Behind him, Xiao Chunxin scowled, pointing accusingly at Xiao Nian. "Xiao Nian, isn't your father a teacher in Huhe County? Don't just claim someone as your father." Hearing her daughter's words, Mrs. Qiao looked at Xiao Chunxin in alarm. Xiao Nian remained calm, responding evenly, "What do you mean by that?" Xiao Weidong, standing beside her, seemed to catch on and joined in, pointing at Xiao Nian and scolding, "What kind of attitude is that?" Xiao Chuanxin's lips were pressed tightly together, her frustration threatening to explode. Xiao Nian looked at the two of them, her expression unchanged, and replied, "What do you want me to do? What would satisfy you? Should I kneel down and lick your shoes?" In stark contrast to her composure, Jiang Zunjin's face darkened. He gritted his teeth, his fury palpable, as if he could devour the Qiao mother and daughter. Jiang Zunjin stepped forward, shielding Xiao Nian protectively, his eyes sharp as he roared at Mrs. Qiao. "Enough, Mrs. Qiao. My daughter doesn't need an outsider like you to lecture her. This is our family matter. Don't interfere." Xiao Nian's eyes widened in surprise at her father's actions. Xiao Weidong flustered, sweat beading on his forehead, grabbed Zunjin's hand and hastily explained, "It's a misunderstanding, just a misunderstanding. Why don't you join us for a meal, Professor Jiang?" Jiang Zunjin yanked his hand away, bellowing, "Get lost." Amidst the tense atmosphere and Xiao Weidong's uncontrolled rage, everyone Everyone's face paled, except for Qiaoyan. She maintained her composure. Her classmates began whispering amongst themselves, wondering why Professor's so angry. I knew the Qiao family mistreated Nian Yan before, one whispered. And what about Zhao Jingwei? He's the reason Nian Yan was injured before. Xiao Jian was furious. Jiang Zunjin's anger still simmered. His voice was sharp as he declared, I haven't even settled the score for what you did to my Nian Yan. Taken aback by her father's protective fury, Xiao Yan stared, transfixed, at the man who stood. She thought to herself, such a gentle and refined father, now so enraged. Yi Wangchuan approached her, placing a hand on her shoulder, interrupting her thoughts. He softly reassured her, it's okay. I'll handle it. Qiaoyan looked at him, still dazed. Yi Wangchuan then turned and placed a hand on Jiang Zunjin's shoulder, murmuring, leave the Qiao family to me. Jiang Zunjin's anger subsided somewhat, though his expression remained grim. He instructed, make them bankrupt. Having dealt with the Qiao family matter, Jiang Zunjin turned to his beloved daughter, his face alight with excitement. His voice was filled with warmth as he asked, Nian Yan, are you hungry? Qiao Nian looked at the man before her, behaving like a child, and obediently replied, yes. Standing between them, Yi Wangchuan smiled in satisfaction. The three of them walked on, Jiang Zunjin's previous fury replaced by a cheerful demeanor as he laughed and joked with Qiao Nian and Yi Wangchuan. Let's ignore those bothersome people and go eat. Qiao Nian quickly agreed, okay. In stark contrast to the happiness of Qiao Nian's family, Xiao Chunxin stood with her arms crossed, her face filled with resentment. She sneered, did you pay the professor back yet? Or, before she could finish, Qiao Weidong snapped at her, shut up. He definitely knows about how we mistreated Qiao Nian. What if she seeks revenge? His face was etched with anxiety. Inside the elegant and spacious Shui Ta Xian, a fountain bubbled in the center. Yi Qixin, looking small and adorable, ran towards Xiao Nian, his face beaming as he waved. He stammered, sister. Xiao Nian turned and lifted the adorable boy into her arms. Shen Qingqing, bewildered by the affectionate interaction between the boy and Xiao Nian, asked, Nian Yan, who is this? Xiao Nian hugged the boy, who was burying his face in her chest, and replied gently, he's the nephew of a friend. Yi Qixin clung to her, his face alight with delight, and asked in a childish voice, are you done with school, sister? Xiao Nian stroked Yi Qixin's head and answered softly, yes. Why are you here? The boy replied shyly, his fingers fidgeting, I missed you. Unable to resist his cuteness, Shen Qingqing gushed, oh, what a cute little angel. Yi Wangchuan approached them, holding a pink gift bag. To Qiao Nian's surprise, he said, Shen insisted on buying you milk tea. The tangerine flavor you like, right? Behind him, three others also carried 2 milk teas, offering them to Shen Qingqing and Liang Bowen. Everyone gets one, Yi Wangchuan added. Xiao Nian beamed at him. Let's go to the dining room, she said to everyone. They all sat around the luxurious rotating table, laden with tempting dishes. Suddenly, a phone rang. Xiao Nian glanced down. I'll go get my phone, she said. At the dining table, Shen Qingqing chatted cheerfully with Yi Qixin, gently asking him what he wanted to eat and offering to get it for him. The obedient boy replied, yes, please. A moment later, Xiao Nian entered, accompanied by Jiang Li. Dressed simply and wearing a baseball cap that shadowed his face, she announced, I have a relative who'd like to join us for dinner. Hope you don't mind. Shen Qingqing and Liang Bowen, engrossed in their meal, didn't get a good look at who had arrived with her. Xiao Nian quickly added, don't worry about it, it's fine. When the two finally recognized the young man, they were stunned. Simultaneously, they slammed the table, jumped to their feet, eyes wide, and shouted, ah. Shen Qingqing, losing her composure, exclaimed, it's the superstar, Jiang Li. Beside her, Liang Bowen was equally excited, his eyes full of admiration. Oh my god, Xiao Nian's relative is the superstar Jiang Li. Pinch me, I must be dreaming. Jiang Li removed his cap, waved amiably, and said with a smile, hello everyone, I'm Xiao Nian's older brother. Nice to meet you all. I brought some bubble tea. Looking at Jiang Li with his armful of bubble tea, Xiao Nian asked suspiciously, is there a sale at the bubble tea shop today? Jiang Li froze, his body turning to stone, cracking under the weight of the awkward situation. Oblivious to Jiang Li's predicament, Shen Qingqing and Liang Bowen continued their excited chatter. Jiang Li himself bought us bubble tea. Life is complete. The hallway outside the restroom was quiet. As Xiao Nian approached the restroom door, she overheard a man's voice. The Chow family matriarch is trying to use our family's influence. Why is she still coming here for dinner? Tang Wei answered his question. She and Xiao Sanson's grandmother have been friends for decades. The tall, handsome man with glasses, which accentuated his intellectual air, was Tang Chi, the heir to the wealthy Tang family in Nuching. Still unsure about his grandmother's decision, Tang Chi responded gently. They suggested posting online to slander that girl. Tang Wei quickly interrupted him, reassuringly. There's no need to discuss Zhao Jingwei's matter anymore. It's all Xiaonian's fault. She refused a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. They were unaware that Xiaonian stood behind them, having heard everything. She smirked, her sharp eyes taking in the grandmother and grandson. Xiaonian walked past them with an icy demeanor, not even sparing them a glance. They turned to watch her pass, startled by her presence. Tang Chi seemed captivated by Xiaonian's beauty and aura. He stood transfixed, a thought flashing through his mind, a very beautiful girl. While her grandson was still recovering, Tang Wei recognized Xiaonian. Annoyed by Xiaonian's attitude, she reprimanded her. Xiaonian, don't you greet your elders. Xiaonian calmly turned to face her, standing tall, a sardonic smile on her face as she replied, my apologies. I didn't want to interrupt while you were bad-mouthing me. Amidst the rising tension between Tang Wei and Xiaonian, Tang Chi's eyes lit up. He said excitedly, you're Xiaonian, aren't you? Tang Wei frowned, her displeasure evident. Since you overheard, let's settle Zhao Jingwei's matter. She's only 18, with her whole future ahead of her. Despite Tang Wei's provocation, Xiaonian remained calm, her expression unchanged. She retorted, she has a bright future, but what about those she almost ruined? I'm not afraid of whatever tricks you have up your sleeves. With those words, she turned and walked resolutely away, leaving Tang Chi surprised. He stumbled, calling out, Miss Xiao. His enthusiasm was met with indifference. He seemed to have fallen in love at first sight, his cheeks flushed, eyes sparkling, his regret a clear sign of his infatuation. As Xiaonian walked away, feeling annoyed, Yi Wangchuan suddenly appeared. He asked, full of curiosity, Nian, weren't you going to the restroom? Why are you still here? Startled by his voice, she glanced at him. Turning back, Xiaonian replied indifferently, I was just about to go. Tang Chi still hadn't given up. He chased after Xiaonian and found her talking with Wang Chuan. He called out to her, a slightly bewildered expression on his face, and asked, Miss Xiao, who is this? Tang Chi looked directly at her, his face serious yet endearing, like a small bear waiting for an answer. Xiaonian was slightly puzzled by his actions, but answered politely, a friend. A flicker of unease crossed Tang Chi's face. A friend. A boyfriend is also a friend. He was lost in thought when Tang Wei approached from behind and called out, Tang Chi, let's go back. He obediently replied, Grandma, and turned to help his grandmother leave. Yi Wangchuan and Xiaonian watched the two of them walk away. Seeing this, she quickly turned to leave as well. Suddenly, he grabbed Xiaonian's hand and pulled her closer. Yi Wangchuan pushed her against the wall, pressing close to her. His gaze was intense, his voice filled with disappointment. I'm your friend, not your brother, right? Why don't you call me brother? She was taken aback by the situation. She brought a hand to her chin, lost in thought, looking rather foolish. An idea flashed through her mind. Should I call him uncle? Suddenly, she remembered something. Shinshin calls me sister, but I call you brother. Don't you find that strange? He waited for her answer. Growing impatient, he placed his other hand on the wall, pressing closer. Xiaonian looked up into his eyes and with a bright smile called out, Uncle. The word uncle echoed in Yi Wangchuan's head. He looked downcast, a mixture of disappointment and something akin to amusement. After a moment of contemplation, Wangchuan turned and walked away dejectedly, adding, forget it, just call me friend. Unlike his melancholy, Xiaonian looked incredibly amused. She smiled brightly and replied, I'm going to wash my hands. Under the clear blue sky, where sunlight filtered through the drifting clouds, a plane took off, soaring into the sky. At the airport waiting area, Xiaonian, dressed in casual, stylish clothes, sat waiting. She was focused on texting Shinshan. Hi, are you coming to the hospital this afternoon? She typed back, not today. Be good and eat your lunch. Listen to your uncle. Okay. From the other end came another message. What about tonight? As she was texting, she suddenly recalled the image of Shun whining. Sister. Sister. She mused. I'm close to finding the rare ingredient to treat Shun's leg. Then, she immediately looked down and replied to Shunshin's message. I have an appointment with a friend tonight. Have dinner with your uncle? Okay. I'll visit you tomorrow. The reply came quickly. Sister, it's not safe at night. Where are you having dinner? Uncle, and I can pick you up. Xiaonian was engrossed in texting when, from afar, a tall, handsome young man with pink hair and a headband, pulling a suitcase and dressed very stylishly, waved excitedly at her. Xiao Xiaonian, I'm back, he called, reaching out towards her. In response to Wei Lu's friendly and enthusiastic greeting, she immediately put her foot up, halting his approach, and icily said, Stay away from me. I'm allergic. After the rather awkward greeting, they got down to business. Wei Lu looked at Xiaonian with a worried expression and said, I asked the specialist in Jing City about your condition. It's a psychological issue. She calmly replied, yeah. He continued, I saw those news stories online. For pictures, scandalous statuses, posted by multiple sources. Lovable macho man posted 1 hour ago. Some student with a powerful background got their homeroom teacher fired. Then Chirp Chirp posted 1 hour ago. Some student bullied another student in police station. The girl's mother slit her wrists. That girl almost lost her mother. Another account posted an hour ago, deciphering the background. Some student, the school refused to be interviewed. They were probably pressured. When Xiaonian looked at Wei Lu's phone screen, her face didn't register much surprise. She asked, You saw it? He replied emphatically, Of course I saw it. Why else would I have rushed back here? Wei Lu looked at her, his eyes filled with concern. He suggested, This is easy to solve. Find a family more powerful than the Tang family and suppress them. But the Tang family is the top dog in Nuching. Dealing with them is a bit of a hassle. Wei Lu sat down, clasping his hands together in his lap. He turned to Xiaonian and continued. The second option is to find a hacker and block all the information online. I know someone from Hongming. Xiaonian crossed her arms. The person sitting next to Wei Lu was none other than the leader of Hongming, and also a top-tier tycoon. Xiaonian calmly replied, I've already found someone to handle it. It's the old man I treated before. Wei Lu seemed to understand. He gestured towards her curiously and asked, Oh, the one whose life you saved. She suddenly remembered something and asked, Right, the one who wanted me to treat him, the one you mentioned last time. Is he in Jing City? Wei Lu asked, puzzled, Yes, why? Xiaonian frowned, slightly annoyed. She immediately asked, Is he still looking for me? Wei Lu chuckled, teasing her, It wasn't easy to find you. How could he give up? He's increased the offer several times. Xiaonian put her hand on his shoulder, her eyes firm as she made her request. I'll take the case, but I want him to help me find these rare ingredients. A look of curiosity crossed Wei Lu's face. He asked, Rare ingredients. Xiaonian held up her phone. Looking seriously into Wei Lu's eyes, she said, If he can find them, I'll take the case. She was determined. I have to get these to cure Shun Shun and Uncle. Wei Lu excitedly gave her a thumbs up, winking with confidence. He said, No problem. The two walked out of the airport together. He turned to her curiously and said, Xiao Xiaonian, you've reunited with your parents, but why haven't you changed your surname back? Xiaonian readily answered Wei Lu's question. It's too much trouble. Who I am has nothing to do with my surname. Yi Wanchuan was reading a document when his eyes fell on Yi Qixin. The boy was looking at his phone, smiling happily. Seeing this, Yi Wanchuan couldn't help but ask, So, Xiaonian replied to your message. Yi Qixin replied smugly, Of course. She replied to my message. She likes me the most. Hearing this, Yi Wanchuan's face immediately darkened. He handed the documents to Gu San while clenching his hand tightly. He said in a jealous tone, You won't be allowed to go with me, and you won't be able to bring her home. Hearing this, Qixin was naturally furious. The boy angrily shouted, One day I'll get my driver's license, and I won't need you to pick her up with me. But Yi Wanchuan wasn't angry at all. He walked to the bedside, smiled slyly, and said, By then, she'll already be your aunt. Qixin obviously wasn't going to back down either. The boy confidently laughed and replied, Haha, she doesn't like you. You don't even have a girlfriend. She won't marry you. As soon as Qixin finished speaking, Yi Wanchuan put his hand on the boy's head, messing up his hair, and said, If she doesn't marry me, is she going to marry you? Because of the head rub, the boy's now a mess. Hearing this, Yi Qixin's face turned red with anger, but he still firmly said me. You. Seeing Qixin's determination, Yi Wanchuan once again extinguished this hope. Continuing to rub the boy's head, he said seriously, Dream on. You haven't even grown all your hair yet, and you want to get married. You have to be at least 25. Hearing this, Yi Qixin was so angry that he flailed his fists. He loudly retorted, By the time I grow up, you'll be old. Then I'll be tall and handsome, and you'll be an old man. She'll definitely choose me, not you. Yi Wanchuan calmly picked up his phone. He read the message and said, Behave yourself, and you'll get to see her often. If you don't behave, you'll have to go back to Jing City. Think about it carefully. Just then, a sweating Gu Sin interrupted their conversation Wang Chuan, I contacted Sunday. She has given her conditions. She wants rare ingredients. Hearing this, Yuan Chuan turned his head in surprise. Then, despite Qixin's raging anger, he calmly said, "Wait for me to come back and pick you up." Hearing this, Qixin thought to himself, "I have to get a haircut. I have to get one in January already. It's all because of that damn uncle." Thinking of this, the boy flew into a rage and yelled, "I want to shave my head." Elsewhere, a luxurious high-rise hotel. Su Huayan, the leader of Nuqing, was waiting in the lobby. He raised his hand in greeting and called out, "Nian Nian." Xiao Nian politely replied, "Grandpa Su, how are you?" She then gently took Su Huayuan's hand and said, "This is the new medicine I prepared for you." Hearing this, Su Huayuan smiled affectionately and replied, "You saved my life. I wanted to meet you for a long time." While Xiao Nian entered the elevator with Su Huan, Fu Gu and Xiao Chunxin also happened to be there. Xiao Chunxin exclaimed in shock, "Oh my god, it's her." Hearing this, Fu Gu curiously asked too. Xiao Chunxin maliciously speculated, "Why is she getting into a hotel elevator with an old man? Surely not. A Tsinghua University teacher's salary isn't that high. Is this person a friend of her father's?" Hearing this, Fu Ji's expression was one of disbelief. She said, "Would I go into a hotel with my father's friend?" A moment later, in a private room in the hotel, Su Huan spoke up curiously, "By the way, why are you free to have dinner with me this time?" Xiao Nian, hearing this, went straight to the point. She picked up the teapot and said, "Grandpa Su, I want to ask you for a favor. Someone tried to kill my friend and was arrested, but Tang Chi is using his connections to get them released." Su Huayuan immediately flew into a rage, exclaiming, "Damn it, is there no law on the streets?" After listening, Xiao Nian stood up, poured him some tea, and said, "Hearing you say that, Grandpa Su, puts my mind at ease." After saying that, she relaxed her face with a cheerful expression, thinking to herself, "Good, that's taken care of easily." As night fell, the lights outside the hotel automatically turned on, illuminating the area. Xiao Nian was walking while looking at her phone when someone suddenly called her name, catching her attention. The person who called her was none other than Fu Guo, accompanied by Qiao Shanshan. Xiao Nian coldly asked, "What's the matter?" Fu Guo, acting condescending, pointed at her and said, "Did you book someone?" After saying that, he reached out to grab Xiao Nian, but she quickly stepped back. Xiao Nian put her hands on her hips and said with disdain, "Speak up, don't lean so close. I'm not deaf. I can hear you perfectly fine." Hearing this, Qiao Shanshan immediately put on a worried expression and said, Sister, you entered the elevator with an older man. Brother Fu Guo thinks that you don't value yourself. After all, the three of us grew up together. He doesn't want to see you go down the wrong path." Xiao Nian frowned, asking, "I booked a room with an old man." Seeing her like this, Fu Guo said scornfully, "Yeah, you know what you did." Xiao Shanshan immediately added, "Sister, we both saw it." While the two of them were busy bad-mouthing her, Xiao Nian ignored them and continued to focus on her phone. Seeing this, Fu Guo angrily pointed at her and yelled, "You still have the mood to play with your phone." In contrast to him, Xiao Nian indifferently replied, "What does it have to do with you two? Before, you went around telling everyone I was your girlfriend. Do you really want me to be with you that badly?" Hearing this, Xiao Shanshan couldn't help but retort indignantly, "Sister, you're going too far." Xiao Nian couldn't hold back any longer. She dropped all pretense of politeness and coldly said, "You're right. I feel like I've gone too far. I've given you too many chances to round in front of me. I'm the one who's been giving you face." With that, she turned to leave, adding, "Only Qiao Shanshan would treasure a man from the trash." Seeing her leaving, Fu Guo immediately reached out to stop her, shouting, "Xiao Nian, stop right there. Come back here. I have to take you back to see your uncle and aunt so they can talk some sense into you." Just as Fu Guo's hand was about to touch her shoulder, another hand swatted it away. Yi Wanchuan's voice rang out, "Fu Guo, are you looking for a fight?" He crossed his arms and glared at Fu Guo, causing him to flinch and become visibly anxious. Seeing that it was Yi Wanchuan, Fu Guo's face was filled with fear as he stammered, "Yi, young master Yi, this is all a misunderstanding." But Yi Wanchuan walked right past him, disdainfully ignoring him. He then went to Xiao Nian and gently said, "Let's go. Qixin is waiting for you in the car." Xiao Nian decisively turned and left, not wanting to stay there a moment longer. But just then, a small hand suddenly pushed open the car door. Yi Qixin stepped out of the car, startling Xiao Nian. The little boy angrily shouted, "Are you the one who was bullying my sister just now? And I'll beat you up," Yi Qixin declared, brimming with righteous indignation. Seeing this, Xiao Nian quickly picked him up while he angrily kicked and flailed. Yi Wanchuan, standing beside her, explained, "Shanshan saw them pulling at you from the car and was very worried. He kept demanding to get out. Hearing this, Xiao Nian gently said to Shun Shun, "I'm fine. They're the unlucky ones." She then turned to Fu Guo and Xiao Shanshan, thinking to herself, the partnership between Chengfeng and Xiao Real Estate should be completely terminated. I just hope Xiao Shanshan won't regret making me feel disgusted in front of the hotel tonight. While she was lost in thought, Yi Wangchuan looked at her with a complicated expression. He thought, Nian Nian is like a question mark. The closer I get, the more mysterious she becomes. Meanwhile, Shun Shun, held by Xiao Nian, was struggling restlessly. He yelled while wriggling, "Put me down. I have to go beat them up." Seeing this, Xiao Nian hugged him tightly and asked gently, "Haven't you two had dinner yet?" Yi Qixin, who had been making a fuss just moments before, immediately quieted down and replied obediently, "I wanted to wait for you to eat together." Hearing this, Xiao Nian asked, "What do you two want to eat? I'll treat you." Yi Wangchuan seized the opportunity and said, "Do you know how to cook? Just something simple. Anything is fine. We want to eat something you made." After he finished speaking, Xiao Nian remained silent. Undeterred, Yi Wangchuan continued to suggest, "Tomato and egg noodles are fine too." A moment later, at the neighboring Jiang Li's villa, the sound of the door opening echoed. Jiang Li, who was sitting on the sofa playing with his phone, looked up. Seeing all three of them enter, he stood up and called out, "Wangchuan, Shun Shun is here too." Shun Shun, holding Xiao Nian's hand, walked in and said with a bright smile, "I want to eat the tomato and egg noodles that sister makes." Hearing this, the food-loving Jiang Li immediately raised his hand and said with a grin, "Me too. I haven't eaten dinner yet either." A while later, Jiang Li went to the kitchen door and complimented, "Smells so good." Xiao Nian, who was standing in the kitchen cooking with an egg in her hand, immediately understood and replied casually, "It'll be ready soon." As she finished speaking, Jiang Li came up behind her and offered to help, saying, "Let me carry it for you. Be careful, it's hot." They then carried the noodles to the dining table together. Shun Shun was already sitting there waiting eagerly. He exclaimed, "It smells so good. I want to eat." Yi Wangchuan, who was standing nearby on the phone, saw that the noodles were ready and immediately said, "Yes, please take care of this matter." He then turned to Xiao Nian and informed her, "You don't have to worry about Zhao Jingwei's matter anymore. I've taken care of it." Xiao Nian replied, putting his mind at ease, "I wasn't worried." Everyone then sat down to eat. At the table, only Jiang Li's contented and happy expression remained as he savored the delicious food, praising it endlessly. "Delicious, delicious, delicious. Your cooking skills are so good." Meanwhile, at the Qiao family villa, Fu Guo's car stopped in front of the house. Sitting in the car, Xiao Shanshan's face was flushed. She turned to Fu Guo and said, "Mr. Fu, thank you for taking me home." In contrast to Xiao Shanshan's enthusiasm, he simply replied with a cold After getting out of the car, she continued enthusiastically, "Mr. Fu, go home and rest early. I'll call you tonight." But Fu Guo, still in the car, indifferently replied, "It's late. Don't call. Take a shower and go to bed early. We'll talk tomorrow." After saying that, he immediately drove off, leaving Xiao Shanshan feeling rather annoyed. She knew this indifference stemmed from Fu Guo's preoccupation with Xiao Nian. So as soon as she opened the door, she blurted out, "Dad, you don't know. Tonight, Xiao Nian and some old man rented a hotel room. She's so shameless." As soon as she finished speaking, Xiao Weidong slapped her hard across the face. Xiao Shanshan cried out in fear, "Dad, why did you hit me?" "It's Xiao Nian," he snarled, gnashing his teeth. He glared at Xiao Shanshan. Seeing this, Mrs. Fu immediately intervened. "Xiao Weidong, are you crazy? The company's in trouble, and you're hitting Shanshan. What's wrong with you?" Then, while comforting Xiao Weidong, she said anxiously to Xiao Shanshan, "Your father is just worried sick about the company's troubles. That's all." But Xiao Shanshan, still unaware of what had happened, continued to cry with resentment. She raised her voice and said, "If the company's in trouble, we can ask the Chengfeng Group for help. Our relationship with them is so good. They'll definitely help us unconditionally." Hearing the words Chengfeng Group, Xiao Weidong flew into a rage. He pointed at her and roared, "You dare mention the Chengfeng Group. If it weren't for you, our company wouldn't have lost the project with them." Upon hearing this, Xiao Shanshan immediately retorted, "But we already signed a contract with them. They can't breach the contract." Xiao Weidong, listening to his daughter, buried his face in his hands in despair. He replied, "CEO Yuan said they're willing to pay the contract penalty, but they won't discuss further cooperation. So, our family's going bankrupt. If our family goes bankrupt, I'll become poor. I don't want that, Dad. Go apologize to them." Xiao Weidong was stunned into silence by Xiao Shanshan's words. At this point, Mrs. Fu spoke up, "Your father already went to the Chengfeng Group, but they stopped him at the door and wouldn't let him in." Hearing this, Xiao Shanshan continued to cry resentfully. She looked at Xiao Weidong and asked, "Then why did you hit me? It's not mine." Before she could finish, Xiao Weidong furiously yelled, "It is because of you. Yuan Yongqin said it was you. Think about who you've offended." Hearing this, she covered her mouth in fear, trembling as she mumbled, "How could it be her?" Seeing this, Xiao Weidong immediately grabbed her shoulders and shouted, "I'm asking you, who? Do you know something?" His sudden grip made Xiao Shanshan cry out, "Dad, you're hurting me." But immediately after, she blurted out, "Dad, could it be Xiao Yan?" Hearing this name, Xiao Weidong recoiled in shock, saying her, "How could it be?" Meanwhile, in Xiao Yan's room, she sat on the bed, toweling her hair dry after a shower. Then, Xiao Yan picked up her phone. It was a message from Su Huaiyuan. He wrote, "Lass, don't worry about your friend's situation. I've already spoken to the people below." Xiao Yan immediately replied, "Thank you, Grandpa Su." Knock, knock, knock. Just then, there was a knock at the door. Hearing the knock, Xiao Yan said, "Come in." As soon as she finished speaking, a tall figure entered. It was none other than Yu Wangchuan. He walked in holding a glass of orange juice and said, "Qishan is asleep. I squeeze you a glass of orange juice. Do you want some?" Xiao Yan paused for a moment before replying, "Just put it there." Looking at the glass of orange juice on the table, she continued drying her hair, thinking, "Why does everyone think I like oranges?" After giving Xiao Yan the orange juice, Yi Wangchuan lingered intentionally. Right, about that good friend thing we talked about last time. Hearing him bring it up again, Xiao Yan's head filled with question marks. Good friend, what about it? She wondered. While she was still bewildered, Yi Wangchuan pulled a small blue box from his pocket and presented it to her. He smiled gently and said, "I thought, since we're good friends, if you give me a gift, I should give you one back." He slowly opened the box, revealing a sparkling necklace inside. As if afraid she wouldn't accept it, Yi Wangchuan quickly explained, "Shun Shun and I picked this out the mall together. It's not expensive, but it's a nice design. You can wear it every day." After hearing his explanation, Xiao Yan tried to appear convinced. She responded awkwardly, "There's no need," with a comical expression on her face. "Not expensive. It's probably still 7 figures," she thought to herself. "If I hadn't designed this myself, I would have actually believed his ghost story." Unaware that his lie had been exposed, Yi Wangchuan remained same position. Seeing Xiao Yan lost in thought, he continued, "Shun Shun specifically chose this. We split the cost. Don't you like it?" His expression was rather sly, like someone who appeared kind on the surface but harbored ulterior motives. Xiao Yan seemed to sense this as well. She hesitated, stammering, "I didn't say I didn't like it. I just feel." She trailed off, seemingly at a loss for words. No longer wanting to overthink it, Xiao Yan reached out her hand and beckoned. "Give it to me," she said. She assumed the box would land smoothly in her hand, but to her surprise, Yi Wangchuan retracted his hand. He widened his eyes and looked directly at her. "Let me put it on for you." Speechless, Xiao Yan turned around so Yi Wangchuan could put the necklace on her. Her entire body stiffened. As he draped the necklace around her neck, he said, "Don't move. I'll be done soon." Being so close to him made her heart pound. She clutched her nightgown tightly. After fastening the clasp, Yi Wangchuan stepped in front of her, picked up his phone, and said, "It suits you very well." Xiao Yan instinctively reached up to touch the necklace. He then said, "Shun Shun is asleep. I want to take a picture so I can show him tomorrow." Hearing this, she stood up, her hand still at her neck. She looked at him. "I'll stand still. You can take the picture," she said. Yi Wangchuan raised his phone. Click, click. He took a few shots and then said, "Nian Nian looks so stiff. Can you change her pose?" Wearing her cute pajamas and unsure of what to do, she asked, "How should I pose?" His eyes still on the phone screen, he replied, "Something a little more childish would be cute." Xiao Yan then awkwardly made a finger heart. He snapped pictures from various angles, the click, click sound continuing. At school, a grand and opulent building, the sunlight streamed down, making it shimmer. Xiao Yan entered, rubbing her head and complaining about having nightmares all night from posing for pictures. From behind her, Xiao Weidong called out, "Stop right there." He raised his hand in a welcoming gesture. "You're going to class." She turned, one hand gripping her backpack strap irritably. "No, grocery shopping." Xiao Weidong looked embarrassed, scratching his head before cautiously asking, "Do you know the CEO of Chengfeng Group? I saw you in their lobby last time. I was hoping you could help me get a dinner appointment with him." Above, the afternoon sun filtered through the lush green leaves. Not giving him a chance to continue, she bluntly replied, "I'm busy." He looked surprised, then pressed on, "There are a lot of people online bashing you because of Zhao Jingwei." Xiao Weidong quickly added, "My grandmother has a good relationship with the Tang family. If you help me, I can help you negotiate with them." Xiao Nian still refused. "I don't need to. Give your connections to Xiao Nuo." She turned and walked away, leaving him calling after her. Yin Yin, you used to love playing instruments. I can give you that 100,000 yuan instrument in my house. She ignored him, walking into the classroom. As soon as she sat down, Shun Qingqing and Chun Yuan approached. Shun Qingqing sat beside her. I heard from Chun Yuan that you can play electronic instruments. Xiao Yin replied, I used to, not so much anymore. Chun Yuan looked surprised. Others gathered around, eavesdropping. Chun Yuan crossed his arms. Nian Jie just needs to look at online tutorials. Not like Xiao Nua in Class B. Even with a good teacher, she can't learn. Xiao Nian lowered her head, pretending to read to hide her embarrassment. Shen Qingqing's voice made her look up. I know someone amazing at electronic instruments. His name is Zhue Guang. He's very mysterious, never appears on camera. After hearing his famous song, Nirvana, I couldn't help but admire him. Shen Qingqing grabbed Xiao Nian's arm, smiling brightly. After that song was released, it caused a huge stir, even attracting attention from big names in the music industry. Xiao Nian replied, don't you like Jiang Shang? Aren't you a big fan of Jiang Li? Shen Qingqing said, I heard Xiao Nua is going to be on a TV show, and, the guest is your brother. Xiao Nian simply responded, oh, and looked down, ignoring Shun Qingqing, picking up her phone. Shun Qingqing said frantically, I think that show is live-streamed online. Let me see what Xiao Nua is up to. Shun Qingqing held her phone out. Xiao Nian pointed at it, making a disgusted sound, ugh. She's playing Zhue Guang's Nirvana. She glanced up, her expression unchanged. The melody is good. On the phone, Lu Tingting was interviewing Jiang Li. She asked, I saw your interview before. You said you like fair-skinned, gentle, and petite girls. That fits Xiao Nua perfectly. Jiang Li, sitting next to her, took the microphone. Oh, I was talking about my younger sister. They were sitting in a neat, organized room. Lu Tingting asked, surprised, you have a younger sister. He gestured with his hand. Of course. Isn't she beautiful? My sister gave me this. Lu Tingting immediately said, Jiang Li's sister is so sweet, giving her brother a gift. I wonder how old his sister is and where she studies. Jiang Li cheerfully replied, my sister studies in Huacheng. She's starting high school this year. Shun Qingqing, watching the interview, turned to Xiao Nian and said, whoa, your brother's talking about you. Xiao Nian, busy packing her books, replied nonchalantly, I have class soon. Seeing him mention Xiao Nian in the interview makes me so jealous. He's so doting. I wish I had an older brother named Jiang Li. I'm in the same grade as Xiao Nua in the same high school. Isn't that the Xiao Nua? I'm so furious. I actually used to think highly of Xiao Nua, but she's just shameless. That bracelet was clearly a gift from his sister, but she had the audacity to post on Weibo claiming it was hers. Talk about thick-skinned. Haha, those Ice-T Lahua fans were just bashing us. And now, they find out Jiang Li is family. I just want to ask, are your faces hurting now? Did Jiang Li not say his sister is Xiao Nian? At this moment, the reporter asked a question that flustered Xiao Nua. It couldn't be such a coincidence that the female guest we've invited today is your sister, could it? Xiao Nua, do you know Jiang Li? Hearing this, Xiao Nua started sweating nervously. She clenched her hands, glanced at Jiang Li, and then replied to the reporter, of course I know Senior Jiang Li. We went to the same school. I could even be considered his junior. She mentally praised herself for thinking on her feet and saving herself. Junior is just another way of saying little sister. Netizens, hearing her excuse, started commenting, wow, so sweet. I knew it. Last time Jiang Li posted a picture of a white rabbit, he was definitely referring to Xiao Nua. Wait, didn't she brag about having a boyfriend? Why would she accept a bracelet from someone else? Even if they went to the same school, that's just shameless. Meanwhile, Nian Yin was in class, studying peacefully. But Qingqing, sitting beside her, wasn't so calm. She turned to Nian Yin and said, are you just going to let her spout nonsense on TV like that? What else can I do? Should I jump into the TV and tell everyone she's lying? I don't have superpowers. Seeing Nian Yin's calmness only made Qingqing angrier. Staring at her phone, she grumbled, this is so infuriating. I hope Jiang Li calls her out. Nian Yin, seeing her friend's frustration, comforted her, don't be mad. Just then, the reporter turned the microphone towards Jiang Li. Qingqing exclaimed, wow, Jiang Li also graded for #1 high. What a coincidence. At this point, Jiang Li couldn't stand watching Xiao Nua's charade any longer. He bluntly exposed her, his voice firm and clear from the phone. The sister I'm talking about is my biological sister, not a junior schoolmate. The reporter, hearing his denial, followed up, so, who is Jiang Li's biological sister? Can you share that with us? Jiang Li's voice rang out again. My sister's name is Nian Yen. She also attends number 1 high. Hearing this, Xiao Nian simply smiled. Yeah, and at this point, he continued bragging. My sister is really beautiful, you know? Long hair, big eyes, and super fair skin. Everything I said was referring to my sister. Even the bracelet was a gift I wanted to give her. The white rabbit I posted about, also referring to my sister. This whole series of revelations, like he was deliberately exposing Xiao Nua, left her completely stunned. She never expected him to be so straightforward. Shen Qingqing showed her phone to Xiao Nian, saying, Jiang Li is amazing. So smooth. I'm so glad he finally put Xiao Nua in her place. This whole face-slapping incident, live on television, immediately hit the hot search. Trending topics like Jiang Li's sister, Jiang Li's bracelet, Chanhua gets slapped, and number 1 high school sister all shot to the top. Qingqing excitedly said, Nian Yen, your is incredible. But Xiao Nian didn't think it was celebrate. She replied, it's not a good thing. Meanwhile, in the parking lot, someone next to Jiang Li said worriedly, young Master Jiang, you revealed your sister's information like that without her permission. Would she be okay with it? Don't let her be angry at you when you get back. He replied casually, that brat Xiao Nua was deliberately trying to mess with me. If I hadn't told everyone, tomorrow there'd be a storm of rumors claiming she was the sister I mentioned online. After a moment of thought, he finally considered the possibility of Xiao Nian's anger. I just wanted everyone to know who my sister is. She won't be mad at me, right? He said, opening the car door and preparing to get in. Just then his phone rang. He pulled it out and saw it was Yi Wangchuan. Confused, he answered, hello. Wangchuan, dinner invitation. This afternoon, I have a magazine shoot scheduled. Free in the evening. The voice on the other end replied, you said Nian Yen is your sister online, right? Jiang Li rubbed his nose and replied innocently, yeah, that's right. Why? Hearing his naive response, the other person angrily retorted, did you forget your brain when you went out? What do you mean? She's my sister. I just wanted everyone to know, Jiang Li defended. The other voice replied, it's not that you couldn't tell people, but you chose the wrong time to say it. As the topic continued to trend, the voice on the other end continued its analysis. You forgot about Xiao Nian's injury incident, which hasn't been resolved yet. Xiao Nua is saying she used her power to bully others, relying on her backing to bully students from orphan families. He continued, you saying this just confirms that, doesn't it? At this point, Jiang Li realized the seriousness of the situation. He started to worry, asking, so what should I do? The woman in the passenger seat spoke anxiously. Mr. Li, you revealed your sister on the program, and as a result, netizens are saying your sister bullies classmates. The internet is full of insults, and many bystanders are demanding an apology. What should we do now? Jiang Li picked up his phone to check the news. The trending topics had now changed to 1. Xiao Nian bullies people. 2. Jiang Li's sister bullies others. Seeing this, he practically burst into tears. Vaf Ivehart Wa'a. The woman said helplessly, do you need the company to issue a clarification? Outside the school gates, everyone was gossiping. Jiang Li posted online, saying if Xiao Nian apologizes, he'll quit the entertainment industry. It's trending everywhere. Isn't this shooting himself in the foot? Shen Qingqing, seeing Xiao Nian wrongly accused, said, Nian, it's clear Zhao Jingwei tried to frame you and failed. How did it become you bullying her? Xiao Nian remained calm amidst the accusations, indifferent to public opinion. Let them talk. No matter how they twist the truth, they can't change what really happened. Shen Qingqing then said, Nian, your boyfriend's here to pick you up. We won't see you off then. Xiao Nian looked over and saw Yi Wangchuan leaning against the wall, reading the news. He looked up, adjusted his cap, and asked class dismissed. As he placed the cap on her head, Xiao Nian thought, since when did I have a boyfriend? In the car, while fastening her seatbelt, she noticed a drink. Picking it up curiously, she asked, did you buy this for me? He replied, don't you dislike sweet drinks? Since you don't like orange juice, I got you lemonade. Taking a sip, Xiao Nian thought, no one knows I dislike orange juice. How did he figure it out? He then said, I called Jiang Li and gave him a piece of my mind for you. He's a bit slow, so he needed a good scolding to wake up. What's this online nonsense about him saying he'll quit the entertainment industry if you apologize? Xiao Nian sighed about her foolish brother. He's really something. Yu Wanchuan, looking confident, said, don't worry. Leave this to me. I'm not worried, she replied. It's just a small matter. At the Tang family residence, Madame Tang was enjoying the scenery in the backyard when a sudden commotion broke the peace. Tang Chi stormed in, furious. Mother, how could you treat Xiao Nian like that? She did nothing wrong. Madame Tang remained calm, sipping her tea. Are you lecturing me? No, that's not what I meant. Tang Chi started, but his mother cut him off. You like Xiao Nian. Forget it. I don't like that girl. She stood up and slammed the table. Let me tell you, Zhao Jingwei will be released. As for Xiao Nian, if she apologizes sincerely, I might reconsider. Her triumph was short-lived. Her son rushed in with bad news. Mother, it's not good. Mayor Yuan intervened in Xiao Nian's case. Zhao Jingwei might not be released. Tang Chi was stunned. Madame Tang, hearing this, collapsed on her chair, trembling. What? The Jiang family is that powerful. The phone on the table rang. She answered, her voice shaking. Old Tang, who is this Xiao Nian? Even the provincial authorities are involved. I've received 4 calls since this morning. This is bad. We have to apologize to Xiao Nian. Rubbing her temples in defeat, she said, it's come to this. We have no choice. This news delighted Tang Chi. That's great. Meanwhile, at the Jiang family villa, the worried housekeeper reminded Gu San, young master, you shouldn't have spoken to old master you like that. He'll be angry. The little boy pouted. Grandpa didn't help my sister. I don't love him anymore. He tried to explain it to the boy, but students arguing is a small matter. Their grandfather holds a high position. It's not appropriate. However, because their grandfather refused to help, the boy was very upset. He thinks it's a big deal for me. A very big deal, even bigger than my own problems. After that, Shun Shin opened his iPad to check the news and saw people cursing Yin Yin, which made him very uncomfortable. These people dare to curse my sister online. I'm so angry. If anyone criticizes her looks, he'll say, have you seen my sister? Or why do you have to say she's ugly? I think you're ugly. You're the ugliest. Or if someone criticizes his sister's grades, the little guy will retort, my sister's grades are good. You scored 30 points, and when you see someone else score 130, you say they cheated. However, this cyberbullying was too much. The more negative comments he read, the more tears welled up in his eyes. He asked Lao San, why do they want to bully my sister? Lao San hurriedly comforted him, young master, don't cry. Just then, Wang Chuan and Xiao Nian arrived home. Seeing the boy sitting on the sofa, she softly called, Shun Shun. Sister, you're back. The boy cried tears of joy as he turned towards her. He quickly ran over and hugged her, sweetly saying, Sister, I missed you. Xiao Nian patted his head affectionately and asked, were you good at home today? The boy shyly took out a piece of paper he had prepared earlier. Shun Shun obediently handed it to her with both hands, cautioning, be careful. Look at this later, sister. This made Wang Chuan a little curious, and he asked, what did you write? Shun Shun refused to reveal anything, saying, it's a secret, you can't look. But then he turned to Xiao Nian gently and said, Sister, don't be afraid. I will definitely protect you. I won't let anyone bully you. Wang Chuan playfully lifted Shun Shun by his shirt, teasing, just worry about yourself. I'm here for your sister. It's not up to a 5-year-old like you to worry. The boy was Bu Fu Chi, his arms and legs flailing, but he couldn't do anything. He pouted and said, I'll let it go. Suddenly, Xiao Nian said, I'm going back to my room. Shun Shin cheerfully replied, okay, sister, rest well. Inside Xiao Nian's room, she sat at her desk. Sitting in front of her computer screen, she thought to herself, I just need to have Hong Ming hack the network. Then, she moved the mouse cursor to the S software, and there was a beep. It turned out to be Wei Jia messaging her. He said, Xiao Nian, you're pretty good, acting quite fast. I see that this time, the police and Tang RA were played by you. This made her a little puzzled. She asked, acting fast, what do you mean? He thought she didn't understand and teased. Little kid, still playing dumb with me. When did you get to know Mayor Yuan? He hates people who use connections the most. Tang RA is completely dumbfounded, but she really didn't know any Mayor Yuan. Which Mayor Yuan? When she opened her phone to check today's hot searches, public opinion had completely reversed. The top news stories were, Xiao Nian saves a life, little sister like a goddess, in love, in love. Yizhong incident, Mr. Steele, Xiao Nian's video. Reading these news stories, the first thing she thought of was that Yi Wangchuan had done it. What really made her ponder was Yi Wangchuan. What kind of friend was she to him? Then she opened the trending video online. It was Zhao Jingwei cutting the rope with a knife, her expression vicious as she seethed. Xiao Nian, you still haven't died this time. Suddenly, the image of Yi Wangchuan smiling gently at her appeared in her mind, and he said, so I owe him another favor. A moment later, in the villa's living room, the three of them were sitting on the sofa when she walked down the stairs. She adjusted the hat on her head. The three of them heard footsteps coming down the stairs and turned to look, all seemingly surprised. Xiao Nian, proposed that since I'm free tonight, would you guys like to go for a walk? Shinshin happily agreed, I want to go. Wangchuan also readily agreed. Let's go then. Stepping outside, the people around them watched Xiao Nian holding hands with Shun Shun and Wangchuan strolling together. They couldn't help but exclaim, what a handsome boy and beautiful girl. They have such presence. Is that child theirs? Wanting to repay Wang Chuan for helping her, Xiao Nian suggested, "The shirt I bought for you last time was from this store. I think it looked quite good on you. How about we take a look?" She smiled at him. Sure. Xiao Nian and Yi Wangchuan entered the store together. Seeing her, the sales clerk approached warmly. "Ah, Mississippi, aren't you the beautiful lady who bought something from us last time?" Xiao Nian softly replied, "Yes." "Are there any new designs today?" The sales clerk enthusiastically answered, "Yes, yes, yes." She suddenly noticed that Xiao Nian was also accompanied by a handsome young man and a little boy. The sales clerk smiled. "Are you buying for your boyfriend again this time? Your boyfriend is so handsome, even more handsome than our brand ambassador. You're so lucky." Seeing the misunderstanding, Xiao Nian quickly explained, "He's not my boyfriend." Yi Wangchuan patted Yi Qishan's head and gently asked Xiao Nian, "You want to buy something for me?" She calmly replied, "Wrong." She quickly added, "Not just for you, but for you and Shunshan." Hearing this, the little boy's eyes lit up. "Me, I'll pick something out for you first." Xiao Nian looked at him tenderly. "Okay." A little while later, the dress-up game began. Xiao Nian held up a suit jacket against Yi Wangchuan. "Try this one." Wangchuan agreed, "Okay." She picked up another jacket. "Try this one too." He agreed again, "Okay." Xiao Nian looked around. "Buying this many should be enough. Do you need to use the fitting room to try them on?" He still replied, "Okay." With that, he cheerfully turned and walked into the fitting room. Suddenly, a small hand went up. Yi Qishan shyly said, "I need to." The sales clerk patted the little boy's head and said softly, "The restroom is over there. I'll take you." Meanwhile, Xiao Nian suddenly pulled the brim of her hat down lower, because she had just seen Fu Qua walk into the store with a beautiful girl. The girl was Tang Ning, the eldest miss of the Tang family. They seemed to be chatting happily. Xiao Nian turned her back to them and pretended to be reading a book. Tang Ning held up a dark-colored shirt and asked Fu Qua, "How about this one? Does it look good? Try it on." He immediately said, "Beautiful." Suddenly, he tilted his head and noticed Xiao Nian. He exclaimed, "Xiao Nian, why didn't you tell me Jiang Li is your cousin?" Xiao Nian didn't even look at him. She coldly asked, "Why should I tell you?" He angrily pointed at her. "You did it on purpose. You befriended Jiang Li just to see Sanlu's face. You knew full well his health isn't good." Seeing Fu Qua's anger, Tang Ning was confused. She anxiously asked Fu Qua what's wrong, but he ignored her and continued to question Xiao Nian. "You even know medicine. I didn't know that before." She stood up angrily, her voice sharp. "Do you think Xiao Shan knows about you running around asking me these things? Does he know you have a girlfriend, and yet you're out shopping with another woman?" Fu Qua immediately fell silent. Xiao Nian mocked him. "So, you're not his father after all. Are you trying to create a perfect family image for everyone?" Just then, Yi Wangchuan finished changing. He pulled back the curtain and stepped out. Seeing Fu Qua, he frowned and asked in a deep voice, "Why are you here?" Fu Qua stumbled back in fright. He stammered, I'm shopping with a friend. Young Master Yi is also shopping." Wangchuan ignored him. He looked tenderly at Xiao Nian and asked, "How about this outfit?" She looked him over and praised. "It looks good. You look good in anything." He immediately said, "Let's keep this one then." He then asked, "What about the others? Want me to try them on for you?" She quickly declined. "No need." Xiao Nian turned and handed a card to the salesperson. "Hello, please wrap all of these up for me." Hearing this, Yi Wangchuan was a little stunned, while Fu Qua gritted his teeth in anger. While Wangchuan waited for the salesperson to wrap the clothes, Fu Qua picked up a shirt and walked over. He smiled and said, "Hello, please wrap this outfit for me." The shirt he held was identical to the one Yi Wangchuan had just tried on. The salesperson became flustered. "I'm sorry, sir, but we're not selling this one." He immediately scowled. "What do you mean? They just bought one. Why can't I buy one too?" The salesperson hurriedly explained, "Sir, please understand. Our boss won't allow us to sell it to you." Regardless of what was happening inside, Xiao Nian stood outside, calmly scrolling through her phone. Yi Wangchuan walked out with Shun Shun. "We're done. Let's go." She was surprised. Only 11,000. She couldn't help but recall the shirt from before that cost 80,000. Now, 7 or 8 outfits only cost 11,000. Wangchuan hid the fact that he was the owner of the store. He came up with an excuse. "We were lucky enough to catch a sale." Xiao Nian was half convinced. "Really? Now I'm going to buy clothes for Shinshan." Hearing this, the little boy happily took her hand. "Okay,